to my walk and all set for the game right now. I'm not sure how much of it is actually genuine interest and how much of it is just the fact that I get to interact with Gurkirat and Nikhil. We've got both of them right now. Hello, gents. How are we doing today? Nikhil bhai, let's start with you. I mean, it's not even been like a week since, the World Cup ended and we're already doing a watch along. Feels a bit surreal, right?
Yeah, matlab the show must go on is the only way to put it, and maybe the best way to put it. Definitely not a revenge series, जैसा बोला जा रहा है. तो hopefully a good one at least.
Interesting. And Gurkirat, what about you? Any expectations, anything you're looking forward to, or you just want to get done with the series, just go through the motions?
I'm looking out for the combinations that India play and the personnel that India try, because I think this could be a very important series for someone like Kishan. But having said that, just 4 days after the World Cup final, I remember, I tweeted something that, on the day of the final itself, that the broadcasters might come up with revenge or something, and I posted that. So someone replied ki the body isn't even cold yet. Char din to hone do. It was just that. So yeah, but this is not the first time. I think this has been a pattern now for the last decade or so. Because I remember India were playing, like, the IPL started, I think, on the 7th or 8th of April, when India had won the World Cup on 2nd of April. And
Started on 8th. In 9th ko Mumbai played Delhi, where Sachin and Sehwag walked out together for the toss, and I remember Harsha Bhogli commenting on it कि second को ये लोग साथ में खेल रहे थे, 8th को already यहाँ पे sorry 9th को already यहाँ पे they're playing against each other.
yeah.
But yeah.
So it's been a pattern that way. In fact, 2021 World T20, New Zealand were playing a T20I series in India 3 days after the final. So it's not something great as a viewer or even as someone who has to work in this field. But yeah, the show must go on.
Fair enough. The show must go on, and it's good to see that we already have a lot of comments. It's been a while, since we've had a watch along. Hello, Vasant. He also says long time. It's been a long time since we watched the watch along. Excited for it. That's how I found this channel. The channel, yeah, that's been our USP, guys, and we of course will continue to do so. And don't worry, we'll keep experimenting with our watch alongs. We'll keep trying new things, and we'll also sort of have a focus on the Indian women's side as well, which will be playing quite a few T20s in the next couple of months. So lots to look forward to, at least from a cricket.com perspective. You can also hear my niece being a part of the watch along. She might not be visible, but you can definitely hear. Apologies for that. No worries. He also goes on to say, I think losing or winning doesn't matter, and fans need to understand process needs to be built with Dravid and Rohit not continuing in T20s. Again, like, I know we've spoken about this, right after the game, during the Monday Night Live, even on Twitter, online, all of that. But Nikhil bhai, it still stings, right? Like, जो भी बोल दो, जितना चाहे बोल दो, उनको मतलब नहीं, we shouldn't be angry, we should understand them, we should sympathize with them and all of that. फिर भी चुपती तो है बात, we didn't win the World Cup after such a fantastic performance.
Yeah, and I mean it should sting. मतलब that's the genuine feeling. तो ऐसा नहीं कि you will. It's a thing that you can move on easily. Probably also tells you why the World Cup is what it is and why it matters to. It still matters to people. People spend a lot of money, and they won't do it just for the sake of it. कि भाई पोस्ट डालने मिलेगा या लिखने मिलेगा, ऐसा कोई करके इतना पैसा खर्चा करके कोई नहीं जाता है. तो it genuinely matters, and that is a good thing that maybe the administrators can see if they want to, if they have their blindfolds open, maybe. So that could help everybody in terms of building and marketing ODIs. But for India, as Padi said, it is what it is. मतलब आप, there is no other way to console yourself than to get distracted. So maybe this is the one way to get distracted. Ke after 4 days you are playing India Australia, and यहाँ पे भी you want to bowl first. You don't want to bat first कि भाई ड्यू आएगी तो आदत डाल लो. तो ठीक है, मतलब I think maybe the World Cup loss has given me even more perspective ke then you have to treat bilaterals differently. As it is pointed out, the process hai, you will only learn about people if you put them in situations often enough. So, जैसे India tried to bat first a lot, maybe the time will come that they'll want to try bowling first, bowling second as well. कि भाई देखो कैसा होता है, क्या होता है. How are you able to control the dew? क्योंकि अब कैरिबियन में क्या होगा अपने को पता नहीं, पर कभी ना कभी तो कुछ तो होगा. तो let's see. It's a long process. Too early also.
Girkarat, are already on mute, yaar. Matlab, we're not even like 5.5 minutes into it. If you both didn't catch, the best bits of our,
I
previews and reviews,
I did. I
I
watched
had
it. It
to,
was fun.
yeah,
It was fun.
Avnish and I had to go through 120 hours of footage, and we were like, we can make a compilation of just fun moments with Gurkirat. बेचारे क्या तो डोरबेल बज रहा है या फिर फोन बज रहा है या फिर कुछ और हो रहा है. Was great fun though, and kudos to our editor Manish as well for coming up with a fantastic compilation. But yeah, coming back to the game, Gurkirat, the same question to you as well. Like, I'm not even talking about the game. अच्छे से बोल दिया coming back to the game. अब तक गेम के बारे में बात नहीं किया है. Aram say we'll also, just like how the players need some time to warm up and get into the game, we'll also sort of make our way into the game slowly. Don't worry. And guys, of course, please make sure you're also, hitting the like button. Make sure you subscribe to us if you haven't already. And just like Nachiket, you don't have to watch the game. Watch the stream. That's good enough. Trust me on that. The scores will be updated here. We will get into the game ASAP. But just one last question. The same thing that I asked Nikhil. Gurkirat, did it hurt you just as much? Were you just as much impacted by the loss, given how the tournament had panned out? And what do you think is the way forward for us?
See, I was fairly confident going into the knockouts, to the extent that I even tweeted about the same. And that is really a risky move with the amount of people that are just waiting to latch on to that. But yeah, see, it's just something where you'd have to say that the kind of conditions that were on offer, they just backfired for India pretty poorly. I just feel a little sad for someone like Surya Kumar Yadav, who's been sort of being made the villain out of the whole situation, because yeah, people are questioning his intent and everything, etc., etc. I don't think that the intent was a problem, and I also feel that probably he was taking those singles because at that point of time he felt that, okay, let's just take whatever runs are there and then maybe I'll look to attack. But it never happened, and it can happen to any other cricketer. And if you were waiting till the final to say, oh, maybe this is why Sanju Samson should have been there, or so and so should be, then again you're waiting to latch on to an opportunity to just criticize someone in hindsight. So yeah, that is one part that I'm not liking, is the vilification of just one individual. When, if you look at it, amongst the top seven, there were four batters who couldn't really contribute. There was Shubman Gill, there was Shreyas, there was even Jadeja who couldn't contribute. So just vilification of one person, I don't agree with. And as far as its stinging is concerned, see, uh, I'd come to the realization that India not winning the final a lot earlier than what it happened, probably around the mark where you felt that the ball was coming in straight lines and head was batting well. So by the time the final run was hit, that realization had come and gone. And probably it's due to watching too much cricket, or being very very invested emotionally from the beginning, that now you can take in a loss and a win pretty much the same manner. I just feel that when you watch enough of the game. So yeah, it's you just have to accept and move on, because yeah, mm, Australia also read the conditions well. They hardly made a mistake, so on that day they deserve to win.
Fair enough. And also, there's so many options, going into the T20. Of course, the World Cup is done clearly because it's just been 4 days. Most of the first 11 players from the World Cup have been rested, barring Sky and Nishan Kishan, if I'm not wrong. There's no one else who's a part of this squad. Shreyas Iyer is expected to join them.
Prasid had come in as replacement.
Technically, yeah, Prasad was also part of the World Cup, correct? I stand corrected on that part as well. But again, Nikhil bhai, in terms of the options we have, and in terms of, looking forward to the T20 World Cup that's going to happen next year, what are you looking at? Like, what are some check boxes that you want the Indian side to tick at the end of the series?
At the end of the series is too early. For now, I want to hear about the plans that they have with Rohit and Virat, whether they want to pursue having a crack at the 24 T20 World Cup. So that changes a lot of things. So you can't tick your box without knowing the plans for the top three, because that's where majority of the run scoring will be. So that is something we need to look at. We need to look at who's uh, the part of the coaching setup, whether it is just टेस्ट मैच का ऑर्डर कि भाई द्रविड गए तो अभी लक्ष्मण आएंगे बैटिंग करने, तो क्या वो ऑर्डर है? तो who after Lakshman, is it a keeper next? I don't know. So that is something to look forward to कि भाई coaching का क्या आपने रखा है, क्योंकि you read that piece and a lot of analysis that has been done, that I feel it is kind of very counterintuitive that people who are coming to your nation in 3-4 months are able to read conditions better than you who have played all your cricket here. So there, that's where you need to question whether this get a local coach, whatever, it doesn't matter वो coach कहाँ का है. Eventually you have to be able to read conditions, and the side hasn't been able to read conditions well since some time now. It's not the first time it has happened, and it will always happen आगे भी. But you just want to play the percentages better. क्योंकि the reason for me saying this is Caribbean decks are not easy to read. They are not going to be easy. You can watch a lot of CPL games. उसी deck पे 180 भी बनता है, उसी deck पे 100 भी defend होता है. तो you have to find a way to have that balance. So many boxes to see. Lot of personals, as Padi said, difficult to see how Kishan and Shreyas both make this 11. Even more so if Rohit and Virat want to play. But जैसा स्मिथ अभी खेल रहा है, maybe that's the way to play. And it is interesting कि I read this tweet which I completely agreed कि 2019 World Cup वाला Rohit Sharma would have helped India in the 2023 final, and 2023 final वाला Rohit Sharma would have helped India in the 2019 वाला final. It's just how the game of cricket is, that you can't take anything for granted, and you just have to keep adapting. It's that tough.
100%, we can't take anything for granted, and the game right now, I mean, Steven Smith, he's gotten off, a very, very, very interesting start, to say the least. Very unlike him, not something I've seen of him for a while now, barring that double centuries that he scored for Sydney Sixers. I don't know if
डबल सेंचुरी हाँ वो वैसे ही खेल रहा है. एंड अगेन
हाँ,
द बॉलिंग इज
वही,
आल्सो बीन वेरी गुड कि भाई हम भी ट्रायल ही खेल रहे हैं, थोड़ा बाहर बाहर डाल देंगे. तो इट्स ओके, दिस इज नॉट द टाइम टू निटपिक, बट ठीक है. इट्स ऑफ स्टार्ट फॉर ऑल.
Exactly, and also since you already mentioned, I mean, since you briefly mentioned that point about India's coach and how they should probably go forward. If I'm not wrong, Sanjay, he did ask us our suggestions for a T20 head coach, for a T20 head coach rather. Gurkirat, let's start with you in terms of options. At least whatever is available out there, who do you think would be the best fit for us? Because the rumors going around right now is that VVS Lakshman is supposedly in contention to replace Rahul Dravid as India's coach. You agree with that?
The rumor, or the office, like that being an ideal choice? See,
I mean, either ways, yeah.
See, to be honest, from whatever I've seen of VVS Lakshman or heard of him on commentary, I've not been very impressed, and I have no qualms in saying that. When it comes to a T20 coach, I my first choice is most of the times Andy Flower, because of his CV and his understanding of the game. India have had many times, rejected Tom Moody and Mike Hessen, and I don't understand why. I'm not saying that those guys are perfect, but I do feel that they are more updated with the modern game as opposed to VVS. But India have shown that they're very reluctant to go out of their own setup or own system, and get someone from the outside. So even that is a factor, because you could bring in the best tactical person, but if the players are not comfortable with that player, or your system is not really open to taking open to taking those suggestions, it's not going to help. At the end of the day, you need a synergy between the players and the coach, or whosoever is the part of the management. So yeah, that's where I stand on it. But yeah, let's see what
What about, do you
VVS
agree with
brings.
Cricket that Ashan in terms of Mike Hessen being one of the replacements?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it.
Interesting. And Nikhil bhai,
I
what
like
about you?
how I was just lost by the confirmation that I got from your end. A good one, Akshay, which is good.
And yeah, my niece is
Yes.
also saying hi right now, and now she'll have
Hello.
to say bye. You should say bye. Say
Yeah.
bye once and go. Special appearance हो गया अभी. हो गया. Loves being in front of the camera clearly.
Who
Careful.
doesn't? Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
But yeah, Mike
It's
Hessen.
fine.
Mike
Yeah.
Hessen, that's the name. That's the name. Let me sort of collect my thoughts briefly. Coming back to what we were discussing. Nikhil bhai, do you agree with Gurkirat there? Because Mike Hassan, to be honest, I wasn't entirely on board with the fact that RCB let go of him. I really admired what he did for RCB in terms of the entire ecosystem that he developed and how he sort of believed and truly implemented the entire process over results philosophy. And that's something that even the Indian team could really do well with. Do you think he could be an interesting choice for the Indian team as well?
हाँ, फिलहाल तो आई एम लुकिंग एट अ विकेट फ्रॉम अक्षर पटेल, पहले वो भी हो जाए तो अच्छा रहेगा साइड बाय साइड. एंड सी विथ any coach, whether it is Hassan or VVS, a lot of it that we have to realize is a lot of it only comes out when it wants to. So, in terms of reading what they are doing, what is their impact, what are they changing with people, it hardly comes out, especially in subcontinental teams. Bhai, that is almost reminded me of Pacer bowling. कितना था ये? 140 था क्या अक्षर पटेल से? Sorry.
Yeah, for some reason I'm not seeing speeds on the broadcast. I don't know.
हाँ, नहीं होगा, मतलब everybody is taking time, so it's okay. Maybe next inning में दिख जाएगा. So getting back to Hassan, see, as Padi said, there has to be synergy. As long as you know what are your plans, everybody has to work together. I think the time has come about. I do not mind having multiple coaches as well. That's not a problem. You have one head coach if you want to, and then have three separate coaches for three separate formats, because India play a lot of cricket. तो मेरे को ये नहीं चाहिए कि भाई एक आधा कोच आधा सीरीज जाए आधा सीरीज, इट मेक्स नो सेंस. तो उससे अच्छा है यू ब्रिंग स्पेशलिस्ट, यू बैक स्पेशलिस्ट, एंड देन यू गेट द जॉब डन लाइक दैट. यू कैन हैव, इफ यू वांट एन इंडियन as the overseas, as the head to oversee all of them, I'm cool with it. Okay, you keep VVS Lakshman as the head coach, and then you can be very sure के Andy Flower है, या Andy Flower तो मेरे को नहीं लगता अभी इतना जल्दी पहुंच कर पाएंगे. तो हैसन है, टॉम मूडी है, तो these are good options for one format, because you have to remember this team is going to be in transition in two formats, and they both are tougher formats to have the transition. So your resources are not immediately ready, so you will need a lot of planning, meticulous planning to back test transition and also ODI वाला. तो to be honest मेरे को नाम का ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, because even Duncan Fletcher, who didn't have a great time as a coach, but he helped a lot of people develop, and that is also as crucial as just winning together as a unit. So let's see. नाम अभी के लिए तो बहुत early है, पर let's see who comes.
This has been a very, very interesting inning so far. It has had boundaries. It has had boundaries and dots. There's been 6 fours, but apart from that, hardly anything. And for all the intent, both Smith and Short are showing. Smith gone.
Catch.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
for all the intent that Smith is trying to show, he's still hovering around, run a ball.
Interesting.
Yeah,
And
it's also kept low thoda, which is very, very
Yeah,
interesting. It's kept low on the straight.
It's a very it's a hard it's a deck which is sort of hard to read, because when it's coming on well, and then it's stopping a little bit in between. Sure.
how much of Smith's, sort of play or game today has to do with the fact that उसको पता है कि ठीक है, मतलब it's not like I'm a regular in the T20 side. I have all the freedom in the world. बस खेलते जो है, जब तक अपने पास है तब तक खेल लेते हैं.
He's
No, but he
been
wants
batting
to.
like that.
Yeah, Paji, go on.
Yeah, see, I think since the time he got that snub in the IPL auctions, he's been trying to bat with far more intent. It's just that a lot of it doesn't come naturally to him. God.
Shabash.
A lot of it doesn't come naturally to him, which is why sometimes when he's trying to slog, you see him losing shape. And when he got those two back-to-back hundreds, uh, he got it on the back of playing a lot of cricketing strokes and maintaining his shape. I just think that hasn't happened today. So he's trying. Let's see how far he can go.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure for all these Australian players, somewhere at the back of their mind is also the IPL auction that's going to happen in a couple of weeks, if not a couple, at least in 3 weeks' time right now, and that would really, really, don't you think is that a fair assumption to make right now? कि इन सबके दिमाग में कहीं ना कहीं तो ये चल रहा है, especially the likes of say even Smith, they don't mind getting a nice paycheck. Gurkirat, that nod, I'm guessing, is in agreement.
100%. I mean, it would be on the mind of some Indian players as well, because some of them might get released. So, yeah, why not? See, if it helps a player upskill, then nothing like it.
No, that's a fair point. 100%. Nikhil bhai ने तो already क्या, if I'm not wrong, it was the second episode of Monday Night Live जहाँ पे उन्होंने कहा था कि लिख के ले लो December में when the IPL auction happens, a certain Spencer Johnson is going to go to Punjab Kings. I'm just looking forward to the 19th of the next month. But उससे पहले यार 3 days from now we've of course got all the player retentions and all of that coming. Yeah, I'm as much as I want to avoid all this IPL chatter, given that this is T20s and given the fact that a lot of IPL related conversations will happen invariably in the next month or so, we will keep bringing this up time and again, but also we'll try to focus on the game as much as possible. But we all know, at least I personally have a huge bias for IPL towards IPL, so invariably thoda idhar udhar rahega. So you can also take the keep sending in your questions. Also, one more thing, मैं जियो पे देख रहा हूँ. I'm pretty sure आप लोग क्या अपना you're watching it on
Sports 18.
Sports 18.
Sports 18.
exactly, yeah, Sports 18. Sorry, for a second I blanked out on the channel, so I might sort of मेरा साबुन slow रहेगा, as Nikhil bhai would say. So don't worry, but फिर भी react तो करेगा अपन. And Jagmeet, it's great to see you again. My man.
Broadcaster का भी slow है, because speeds are not showing on the broadcast.
That is
it's
not
like-
even a concern for them. It's not a concern
Right.
for them.
Exactly. And welcome to you as well, Jagmeet. It's been a while since I saw you as well. Probably it has to do with the fact that we have ज़्यादा lives कर नहीं पाए. But yeah, thank you so much for coming back once again. It'll be a great game, hopefully, today. And there was one question that, if I'm not wrong, Sanjay had mentioned a while back about Mukesh. Yep, there I go. Not Sanjay, it was Cricket.com Tashan again. He asked us why was Mukesh preferred over Avish, and a left-hand, an LHB middle order batter would have been, a better option given shots offies. They could have probably preferred Jitesh over Kishan to sort of, oh, sorry, I got the question wrong. He was basically saying, why have they gone for a left-hand batter given shot is already there along with Maxwell? So someone like a Jitesh maybe would have been better to negate that matchup. Gurkiran, let's start with you. Mukesh over Avish, do you agree with that? And secondly, Jitesh over Kishan, should that have happened?
Just oh yeah. So Mukesh over Avesh, I don't think should be difficult to understand given the superior control that Mukesh has shown from the IPL itself. Mukesh has also shown that he can nail the Yorker pretty much when he likes it. But we have seen enough examples in the past with a lot of bowlers that you cannot just be a Yorker specialist. You need to have at least one other delivery in the armory and some brains to then know when to execute that and when to probably get away from that plan. So without a doubt, in the last 1 year or so, you'd have to say that Mukesh has shown far more control. I have not watched the Sayyid Mushtaq Ali, so I'm not sure if something changed over there. If Avesh showed a lot more control, then please, anyone who's a viewer of this watch along can point towards that. And what was the second question? Sorry.
Jitesh over Kishan.
Over Kishan.
So why do you think that was a better option, given that Maxwell Shaw they had multiple right arm off spinners to negate that? Maybe someone
Ideally, yes, because Kishan, with Kishan, Jaiswal, and Rutu being there, you are assured that one of them bat out of position. I think Kishan's playing because they probably want to give him a last few games before they take a call on him in the T20 side, because his numbers haven't been great and he has struggled in the format, and probably if it not been for a decent IPL for him, he could have pretty much been dropped from the Indian T20 side as well. So it just comes down to that.
interesting. And Nikhil bhai, let me just stick to the Jitesh and Kishan part. Avish ka, I'll sort of circle back to that later. But Ishan Kishan, do you think he probably didn't deserve a spot, and someone like a Jitesh Sharma could have added more value ahead of him?
See, I think this time is going to be just giving closures to people in terms of giving people enough chances and then taking all that chances given, not made use of, stay in the future, stay in the reckoning for the future. So I think this is one such series for Ishan because, as Padi said, you need to have that consistency in backing also. Okay, you give them enough time to come good, and then if they don't, then you can make the call when saying, "Okay, bhai, now it's not worked for enough number of times. Now we'll move forward." And which is where again the point about knowing who your top three are going to be. Whether Rohit and Virat are going to be part of this, if one of them is going to be part of it, where is that person going to bat? Most likely in the top two. So it will help you cancel down options as well. As for Jitesh, I think he had a, I mean, no, I wouldn't say poor, but a okay smat. So it wasn't as if ke bhai numbers were screaming from that end ke bhai le lo karke. So very keen to see what they get as an entry point for Kishan. Kyunki their roles are very different in my opinion. Jitesh, I can't look to Jitesh how I look at Ishan Kishan. So that's where I'm keen to see कि क्या order पे आप ईशान को भेज रहे हो. तो देखते हैं.
Fair, and to be honest, you can even say that Jitesh Sharma had a post match. From what I remember, it was his 1/2 century, and that was against one of the seven sisters. Was it Tripura, Meghalaya, Nagaland, one of the three states. So he's also not, coming into the series in the greatest of forms. And the reason why I wanted to circle back to Avesh later was, of course, the recent update on Avesh Khan with regards to IPL is the fact that a trade has happened. We will talk about it in depth. At least Nikhil Bhai and I would talk about it in depth in the Monday Night Live, in the upcoming episode of the Monday Night Live. So guys, do tune in there to sort of see both of us, including Avish, talk about it. But Gurkirat, let's have your opinion out there. Happy with the trade? Like, do you think it's a win-win situation, a lose-lose situation, or do you think one side has benefited more from it than the other?
I was thinking that maybe, Particle is the biggest winner out of the whole thing, but then I realized that he'll probably have to play on those pitches in Ekana, and there are two left-handers already so far who open for Lucknow, where there is QTK and Myers. So I'm not sure, if he'll definitely get to open there. It could just end up being ki एक तरफ कुआं दूसरी तरफ खाई वाला situation for Particle, because if he has to bat at number 3 again in for LSG, you'd rather bat at number 3 in Savai Mansingh rather than Ekana. At least that's what I feel. So coming to RR, maybe if they wanted to get Avesh, they could have probably tried to get him in the auction, because I feel at this point of time 10 CR is a little too much for him. But and anyway, their problem has been that balance with that number 7 spot, like who rarely comes and bats there and can chip in with a couple of overs or 4 overs. So uh, the other consequence of this could be that they let go of maybe Navdeep Saini, because I don't see them letting go of Sandeep Sharma. I don't see them letting go of Kuldeep Sen. Maybe they can let go of Kuldeep Yadav. I don't know, but one of Kuldeep Yadav or Navdeep Saini could now make way for Avesh.
Interesting. They have a plethora of fast bowlers to look at. Let's see what they do. But there was an interesting stat in between. Matthew Shaw's average against leg spin, 13.3. That's ridiculously low. And the fact that he's been dismissed 19 times by leg spinners across T20s, you could see why Ravi Bishnoi had been brought in earlier in the power play. It said something the India team hasn't done much, or did he bowl in the power play during the West Indies series as well? My mind. Did he?
Bowled one
As-
over or
He
so.
did bowl one out. Yeah, he did bowl.
Yeah.
He was tried for sure.
Was,
But yeah,
was
the ploy
trying,
worked.
trying to close the power play in a lot of
Yeah.
games. Was doing that even in the IPL.
But the ploy worked to perfection here. They started off with Akshay. So, again, in terms of bowling options today, Nikhil, by any one option that you are looking at in particular, because again, all of us know that this is the first game right after the World Cup. Despite all of this being, there are the think tank's way of trying to figure out the right options for the upcoming World Cup, which is a good 10 months away. Abhi itni jaldi to kuch nahi ho sakta. So how do you think the Indian think tank can sort of, accumulate or assimilate the options that they have around? Kin ko chances dena chahiye? How do you think, what process do you think would they be looking at right now? So early, that is.
No, so I think as we discussed just right at the start, I think it will be a pool of players for specific formats, and then I feel they'll try and rotate amongst them and see whether is there a guy like Mukesh who we need in test also. So if that is the case, who is then our backup option for somebody to bowl two at the end? So if Prasidh Krishna is someone that I want to send or play in South Africa in test matches because that's what you missed the last time you played there. तो अगर तभी तो वैसे भी चलो आप T20 नहीं खेलने वाले हो, but South Africa you will play. So that is also a good time for you to see what is it that you can get from him. So as you said, it will be about phase-wise roles display. के at this point of time, I feel Bishnoi and Asdeep Singh are the two guys who are lock, along with Akshar Patel. कि ये तीन तो डेफिनेटली होनी चाहिए आपकी टीम में, बट हाउ इज देयर फॉर्म गोइंग, व्हाट आर देयर बैकअप्स? So it's very crucial for Akshar Patel to take wickets now, because we've seen that in the World Cup as well. Okay, economy and all is fine. Eventually, you will need wickets. So that is what will get him to the side. और बैटिंग तो करीबन में लगेगा ही अक्षर पटेल का. तो who is their backup to him? Because you have to take into consideration, and this is the time to do it. मतलब वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो का प्लानिंग आप यहीं पे कर सकते हो. आप यू कैन डू इट इन अ बिग टूर्नामेंट. तो दिस इज द ओनली प्लेस वेर यू कैन ट्राई. तो द डाउन साइड इज यू डोंट प्ले अ लॉट ऑफ T20s. तो आप अभी खेलोगे and then you'll play Afghanistan. So that is probably the only series where you might want to try out your options, but the options has to be within the pool and not too random.
Interesting. And Gurkirat, in terms of options right now, we've seen 3 overs of spin and 3 overs of pace in the power play. A 50-50 power play would say, like, I don't think anyone sort of won the power play battle outright. Prasidh Krishna, Mukesh Kumar, both of them, do you think the Indian setup is looking at them as middle overs enforcers? Is that the role that they sort of envision these two in? Or is it just given the options they're just playing around right now?
I think with regards to Mukesh, they're probably looking at top 2 and bottom 2 kind of overs from him. Short. That's some shot. With I think Prasidh, probably they'll look at the middle overs where someone like him can come and just bang the ball in short and trouble the batters. But I agree with Nikhil in the sense that at this point of time, if you are looking at where do you need Prasidh the most, you probably need him in that red ball team for that tour to South Africa, because you still don't have a replacement for Ishant Sharma. You chose to move on from him. He was in the squad in the last tour to South Africa, but you did not play him. So, and one thing which was clearly the differentiator between Indian pacers and South African pacers was the bounce that South African pacers were able to generate with Rabada and Janssen getting that extra bounce. So, I think you look at Prasidh there. Also, what would be very important to see is that who bowls with a lot more control. And even though you might feel that Mukesh is sort of limited with the number of options that he's had, but even with those limited number of options, he's shown better control than many other bowlers, which especially what Prasidh is showing right now. So I'm not sure if Prasidh would definitely be on that flight to Caribbean come the T20 World Cup. But yeah, not too bad to see how he goes and how he bowls.
So far, he's been going for plenty of runs. That's a third 4 in a row right now. And like I said, Mera shayad sabun slow chal raha hai, so I would be a bit sort of behind in terms of the play. But again, Nikhil bhai, pehle over mein 13 run diya tha. Is over mein filhal 4, 4, 6, 4. 4, 6, 4, 4. That's 18 plus 13, 31 in 1.5 overs. Not the greatest of starts for Prasidh there. Like the
And I
reason.
think too much pace is what I felt. Okay, if he's able to punch you off the back foot on this day, which we've seen has not come onto the bat better, तो आपकी line तो गलत है ही क्योंकि आप room दे रहे हो, and then you're giving him too much space also, because नहीं तो भाई timing तो बढ़िया है यार for him. The ball has to come onto the bat for him to be able to time it that well. So again, not something that we haven't seen from Prasidh before, and this is something that I really hope that a lot of focus is there from the management, because I sometimes find it very, very irritating that why do Indian bowlers at times need so much spoon feeding? कि ये करना है, ये नहीं करना है, ये you have to think on your own as well. You'll have to find a way कि okay, this is what I'm. See, if you try, it doesn't come off, and you hit for runs, it's fine, because at least you can see that there is something being tried and it is not working. And okay, then you can see that okay, ठीक है, चलो fair है, it happens. But otherwise, अगर आप एक ही चीज कर रहे हो, रन खा रहे हो, तो फिर you'll have to find other options also. And that's again, English has completely changed the complexion in the last few overs. He's raised away to 32 from 17. It's not good from
Exactly,
a bowling standpoint.
And what followed that 6 was 2 balls in the slot with both mid on and mid off up.
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly. I mean,
so
he is
it
on
all
fire.
comes down to, so some of these things are just basic elementary mistakes, which you feel at least at this level should not happen, because these are not even related to your execution as such. It's just about not playing the percentage. If you have your mid on and mid off up, what are you even trying to do, trying to bowl fuller? So you are not giving yourself the best chance to succeed. That is more or less about it. And again, because we don't have the speeds right now on broadcast, but you just feel with this pitch, with the slight hold up, on a certain length, you are again feeling that maybe the spinners are not bowling the right pace, because it should not be coming this well onto that, with the way a few balls have stopped on the surface.
Interesting that.
And
And
again,
English again is another name to look forward to in the IPL auction, a name that I've also mentioned earlier before in terms of how he could be a decent fit for any team that's looking for a keeper batter. Not going to mention any names. I've already sort of been told by quite a few of our viewers कि भाई कुछ ज़्यादा ही एक team के बारे में चर्चा हो रही है, so no names taken. But Sanjay meanwhile asks us another interesting question. Deepak Chahar, another name that we haven't really seen in the Indian team for an extended period now. And number 7 or number 8, he would definitely have great balance when he's in full, when he can bowl at full tilt, and when he can offer the kind of value that he does with the bat. He's really a fantastic choice to have. But Nikhil bhai, do you see him, sort of making a comeback into the Indian team anytime soon?
भाई एक तो ना फील्डिंग बेटर करना पड़ेगा. दिस you cannot really feel like that. You had 2 years to collect that ball from Surya there. So थोड़ा just being bit more proactive, क्योंकि Smith was halfway down.
Oh, अच्छा आप इसकी बात
Exactly.
कर रहे हो, मुझे लगा बाउंड्री की
Exactly.
बात कर रहे थे.
नहीं, because you see the throw is come in, but आप is not in the position to even take it. तो थोड़ा controllable है ये भी, but ठीक है. That is something hopefully will get better in time. And with Deepak again, discussed in the past about how fit he can be, and batting से value है, but eventually you have to remember कहाँ पे आप खेलने वाले हो. Are you ever going to promote him? Most likely not, but you can. But that's still a very good option to have on paper. But the thing that you have to take care is कहाँ पे डालेगा, कि आप पावर प्ले में ही डलवाने वाले हो और फिर आप निकाल दोगे तो इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर तो है नहीं यहाँ पे. You already have Arshdeep and Mukesh. If you say 2 people, I expect spin to bowl also in the power play. So then you don't want to have too many people, but it is always good to have people ready. Because at this point of time, the one format where he should get in, or if he can get in right now, is the T20 format, given the fitness ka issue as well.
100%, that's a fair point there. And Gurkirat again, with Australia have now raced to 75 in 9 overs in 8.5 80s according to the broadcast that I'm watching. How much do you think Australia would like to have at the end of the first innings?
You would say 180 from here. 180 is something that they'd want. So, yeah.
Interesting. Again, I'm not used to short and crisp answers from Gurkirat. Just get taken aback. But of course, Nikhil bhai, what about your predictions? First innings, at the end of the first innings, how much is Australia ending up with? Dhoni?
Yeah, I
MSD?
mean, everybody is expecting due. So as Paji said, yeah, an MS score might not be bad, but it may not be enough. But again, it depends if they take new ball wickets, so it will always be handy.
मैं
So
MS
it is.
टेस्ट की बात कर रहा था, आप शायद ODI की बात कर रहे हो.
देखो भाई, जिसको जो समझना है समझो. 148 नहीं चाहिए अपने को, 183 रहेगा तो अच्छा गेम रहेगा. तो इट्स व्हाट पीपल हैव टू टेक अ कॉल ऑन कि वो कौन सा एमएस देख रहे. एंड एनीवेज एमएस इज अ काइंड ऑफ पर्सन एवरीबॉडी टेक्स इट इन देयर ओन वे. So there is no one all that fits all.
And look at that, we've got a stat right in front of us. Josh Inglis, fantastic numbers those. Against pace, an average of 33, a strike rate in excess of 150. Against spin, sorry, wait, I got the numbers wrong. Yeah, an average of 33 and a strike rate of 150 versus pace, and an average of 30 and a strike rate of 143 versus spin. Fantastic numbers. Again, something that we've spoken about earlier as well. Josh Inglis has been breaking up runs for fun for the Perth Scorchers in the BBL for the last few years. It was only a matter of time before he made it to the national side, and he has, and now he's also a World Cup winner in no time. This goes out to show. In fact, if I'm not wrong, Ajinkya Dhamdere had mentioned this freakish stat during our Monday Night Live. Unfortunately, I forgot to display it, but I couldn't sort of forget that stat. Yeah, exactly. 109 players have represented Australia in the World Cup. Over 60% of them have won. a World
World
Cup. I'm like, क्या चल रहा है भाई? Over 60% of all players who've
It's
represented a
it's
country have won the World Cup.
it's something, reminds me of what Nikhil shared on our WhatsApp group. That clip by Hammer Nakvi. He's like, he says, anyone and everyone who's picked up a bat in Australia has won a World Cup. And he goes on to say that those who play cricket for Australia are not even their premium athletes, because the first choice of sport is Aussie rules. So he says that I hate cricket so much that we end up losing to a country for which the cricket is not even amongst the top two sports, and they still win it.
Top two can't, top five maybe nahi hai. Seventh most popular sport in Australia. Like that's what sort of annoys me even more. We saw those visuals of Pat Cummins, exiting the Melbourne airport, and there was nothing. कुछ नहीं था. ऐसा लग रहा था हाँ मतलब किसी दुकान से ट्रॉफी उठा के ला रहा है बस. It was ridiculous, man.
See, it has both of its advantages and disadvantages. I mean, at the end of the day, it also means short.
भाई
At the end of the day, it also means that
हम 10 सेकंड बाद रिएक्ट करेंगे.
at the end of the day, it also means that you are not so caught up in that success that you're just consumed by it. You celebrate it, but then the next day you move on and you carry on with life, which is also fair, because so many times we've seen that we just keep talking about a few victories. Maybe it's also because we have not won as much, but okay, it works both ways.
Could be the case, and I do agree somewhere, the fact that because it's not taken so seriously in some sense, reduces the pressure, takes the pressure element off the game itself around, how it's played and all of that. Could be the case, could be the reason, but yeah, we'll never know. Hopefully, someone does a case study on this and genuinely explain us why are Australians so good and so calm under pressure. At least their cricket team. Whoa, that's a hike. Oh man, that's a fantastic fielding effort as well. Fantastic fielding effort as well. But again, Josh Inglis, we were speaking briefly about him. For me, Josh Inglis, the only thing that I can remember is that shot that he played to Bumrah in the India-Australia ODI
Yeah.
series outside of some. I mean, आप सबको याद है that really had shades of AB de Villiers. Something I mentioned then as well. Something I'll stick by even now. Even if you look at how he moves, how his feet move when he tries to attempt that pull, that hoik that he did now,
Yeah.
reminds me of AB de Villiers. Clears his front leg, completely clears his front leg to be able to access those regions. Nikhil bhai, very very fascinating prospect type for the IPL.
Yeah, but then see, you can't bat him in the middle order. So you need him for the top three. और आपका top three भाई हर जगह पे इतने 50,000 ऑप्शन है ना आपके पास कि it's not going to be possible to fit him there. और आप the point with foreign prospects is, and again I hope I'm proven wrong by him also, but uh, when they start on tougher surfaces, it doesn't get easier. So which is why power play is the best time for them. कि भाई आप उनको वो time दो, they'll be able to come in at a good time and set the tone for you. Which is again for Perth also, I don't think he bats lower. It is higher up the order. So that in the top three is probably the best time. But in the IPL, how many teams do we remember or do we feel कि जिसके पास top three में अच्छे ऑप्शन नहीं है? तो आप 4-5 पे भेज के तो उसका फुल पोटेंशियल निकालोगे नहीं. और अब इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर भी है तो दैट मेक्स इट इवन वर्स फॉर स्पेशलिस्ट रोल्स कि भाई क्योंकि एवरीबडी देन वांट्स ऑल टू हैव एन ऑलराउंडर और अ वेरी गुड ओपनर और अ वेरी गुड एंड ओवर्स बॉलर, क्योंकि दिस आर द थिंग्स दैट यू डोंट गेट इन द यूजुअल इंडियन मार्केट कि भाई अच्छा पेस खेलने वाला मेरे को ओपनर चाहिए, या तो एक पेस हिटिंग ऑलराउंडर चाहिए जो थोड़ी बॉलिंग भी कर दे, या तो एक एंड ओवर स्पेशलिस्ट मिले, और उसके बाद एक स्पिनर तो कहीं ना कहीं से आ ही जाता है. So role तो definitely है उसके लिए, but at this point of time, I don't know which team अपन he will benefit all of them, but I'm just looking कि opening कौन से team में ज़्यादा open है for him to come good.
But I sort of always looked at them as more of a floater who can bat, anywhere in the top six. And that's the reason why I felt, especially in most teams' middle orders, he'll find a spot. Probably not in the top three. I do agree with Nikhil by that. Most teams' top three seems to be packed with decent enough first 11 options. Gurkirat, do you also sort of agree with Nikhil, or whose side are you on? Like, in terms of him being a floater or him being an exclusively top three option?
See, expecting overseas batters to play as floaters is an expectation a bit too far. because it sometimes requires you to combat very good spin bowling. So unless you are absolutely convinced of an overseas batter's prowess against spin bowling, I don't think it's a gamble worth it. Uh, if any team decides to go for Josh Inglis, either they should bat him in the top three, and if they're planning to bat him below top three, then they should just really look at his spin game in these games and then probably make a call. Because without that, then you're also setting up a player for failure. I mean, I anyway think that if you for top three batters, you should ideally just look at Indian players, and you know because those are easily available in the market. And I do feel that openings probably the most uh, easier role to crack in the format. It is in the middle orders and the finishers or the power hitters that you sometimes don't get amongst the Indian players. So try and find that, and then maybe see if you really want to go for a top three batter from outside. मेरे को पता है क्या
Paji
आने
has
वाला
Paji has just described what Delhi Capitals do every season, and then he's the one questioning them कि तुम क्यों इतने इंडियन टॉप ऑर्डर बैट ले रहे हो? अब भी पाजी आपने बोला कि टॉप ऑर्डर पे
है.
इंडियन बैटर रखो.
Indian top order नहीं. Their problem is not with Indian top order
तो
bats. Their
उन्होंने
problem
इंडियन
is
नहीं
they
सुना,
they
उन्होंने इंडियन
only
सुना ही नहीं.
they only go for top order bats. अब आप 9 लोग रख लोगे, so that is the problem. Even all their and outside of David Warner, if you look at Marsh or if you look at Riley Russo or if you look at Phil Salt, Marsh and Riley Russo are the kind of batters. If the ball's not coming in straight lines, you cannot rely on them to give you a score. Ball stops, ball grips, ball turns, ball seam, ball swings. Jai Mata Di. चल गए तो चल गए, नहीं चले तो कोई वो नहीं है. So you also don't want to have that kind of investment and then get those batters who are probably going to be successful on one kind of pitch only. So that is
Fair
the
enough. I mean, we'll keep having these conversations, continuing this conversation in particular, and of course, taking more of your comments. Guys, please also make sure you're commenting, liking, and subscribing to us if you haven't already. That's how the YouTube algorithm works. More of new viewers can come and join the community. It'll be great fun. And also, we're planning on doing a few polls here and there just to sort of understand what you guys like, what you guys don't, some fun questions, some not so fun questions. We'll keep at it as much as possible. Firstly, of course, one thing that we are trying to experiment with right now is to do these entirely online watch-alongs because, of course, Nikhil Bhai and Gurkirat and I aren't geographically in the same city, so it won't be realistically possible for us to be physically present. We felt that something like this would probably work a bit more. So something I really want to know from you guys as well. We'll have a poll because if you could help us out with that as well. In terms of online watch-alongs, is it something that you guys are fine with? Is it something you guys really like? Is it something you guys prefer? Or do you think offline watch-alongs work better? Online, offline, neither, or a mix and match like before? Something we felt earlier, I mean, we felt now was those earlier watch-alongs where the mix and match was happening didn't sort of have the same connect, so we felt this would be more easier, it'll be more personal, be more connected with you guys as well. So do let us know what you think. We'll of course take a few comments as well. Crickner, of course, that's the first comment that's the most recent comment about Delhi Capitals. So who but Gurkirat to answer that? Paji, how about English to Delhi Capitals, an Australian top order batter and wicketkeeper? He ticks all of those boxes that Ponting likes to tick. So yeah, fair enough, right? That's a fair shout. So Josh Inglis next year.
there are already too many players who can bat in the top three over there. Uh, they might try if they release Phil Salt. If they don't release Phil Salt, then I don't see how they sort of make space for him. I anyway feel that amongst the four, which is Warner, Marsh, Phil Salt, and Russo, they need to let go of two at least. It is very much possible that they could let go of Powell and release one out of the four, and then again get into the scheme that how do we now fit in three of those in the top five. So very predictable that way. This franchise is very predictable in terms of how wrong they can go.
And yeah, I mean, when you earlier mentioned DVS Lakshman and how his commentary skills haven't really sort of taken you by the storm, so you're not sure how he would be as a coach. I was thinking, भाई मतलब क्या लेना देना पॉन्टिंग का तो देख लिया हमने. इतना तगड़ा कोच है, मतलब क्या बोले उसके बारे में. इतना सही बात करता है, इतना सही इसके उसके insights. I really fell in love with the insights that he had to offer. But भाई coaching में मतलब again, I don't think he's a bad coach. But tactically, I don't know what's going wrong there. Kiran Gandhi,
One of
maybe is that the effect?
one of them is the doppelganger. Doppelganger. Uh, I don't know who that is. Whether it's the commentator or whether it's the coach. They are no way the same person. I've followed them enough.
Interesting. And again, we'll get back to that. Right now, Bishnoi's dismissal of Matthew Short was his 18th dismissal of the good length. Incredible consistency and grouping for a leg spinner. We've also got the pitch map. If our producer could just help us out, because I don't think there. I do find it. There we go. That's a pitch map in terms of how good he's been and how consistent he's been with his lengths. Nikhil bhai, just look at that. Because 18 out of 25, that's 72% of his dismissals in all T20Is have come in just that good length, that 4 meter to 6 meter length. Is that one of his sort of, strengths? The fact that he can bowl so accurately, can target those stumps very accurately. Oh, what a shot!
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do
Exactly.
you
I was waiting. I was actually just waiting for that six to come go through by 50 Mara English, so well played. But maybe a good time to now get out, because then if he bats through, India will probably be chasing 200. Because that's how they'll keep going now. But yeah, as you talked about Bishnoi, see, the thing with Bishnoi is we know what he bowls, but and that can sometimes also not help. Like you've just seen, ke, he knows, the batter knows what length is going to be. So जब थोड़ा full था, तो English went down the ground. अब जब he knows कि length है, so he's moved away and given himself room to play it over the offside. So it is risky, but when the batter is good enough, they will play and make the most of it.
I can't stop laughing because my niece has decided that today is the day she will play with her uncle. बाकी दिनों में तो नहीं आती, कभी नहीं आएगी. यहाँ पे लाइट का दिखा है तो आ जा रही है
Good
बस.
timing. Good
Yeah,
timing. Good
exactly.
timing.
Good timing for her, not so much for me. But English, man, fantastic timing from him. What are those shots? Ridiculous. It's so good to see him play well. Because he has all the shots clearly. Gurkirat, in terms of Bishnoi and his abilities to bowl. Guys, again, sorry, I'm cutting myself time and time again. But we will take your comments whenever we can. अभी questions याद आ रहे तो we'll sort of get done with them. नहीं तो बाद में याद नहीं आएगा फिर भूल जाएंगे.
Shot.
But Bishnoi, his flatter trajectory, how much do you think that has sort of helped them in being able to target the stumps a lot more as compared to, I don't know, someone like Chahal who comes a lot more from over the shoulder. Bishnoi is a lot more round armish, so to say, maybe. Like, I don't know if I'm getting the explanation part of it right, but I feel he has a more flatter trajectory, and that's what helps him attack the stumps a lot more. Do you concur with that? Do you think that is a possibility? What do you think?
I think it's not just the trajectory; it's also the way which it's also which way the ball turns for both. Bishnoi is predominantly a googly bowler or a wrong one bowler, so that helps him attack the stumps a lot more. I don't think Bishnoi attacks the stumps as much when it comes to again, this should have been taken. I just think Arshdeep ran the wrong line or ran the wrong way. But when it comes to bowling to the left-handers, I don't think Bishnoi is attacking the stumps as much as what Chahal does. So there is that. Uh, but the last over was probably an example of Bishnoi being predictable in the sense he bowled the quicker one. Inglis was expecting it and went down the ground, bowled a quicker one again, pulled the length back. Inglis was able to expect that and anticipate that, and then went over covers. And then when he flattered it a little, because the last six that was hit, that was bowled at 87, so sort of became predictable that way. Oh,
And also in terms of accuracy, like we see this sort of aspect coming to the fore with players like Ravi Bishnoi, like we mentioned, over 70% of his wickets coming from that 4 meter to 6 meter length. Another name that comes to my mind, that's a leaning edge, of course, no man's land. नहीं तो विकेट का तो पता चल ही जाता आप लोगों से, इतना तो इतनी समझ है भाई. But yeah, another name that comes to my mind is someone like Josh Hazelwood, like because they tend to hit those lengths repeatedly. It becomes a lot more easier for the batter to sort of shape up accordingly and throw them off their lengths because they can move around. This is the reason I brought Hazelwood's name as well, is because last season, RCB versus Punjab, I remember how Bairstow just kept shuffling around the crease. He kept pulling him, and that became a lot more easier for him to play, and Hazelwood is completely thrown off. Yeah, good. Yeah.
it just comes down to what kind of pitch you are playing at. So if you are playing at a pitch where there is uncertain bounce,
Oh,
or where the pace is up and down, probably being accurate is not the worst thing, because then you let pitch do whatever the pitch wants to do. But if you are playing at a flat deck where you know the bounce is true, the pace is true, then
bhai,
Yeah,
Smith is wearing a different kind of Lux cozy today because whatever is hit, it's gone in no man's
yeah,
land.
I'm not sure if India would mind Smith batting, because he's, I was just looking at his control percentage, it's around 60.
is that even
It doesn't
first?
matter. It doesn't matter, Baji. In that Cliff Harbor game, if I'm getting the pronunciation right, he eventually went on to swat sixes towards the end. So if Asdeep and Mukesh lose that line, उसको 4 बॉल लगेगा,
Mukesh
4
will
छक्के
win.
मारने
I
को.
can see, I can see Mukesh going for runs.
हाँ, तो वो उसका साइकिल भी 200 टच हो जाएगा.
हाँ, वो भी है, but
I'll be interesting to see what,
as I was saying that
going.
being accurate depends, like it could be a strength, it could be a weakness, depending upon which pitch are you playing at, especially in this format. So I think on this pitch, as a pacer, if you are, sort of accurate at that length where the ball's stopping a little bit, it's not the worst thing.
Interesting, Nikhil bhai. What about you? T20 bowler, I mean not T20 bowlers, but T20 format. Predictable lengths is like predictable is the sort of it has a negative connotation, but being accurate, being consistent in a particular length. Do you think that's a good way of sort of bowling in the T20 formats? Do you think these bowlers sort of have a spot in the 11 for themselves?
No, they will always do and not have, depending on, as Pari said, the surface. That's the primary concern. कि जैसे Maxwell, now Maxwell is an example where you'd like him on both kind of surface. क्योंकि on both surfaces he's able to give you something, and again वो accurate भी है, but he's still able to find a way. But this is not something appreciable from Prasid कि भाई आप you're doing the same thing again and again. And the one thing that I'm clearly disappointed today with India is the lack of just intent with the ball, in terms of there is nothing to lose, literally nothing to lose. But इतना सब आप 4 बॉलर 5 बॉलर का साथ ही अगर आप जा रहे हो, अगर आप अभी नहीं ट्राई करोगे, when are you going to ever try somebody and see if they work out? You cannot just, there is nothing to lose here. There is literally nothing at stake. तो अगर यहाँ पे अगर आप एक और भी नहीं देने वाले, to try, and ऐसा भी नहीं कि मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि आप end overs में दो. So I just feel sometimes India is just too stuck, as something that Paji said. They are too stuck in पहले सीरीज जीत लेते फिर एक्सपेरिमेंट करेंगे. अरे पर उसमें आप कुछ सीखते ही नहीं हो. So hopefully that is taken care of. I don't know how, but going to the point, you see this with Prasid as well. You see that with Josh, with Rashid, with every other bowler. के there are some bowlers जो वो लाइन नहीं छोड़ेंगे. जैसे राशिद खान को आप पीटोगे तो भी वो लाइन नहीं छोड़ेगा, क्योंकि उसको मालूम है कि उसका वो बेस्ट चांस है. But as Paji said for Bishnoi, now you go back to that Hardik Pandya game, GT versus LSG, जहाँ पे
Yeah.
Hardik Pandya was struggling to score runs, but the only person he got runs off was Bishnoi, because he was able to pick him कि ये अभी अगर एक बार पड़ गई है तो ये फास्ट ही डालेगा मेरे को, and that's what he did all through. So that's where I hope the communication is there from the management also, that you have to be able to spot these patterns with players. कि अब आप ये करोगे तो you know what the bowler's psyche is going to be. Like we had this discussed a lot with Chahal as well, कि when you hit him, he goes slower and wider. But now people are ready for it. तो अब आपका दूसरा विकल्प क्या है? That is something that you have to now next get into. So there is role for anyone and everyone, but you have to keep evolving. You can't just bowl the one thing and expect कि भाई ये चीज बचा लेगी आपको हमेशा.
And to be honest, speaking of the management, yeah, DVS Lakshman really like absolutely no confidence is being exuded by his presence. I saw him in the drinks break at the end of the 10th over. बस ऐसे like he's like a silent spectator in the background. Sky वहाँ पे बात कर रहा है, वो बस सुन रहा है Sky को कि हाँ अच्छा ये बोलना होता है, ये बोलना होता है. Even now when Josh Inglis hit that 6, VVS Lakshman just seemed like yet another spectator who's come to watch the game. Absolutely no reaction, nothing. I don't know. I mean, like I don't know what to make of it. But yeah, not a body language expert, so I won't be dishing out any of those decisions today. I'll sort of stick to it. And in terms of, again, I'm sort of losing my flow right now, but Prasid Krishna, 2.4 overs. He himself is not getting any flow. That's probably what is making me lose my shit. Pardon my language there, but 2.4 overs, 41 runs. Again, like we spoke about his speeds and how he's not been able to get his speeds right on the surface, but nor has he been, accurate with his lengths. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean it's just difficult to really sum up, and I just got a little flustered by the speed graphic, because as per the graphic, this slower one was bowled at 87.3. Now I'm not ready to buy that that Prasidh Krishna's bowling a slower one at 87.3. I just feel it could be a little bit of rustiness as well, because he last played a game, I think, in that Bangladesh fixture, was in that Asia Cup. So I think probably it's got a little bit to do with that. And it's something that we've discussed with Indian bowlers at length, that barring Bumrah, no one's really able to figure out what is the correct length to bowl at the pitch or at the surface. So probably it's just that. And yeah, it's been a problem, and it's something that you'd really want the team to address quickly, because unlike the other two formats in T20s, say if you have a 3 over spell, I'm not even talking about a single spell by a bowler, I'm just saying if you have a 3 over phase where your bowlers have just lost their lengths and lines, the game could really slip away from you, and you may not have the opportunity to even bounce back. So, which you feel like could happen, because around the ninth over mark, Australia were 75, and they've now added 55 runs in the next 5 overs. And you feel that from here they are good for 190, 200, given how they are going right now. So it's something that you would expect the Indian bowlers to learn quickly, because none of them are rookies anymore. With the amount of cricket that you play at the IPL level as well, you expect those learnings to come to the fore very quickly, but it doesn't happen as much.
Interesting. And how do they go forward now? Because 14 overs,
फॉरवर्ड किधर वो शॉट डाल रहा है तो फॉरवर्ड जाएगा ही क्यों, पीछे खड़े खड़े सिक्स मार रहा है. So, and that is probably the third six that I can count, or fourth boundary that
On
I
the
can
back.
count of
On
on
the
the back.
back.
It's again, sometimes I just feel like I'll keep that word to myself, but let's see how they go. I feel
बता दो, खुल के बता दो, टेंशन नहीं है.
नहीं, खुल के बताने का point नहीं है. I just feel there is a lack of there is a one line that MS said way back, and it reminds me of what Paji also said now, that when runs are getting hit, I have only one bowler who can think for himself. That was Bhuvi back then. So it is something similar to what Paji said now, something similar to what you're saying now. Okay, what is the plan trying to bowl flat outside around leg stump to a set batter? I can understand you doing it to a fresh batter where you are trying to catch him off guard. यहाँ से you are only hoping for a mistake. More than anything else, you are just praying कि वो मिस हिट करे, जो कि फेयर है कि चलो वो मिस हिट कर सकता है, बट अब वो 60 पे खेल रहा है, 82 पे खेल रहा है, 60 भी नहीं, 82 पे, 82 78 पे खेला था तभी, तो it's less likely for it to come good. So I don't know. As Paji said, maybe rustiness, but just the planning just seems very off. But yeah, could just be the first game and hence that all of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
Sushant,
while I understand, sometimes spinners having to bowl defensively, uh, given the situation, but you have to realize that English at this point of time is not going to matter. Not going to care about pace on the ball. He's going to enjoy it. So probably the best way to bowl defensively to him is to not give him pace. But the exact opposite of that is happening right now with Bishnoi. So I don't know what's the best way. Again, it is so predictable. It like you're not even seeing a miss hit, because English was so sure that the last boundary that he hit was to a shorter delivery. Now he could anticipate that the next one would come fuller and probably be on the stumps because the previous one wasn't. So he moved away, and there
And
isn't
it
even
got
an
it.
attempt to follow him. Okay, you can understand being put off by the batter's movement, but you then try and follow the batter.
लो भाई एक
Again,
और छक्का,
it's a huge
शाबाश.
six. Huge
this
six.
is ridiculous, man. Like the
94.
rate at which they're going right now is just crazy, absolutely crazy. Like, what do you think? To NSD test, I'm not too far off, to be honest. 224 is not impossible from here. क्या कितना 70 रन चाहिए 5 ओवर में, the way they're bowling तो मिल ही
And
जाएगा.
it should be the case also. I think if you you talk so much about wanting to try options and you don't try options. और अगर तुमको पहले मैच में भी डर लग रहा है कि ड्यू आएगा तो हम पहले बॉलिंग करेंगे, तो फिर खाओ 224 खाओ, 250 खाओ, 300 खाओ, क्योंकि एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम I feel the team has become such a state में कि till the time you don't poke them where it hurts, they don't respond. You saw that for the previous ODI setup as well, कि जब तक तुम उनको नज नहीं करते ना कि तुम्हारा पोटेंशियल है 350 मारने का, but you have to nudge them so much that they feel the pain and then they come back and bite to कि चल अभी मैं 350 बना के दिखाएगा. But then तो डायलॉग है ना दबंकाश, अकल के आने के लिए इकोनॉमिक खराब होने का इंतजार क्यों कर रहे थे तुम? So that is something that can be told for them कि भाई why do you wait to get hurt to get better in terms of trying options? Because at this point of time, from the 15 overs bowled so far, what have you gained that you did not know? Nothing. कि बिश्नोई फुल डालेगा तो मार पड़ेगी, बिश्नोई पेस देगा तो मार पड़ेगी, प्रसिद्ध की लाइन को कंट्रोल नहीं है, मुकेश कुमार यॉर्कर डालेगा बट इज द ओनली गाय दैट यू हैव, एंड अर्शदीप को अगर पहले 2 दे दिया तो लास्ट के 2 तक नहीं दे सकते. सो my point is India are not making any use of the options that they have. आप full strength side खिला रहे हो but आप कुछ सीख नहीं रहे हो.
And again, this is where you also feel that the captaincy can be a little proactive, that you don't want to wait for Arshdeep to bowl in the last 2 and come and bowl when you've already conceded 180 190. क्या ही हो जाएगा तब तक? Even if say, and at that point of time there is no guarantee that Arshdeep can also restrict, or restrict कितना ही हो जाएगा 180 190 से. So it's just that, and yeah,
Definitely. And to be honest,
but
I'm
this
really
is
blown.
this is just a cricket game of 2 ends. At one end you are seeing pristine hitting, at the other end you are just seeing वो गली क्रिकेट में लप्पेबाजी होती है ना, कि बॉल कहीं भी है बस आंख बंद करके घुमाऊंगा, लगे ना लगे मेरे हाथ में नहीं है. Like I can't recall Smith's batting being more uglier than this. It's just been absolutely ugly.
But I guess that's pretty much what he needs to just give the strike. As long as he's being able to do that, I don't think Australia care
No,
about क्या this guy है.
you can't fault him for the effort, but it's just looking very ugly.
100%.
Shot.
Oh, देखो अगली बोला और नीचे.
The effort and wow, man. Wow. Abhi bola ugly, bhai. I'm guessing that's what Nikhil bhai was trying to say. And
Just
yeah, let's just take a few comments before we get going. I know it's been a while since we've taken. It's been a while for us also since we've done Watchalong. It's been a good 3 months, if I'm not wrong, or even more probably since India Island happened. So of course, let's take
We
a few.
did it for the West Indies ODIs.
Yeah, that's what. So it's been a while since then. Truth Hurts seems like a new name. Truth Hurts, of course, we do watchalongs often.
Very philosophical name as well.
We do a watch-along for every T20I that India plays, and of course
correct.
for the IPL. So please make sure you subscribe to us, because we've got 14 watch-alongs coming in the next 22 odd days. So make sure you're here. It'll be great fun. Sanjay says it'll be funny if Australia end up at 240. भाई मतलब 240 अगर यहाँ पे पड़ गए तो that'll be ridiculously bad bowling. Some of that has actually an interesting point.
80 तो नहीं पहुंचते थे 4 ओवर में, sorry.
But what do you think of this? Is this the kind of surface you'd be happy with in the World Cup final?
Hashtag ask Team India.
But आप बताओ ना, hashtag ask crazy. I mean cricket. Wow, man. Ask cricket craziness. Yeah.
Thanks. No, why not? I would never mind a good batting deck with something for the bowling. So, and there was something for the bowling. More than 240, what would be embarrassing is if Australia now out bowl India. And that could be very, very I don't know, fair.
Might be
but yeah, it looks like a run out. But अभी मैं बात के बीच में था तो बात पूरी करता हूँ कि because there was enough hold. Smith has been lucky, but they've bowled trash to Josh English. And credit to Josh English, he's made them bowl trash, but that's what it is. You're not here to just participate. So well done, and that is a run out. Is it?
Yeah,
it?
seems
Yes,
like
it
it's
is.
out.
Smith runs out of
Really run out.
Be like 2/3, guys. In case
Yeah.
if there's anyone who hasn't already, please do make sure that you've subscribed to us if you haven't already. Like I said just 2 minutes ago, 14 watch-alongs in the next 20 odd days. It's a lot of fun, items. Why items? Content coming up. There's also the WPL auction that's going to happen. There's also the IPL auction that's going to happen. Nikhil Bhai, Avnish and I will, of course, be a part of the Monday Night Live every Monday. So Lot of live content coming your way. Make sure you subscribe to us. Apart from that, a lot of fun content. Yeah, good, Kirat, you can go forward.
On the pitch bit, I just want to say that this pitch could have played similar to the one in the final if we were playing in the afternoon, because this it still has some grip and hold. Maybe not exactly the same, probably would have had more
Yeah.
pace, but India have bowled really poorly here, because this
Yeah.
pitch is not the one where you get to 150 or 160 in just 16 overs. It has had some help.
Yeah.
Just the bowlers have bowled without any plans.
Yeah. The due is due then, maybe finally, who knows.
By the way, I don't think I followed you guys because I was just going through the comments, and I have to say I admire the chant, man. जो भी बोलो बंदा मतलब
He's
इतनी
relentless.
शिद्दत या इतनी शिद्दत से
Relentless.
या तो आरसीबी को वहां पे डिस कर रहा है या फिर he's just saying कि बीसीसीआई का क्या चल रहा है. Even on the surface KL Tuktuk would not have really made much of it. It's I don't know, it's funny. It's also a bit like if Avnish was here, he would have really just gone at it. Kudos to Chand. We need more like it. It's great fun. It's always great fun, and of course we'll take a few few of yours as well. He says,
And they've
"ऐसा
taken a
सब-"
review.
We have taken a review.
Okay, let's see what's going to happen there. Of course.
ऐसा
But
सरफेस. हाँ, एक सेकंड है टू आंसर सुशांत. अगर केएल राहुल फास्टेस्ट 100 तीनों फॉर्मेट में मारेगा ना तो भी यू विल फाइंड अ वे टू कंप्लेन. सो kudos for their skill, क्योंकि that is something very few can do.
Fair enough. Let's just take a few more comments though. And again, going by the looks of it, 16 overs, 160. It's just crazy, man. Crazy how, Australia is headed right now. Where Australia is headed right now, rather.
Headed, अरे दूसरा कोई वर्ड यूज कर ले भाई. इधर भी तो हेड यूज
ठीक
कर
है,
रहा है.
headed नहीं है. Where they're going right now. ऐसा ही बोलूंगा. I'm pretty sure I'll botch up the pronunciation of this username, but I'll phonetically. The Lord Mundre Solti. He's asked us what is the best VPN to use Jio Cinema. I'm not in India. Can anybody suggest? Just to confirm, ये legal है ना? फिर suggest करेंगे, नहीं तो पता
एक second.
नहीं,
I don't know whether it's out.
it's the bat hitting the ground because the ball has passed. At least that's what I
But
can
then,
see.
but there I what from मेरे एंगल से मेरे को लग रहा है कि बॉल
आपको
बैट
decide करना
नहीं,
है,
नहीं,
this will-
watch the second angle.
हाँ, second
Watch
angle.
the side on angle. वहां पे बॉल निकल गई है.
Yes, side on angle. Correct. एकदम correct ही बोला. But
बढ़िया. आगे बढ़ते हैं.
No, but is this legal? वही
I
पूछ
don't
रहा
know.
था.
I have no idea.
लेकिन मेरे को भी ठीक है तो रहने देते हैं. अपने को भी ज्यादा कुछ पता नहीं है. But interesting point that our producer mentioned when you Nikhil bhai said कि don't mention enough of head. भाई अपने कंपनी के नाम में ही head है तो
हाँ तो वो तो अच्छी बात है ना. वो तो अच्छी बात है.
इसीलिए तो हम भी वैसी ही तरक्की कर रहे हैं. बस आगे भी ऐसे ही करते रहें बस और कुछ.
शाबाश. चलो, this is a time where you need an Arshdeep master class. 2 ओवर 25 पे 2 या 25 पे 3 ऐसा कुछ.
He's also not been in the greatest of forms.
Exactly. तो
Mr. Lord, Crick Nerds also just confirmed your point. Apparently, Jio Cinema itself isn't working. That's the case with me as well, which is why I'm not being able to watch the game in real time right now. So I'm just banking on my esteemed experts to sort of help us out. But again, lot of talking points. One thing that I'll just go back to the IPL chatter. 4 over Shugam, a lot of runs are up for grabs right now. Andy Russell is another name that was being considered, in terms of him potentially being traded or him potentially being given the axe. What do you guys make of it? Like, because KKR has always been that one, if not that one team, but has been one of those teams who likes to back their players, sometimes show a fault. Ki jo bhi ho, we are a family, yada, and they've done that. What do you think, Gurkirat? Let's start with you. Andy Russell, him potentially being traded or being thrown out. Good signs for KKR? Or do you think they could have probably stuck with him for another season?
See, it all depends on how you want to use him. I think over the last couple of years or maybe even 3 years, they've not had the best usage. Short. Outstanding.
Arshdeep Singh has just been reverse lapped over third man for 4.
Yeah, this is something, what A.V. de Villiers would have done. Like
Bilkul.
how Akshay keeps,
and it is
in a very similar manner. In a very
exactly.
similar manner.
Very similar. That was just getting to those mannerisms also in terms of the connection.
And using the same bat sponsor.
Oh, so bilkul. But yeah, good so far, so good from English. देखो what plans Arshdeep has, क्योंकि वाइड यॉर्कर अभी तो नहीं आ रहा unless the execution is
I
on the
think he'll
mark.
come around the wicket now probably, or is he sticking to over? He's sticking
नहीं,
to
stuck
over.
to over, stick to over and length. Wow.
But again, death bowling maybe Arshdeep Singh. There's Mukesh Kumar. Do you think it'll be Arshdeep Mukesh, or do you think Prasad will probably get ours over to complete this quota?
No, I think Mukesh has bowled three.
There is no option.
Arshdeep's into his third. So
Yeah.
all after this, all three of them will bowl one
Will
each.
bowl out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, what is important is that whosoever takes the death bowling duties doesn't rely on just
One option. Ah.
one option, because then it becomes a little too predictable. So there is that. But coming to what you were asking about Russell, I don't think that now any team can rely on Russell as a proper all rounder because of his injuries, his age, and everything. You can
Ah.
still make space for him in your in your 11, provided you know what is the kind of role that you want to give him, right? Sometimes KKR have held him on to do the impossible stuff where then he has absolutely no option but to go for everything, and that is not going to work each and every time. So I feel if you are looking at him as a pace hitter at 5, 6, 7, it can still work, but
Oh, sorry. Century.
should be a 100. It's
Century
been a
for Josh English.
very good 100.
People can't even ask how's the Josh.
Phenomenal knock, and now that's practically all but guaranteed him a spot. You know, in the 11.
Yeah,
In the 11th?
one of the
Ah,
franchises will go for him. Let's see which is it.
shabash,
There
shabash. Well
are
played.
there are
Excellent
some
knock.
usual culprits, but let's not name them.
Ah. नहीं
But
नहीं
yeah,
fair but again a great knock. Very little well very good improvisation, using the feet well, crease well, सब कुछ देख लिया. और बैकफुट वाला पंच यार मेरे को तो वही हाईलाइट लगेगा.
and very
The
good
बैकफुट.
anticipation.
Yeah, exactly. Very good anticipation. So
Very good
playing around with
anticipation.
the, yeah,
I think barring that leading edge versus Akshar was
Aksar,
probably
yeah,
in control for all the
most
for
of
the
it.
remaining 46 or 45 deliveries.
No top edge, छक्का 4.
Four.
No, ये तो भी
So
जाएगा आपके साथ कोई बंदा
I
नहीं.
mean, reminds me of Rajpal Yadav's dialogue. हम कोई मंदिर का घंटा है क्या? कोई भी आके बजा के जा रहा है. That's pretty much.
नहीं कोई भी नहीं बजा रहा. You bowled poorly, so you are getting hit. So that is something you can't compare to Rajpal Yadav. I'll credit Rajpal Yadav there. Okay. स्मिथ के इनिंग में आई वुड हैव सेड कि हाँ स्मिथ का इनिंग वाज लाइक दैट कि भाई कुछ भी हो रहा था वहां पे. 4 बॉल मिस हो रही थी, 1 बॉल लग रहा था, बट ठीक है. मतलब दिस इज तो स्टिल थोड़ा अनलकी, बट ठीक है, फाइन.
last ball of the over. Let's see.
Also coming back to that,
एक्स्ट्रा
Russell,
कवर,
that a lot of these KKR fans are also here.
बैकवर्ड पॉइंट,
Shot.
चौका, क्या बात
Shot.
है.
Oh,
No, this is not luck. This is just great
Good batting.
anticipation, and then having the smarts to not overhit it. Probably if Smith was facing the same delivery and he would have anticipated कि ball bahar hi aayegi. He would have looked to go with both hands and probably found the fielder or maybe hit it towards the deep point fielder. But here English was smart enough. He just open the face and try
एंड
to
ऑल्सो
clear the.
द फील्डिंग इज सो हॉरिबल के उधर फील्डर है ही नहीं कोई. मतलब दे आर नॉट इवन थिंकिंग कि भाई बॉल वहां जा सकती है, क्योंकि why would you then not have a fielder there? Maybe have 2 back there if you want to cut down that angle also. तो
हाँ, वो तो planning तो is been
हाँ,
off. You can see कि there's not been a lot of homework that's been done today. So there is that. But
yeah,
yeah,
as I said, मेरे को होमवर्क से ज्यादा ये है कि if Australia out bowl India on this deck, it should be far more stinking than the batting effort from Josh English.
with the score on the board, it could also become easier for Australia to outbowl because
But then see,
once
one thing is out bowling and getting wickets of good balls, and the other is like that in the first innings of the final K, you don't give anything, and the batters have to take risk. So getting out of the pitch is something that I'm looking forward to. अच्छा तो बैटिंग करेंगे तो fair है.
3 overs to go. I think 210 pretty much should be on the board.
I mean,
220 तो
if anything, India would take 210 right now. 3 over में 30 run isn't a lot, given how they are playing right now. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Surya Kumar Yadav will take it with both hands. Speaking of which, how would you rate Surya Kumar's captaincy? I know, it's too small a sample size, but it feels like he's sort of been very, I mean, like field placements in terms of, I know the bowlers haven't really assisted him, but do you agree with how he's been so far today, tactically at least? Gurkirat, let's start with you there.
Yeah, would be very harsh to judge someone on the basis of one game.
नसीब पकड़ा,
Finally taken. Finally,
एकदम
it,
धक धक हो गया.
it's just very harsh to judge someone as a captain on the basis of what 17 overs. So yeah, probably will reserve those comments till the end of the third T20I because बहुत 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 मुश्किल है, because also if you look at it, you expect some control from Prasid. Even though he's not a T20 regular, you feel his seniority should help him, but he's not bowled with control. Uh, then you would expect ki chalo Bishnoi will probably show some control or bowl better. So like the way Bishnoi's been hit, I don't think field placements would have done anything. So there is that also. इतने लंबे लंबे छक्के खाए हैं, क्या कर लेगी फील्ड प्लेसमेंट भी.
तो है.
could he have could he have gone and had a word with the bowlers about the lengths and speed which they are bowling? Probably yes, but uh, again, it's just asking too much on the first day of the job, I feel. Probably a lot of captaincy that has happened has been, the plan is being, just going with the plan is and the flow, and then see what happens.
True, I mean, none of the first 11 options being available definitely played its part in Sky getting captaincy or sort of being thrown into captaincy there.
No,
I mean,
not why. Nah, he's the vice captain of the squad. He was vice captain when Hardik was there.
11, if Hardik Pandya was the only one unfit, Sky would have been leading the side.
अब vice captain का काम वही होता है ना, right? अब captain नहीं
इसीलिए
तो vice captain lead.
Where was he vice captain? Which T20?
But again, my point is, you could have your first 11, but if your bowlers are going to bowl like this, like how Prasid and Bishnoi have bowled, I don't think as a captain you can do
Yeah.
much. Because
That's I do agree. I agree with you there.
एक और
Sorry,
चीज
just that captain.
एक और चीज I think we have to agree that most of the times with the Indian setup, you can have whosoever as captain, you will rarely see funky field placements, regardless of the format. Field placements are more or less similar. You pick up a test match, whether it's Rohit the captain or Virat or even KL Rahul, nobody places a third man. वो थर्ड मैन को एज लग के पूरा दिन रन जाते रहेंगे, बट nobody places a third man. So a lot of these things are just template based. You can change whosoever as the captain, some of those things will not change.
100%.
And I think, at the risk of sounding very, very weird, India play a lot of IPL, but not a lot of players actually get the pulse of the game when they are leading or they are not. And you've seen that examples enough, even in the last year. I'm not going to single out कि भाई चलो Punjab gave Brar the ball, but there are other calls as well that you've seen other which wise जहाँ पे you feel कि अगर plan A B C नहीं चलेगा ना, there are very few Indian captains who have been able to, as Paji said, think something completely different. कि आपने कुछ मैन्युफैक्चर करा ऑन द फील्ड, तभी सोच के कि बॉलर वही है, आपका फील्ड का प्लान भी वही है, बट यू जस्ट ट्राइंग समथिंग न्यू. और वो अगेन मे बी द प्लानिंग इज सच कि नहीं भाई जो बॉलिंग कैप्टन है दे विल, विच इज फेयर वे टू गो, बट देन जो भी है somebody is there who's not having enough backup options कि भाई 1 2 3 4 के बाद भी you might need to have 5 6 7 8 as a option at least कि भाई ये नहीं चलेगा तो मेरे पास और कुछ है क्या जिस पे मैं रिलाई कर सकूं.
Interesting. And just circling back to that captaincy bit, but you saying
देखो ऐसा कैचिंग करेंगे तो नहीं खुश होगा यार.
that's another drop catch.
And this is being dropped by one of the better fielders, Bishnoi. So अब ऐसी चीजों पे क्या करे कोई कैप्टन? You can't even say that Bishnoi is a poor fielder who's fielding in a hot spot.
Yeah. But the one thing I still want to ask is, ठीक है आपके बॉलर बुरा बॉलिंग कर रहे हैं, does the captain not have enough right or authority कि ही से के 11-12 ओवर इंग्लिश बैटिंग कर रहा है, I'll give 1 over to तिलक वर्मा और I'll see what जायसवाल can do. Whatever your plan is के अगर ये दो मेरे 5 6 ऑप्शन है तो I want to see what they do, because that's how Maxwell got to bowling. That's how you see a lot of part timers also coming into the game. Ke, you tried something. I think my problem there is you don't even try. So फिर आप you don't get something new from there.
I have an answer to that. I have an answer
हाँ,
to that. And the answer to that is because कोई भी नया कैप्टन आ जाए ना, because there is so much of scrutiny.
हाँ, वो तो
चाहे
है.
दुनिया भर में लोग बोल रहे हैं कि नहीं bilaterals है, we don't care, we don't care, everyone cares. आज you will lose the match, there will be eulogies written about Sky the captain, regardless of the fact that Sky's captaincy had any role to play in the result or
Yeah.
not. So
I
any
mean,
new captain comes in,
people have written that for his batting also, जबकि उसके
yeah,
बैटिंग का वर्ल्ड कप फाइनल से कोई लेना देना नहीं.
yeah.
मतलब नहीं खेला
100%.
अच्छा वो, but you didn't lose because of him.
So
No, even as a
So what
captain,
I'm trying to say is that there's a pattern. You look at the first series that India played after the 2021 World T20, right? India played New Zealand, and the problem that was identified with the T20 setup is that they are not as strong when it comes to batting first. Now, what did Rohit Sharma do after winning those two tosses? Chose to bowl. India won those two games. Final game में chose to bat. ठीक है, क्योंकि series secure होगी. India lost out in the semis of the 2022 World T20. Hardik Pandya was the captain. Again, playing New Zealand in New Zealand. What did Hardik Pandya choose to do? Choose to bowl. So the problem is that whosoever becomes the captain, right, that person is also cognizant of trying to get a W against his name, because अगर आप एक मैच भी हार गए, अगर आप bilateral series हार गए, तो
Short ball.
आपका
Short.
आपके नाम के अगेंस्ट लिख दिया जाएगा कि यू आर अ पुअर कैप्टन, रिगार्डलेस ऑफ थिंकिंग दैट वेदर इट वाज द फर्स्ट स्क्वाड और नॉट, वेदर यू आर एक्सपेरिमेंटिंग और डिड द रिजल्ट हैपन बिकॉज यू आर ट्राइंग टू थिंक लॉन्ग टर्म. तो ये सब कुछ भी नहीं था. अगेन अ गुड एग्जांपल ऑफ दिस इज KL Rahul as a captain in that ODI series versus Zimbabwe in 2022. That third game where Sikandar Raza scored 100. Everyone was after KL Rahul, the captain. But what can KL Rahul do if Avesh Khan and Deepak Chahar are bowling absolute trash to Sikandar Raza and getting smacked all around the park? So a lot of things are interrelated, and it again goes back to the point. The players will say that they are not concerned about the outside noise, but nobody lives in a vacuum. Everyone's concerned about it. Everyone gets to read the papers. Everyone gets to read the social media. So it is a तो वो पूरा जो इकोसिस्टम है वो सिर्फ एक शॉर्ट साइटेडनेस पे चलता है. If you want to win a test series, you will prepare such pitches ki your spinners can just win you games, etc., etc. So the entire thing, whether they are fans, administrator, or players, everything works on that short term basis or short term
But
goal.
this is a conversation we'd had even during the MNL, where I personally felt tests me in that format, having pitches suited to the home side makes sense. Home advantage makes sense, because that is the only way where teams get to play all these different in all these different conditions. But when it comes to global tournament, trying to sort of rig the surfaces, okay, rig might seem a bit too extreme, but trying to sort of ensure that the surface plays a certain way, and all of that, that's where I probably draw the line. But before I forget, I just wanted to sort of circle back to that captaincy bit that we were talking about, because again, I do agree the jury is still out on whether Sky is a good captain. We have to wait. It is too small a sample size, although personally it hasn't sort of started off on the right note today, but I'll still reserve my comments. But even then, in a full strength 11, after Hardik Pandya, don't you think KL, Shreyas, they would probably be higher in the pecking order when it comes to captaincy options? Nikhil bhai, you could probably start with that.
But I think the call has been made very, very early, right? In terms of Hardik being the one, because all of
After
Virat.
Hardik isn't available, then who else?
Yeah, but then
I
see, it depends on their plan first, because Virat, Rohit, KL, they've not played post Jadeja, Shami, they haven't played post the T20 World Cup in this format. So वो खेले नहीं है, तो are they going to be part of the plan? If yes, then maybe there is a chance of them coming back and being captain. And you are anyways not going to play a lot of T20s. So I don't think they'll go too far away from these two. And again, even if they do, at this point of time, all I'm looking at is not results, but a lot of process. Okay, what are you trying to get? What is the new thing that you're trying in every series, and are you able to execute it? क्योंकि मेरे को एग्जीक्यूशन से भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम। मेरे को सिर्फ ट्राई पे इज माई फोकस के क्या आप अलग कुछ ट्राई कर रहे हो, कि अगर आपको पता चल रहा है कि ये चीज ऐसी नहीं चल रही। क्योंकि अब तक सो फार इन दिस डे मुकेश इज प्रॉब्ली द ओनली वन बॉलर हुज गिवन मी एनी काइंड ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस in terms of his lines and lengths as compared to everybody else who's bowled. Bapu has been good but not consistent. Bishnu was too quick and then lost his line. Arshdeep has been okay so far. Abhi has still has to close, but okay मतलब run तो फिर भी पड़ ही गए सबको. But again, these are the things that I'll keep looking at कि भाई क्या हो रहा है, and I want them to bowl second. कि अगर आपकी बोल फर्स्ट में ये हालत है, यू हैव टू कीप बोलिंग सेकंड टू नो कि आप क्या करोगे अगर ड्यू आती है तो ऐसा तो नहीं है कि यूएस में आप खेलोगे तो ड्यू आएगी कि नहीं आएगी हमें नहीं पता, बट इफ कंडीशंस आर नॉट इजी, if you're able to bowl well, it'll give you also confidence, right? As a bowling unit, we have
6.
things that can do, and that's a good 6.
I'll just say that
That 200.
with regards to Arshdeep, he's been too predictable. He's tried to attack that wide line. It's
Yeah.
given 3 wides. So at some point of time, you have to be open to the idea of trying to come around the wicket, and maybe then try and close out the options for the batter, because right now the batter knows everyone, the umpire knows, everyone knows, probably every single person in the stadium knows ki the line of the ball is going to be wide outside off stump, right? So you cannot be so predictable. Everyone knows ki kya aane wala hai. So there is that. And you were talking about Shreyas. I don't know how Shreyas even comes into the conversation, because under two different managements in absolutely 180-degree conditions, he's been left out of the World T20 squad. So how does he come into the picture as a captain when he's not even making the squad is a different question altogether.
Yeah, I think for that I had that thought when this thought came to my mind कि maybe, and something that I mentioned in the group as well, कि maybe his uh, ability to play spin is rated far too highly for him to be ignored now. Maybe that's what they have come to a conclusion कि भाई अगर कैप्टन वाइस कैप्टन नहीं, बट क्योंकि at this point of time you see the middle order is very dicey. You don't have a lot of people who've played a lot of T20s also. Forget for just IPL भी बहुत कम खेले हैं in terms of a couple of seasons. So you want somebody who's played a lot of this format and a lot in the middle overs. So अगर third, I think he's coming from the third T20, right? So
Yeah.
Fourth.
तब से third or fourth. So
After that.
last two I'm sure he's going to play. So let's see where he plays and what is his role in that aspect.
No, fair enough, because one thing with Shreyas Iyer is, although he's considered to be, at least that's the role given to him, that he, to hit spin and all of that. I remember last IPL where in the first 8 games he got out a spin in each of them. Spin ko hi out hua tha, and people had sort of,
And
then
it was also to leg spin.
He
Yeah,
got out
like
to wrist spin, not finger
Ah,
spin.
yeah, leg
He
spin
had
in particular, and
six-
all of it.
six
Yeah,
mistakes.
the point being, all of it was when he was trying to hit them. It's not like he was
Yeah.
sort of being fooled
Correct.
by it, but people just started online. People were like, "हाँ भाई, इसको spin खेलना नहीं आता." Just one look at the kind of shots he was playing, he's comfortable against it, but he's getting out of it. तो ठीक है भाई, 7 बार out हो चुका है ये 8 गेम में, तो मतलब इसको spin खेलना नहीं आता. Cut to year later, the same people are like, "अरे, he's the spin hitter in our side. He needs to do this." भाई,
वो तो है
थोड़ा
यार, हाइंडसाइट तो भाई क्या ही कर सकते हैं उसका.
But yeah, Neural Hacks with Vasant had a question to ask, and I missed it earlier. This was an interesting question that I also had an opinion on. He went on to say, for those who are saying KL is not that kind of a T20 batsman, it's Punjab Kings that made him play like this. But for the panel, I have a doubt. Can KL push to play aggressively with Padikkal for a long innings at LSG? This is his question. Just 2 cents of mine. Anil Kumble has gone on record saying कि बॉस हमने तो उसको फुल फ्रीडम दे रखा था, हमने उसको बोला था कि जा बिंदास खेल, तो आउट हो भी गया तो चलेगा. You have to play aggressive. I mean, not play aggressively, just play a natural game.
Oh, well done.
We need intent. ये सब हम कुछ फोर्स नहीं करेंगे तुम पे कि तुम्हें पूरा 20 ओवर खेलना है. Anil Kumble has gone on record saying this. This was just my 2 cents. Gurkirat, yeah, you can start with it.
This deserves a 2-hour episode in itself. See, there is, you can understand why KL would sort of go for that approach, but the problem is that even while going for that approach, he was not able to sometimes close games with the bat. So then the problem amplifies even more. I just feel that what transpired or what happened with KL in that regard is that he could never really figure out or nail the exact pace that he wanted to bat for Punjab or even for LSG. I feel, especially with the way the resources that LSG have right now, or even with the Indian team, it's something that I said for Samson. I feel that KL's uh, best position in T20s, which truly unlock his potential, could now be the number 4 or the number 5 position. Because if, say, he comes at around the 12th over mark with the side being 100 for 2, he doesn't have to really think ki bhai, I have to build the innings. Then the onus and the focus is straight, that from 100 for 2 at the end of 12 over mark, I have to make sure that the team gets to 190 or 200 on a good batting deck. On a different batting deck, again, he also has the skills ki, okay, I can play square of the wicket to spin, I can use my feet, I can play the sweep. So I can do that, because I feel if he's going to open, he's going to again take too much of the load of finishing the innings and everything on himself. And he doesn't really need to do that, because in T20s that is also not the optimal way of batting. Because more often than not, especially on some pitches, you will just end up thinking that could I have gotten more. So let someone else use the power play, let someone else take full advantage of it. If you lose too early in the power play, then anyway you have no other option but to arrest the collapse and anchor, right? That then you are also justified in doing so. But sometimes when you have all 9 or 10 wickets in hand and you're looking to anchor, then it also doesn't really always is justified, given how the pitch changes everything. So I feel him batting at 4 or 5 is the best way going forward in T20s for him.
Interesting. And Nikhil, what do you make of that? Because another thing, I don't remember if I read it somewhere or if I heard about it from someone about how KL Rahul sort of going into that rut and playing the kind of game that he did, 600 runs at 120 strike rate regularly, had a lot to do with the fact that he wasn't getting a consistent shot at the Indian side, in terms of his spot not being secure enough, and he felt that this was the short way of being able to do that. We consistently accumulated runs, he would be guaranteed a spot, and that's why he just stuck to it. Like, do you agree with that theory, or do you think it just primarily had to do with his mindset?
No, it definitely played a part. You can't say it didn't play a part. But then my point is, it's a fault of the management. Then if they are not able to convince a guy like KL Rahul, okay, bhai, this is what you have to do and this is what we're expecting from you. So again, we can maybe कंटिन्यू दैट चैट इन द सेकंड इनिंग्स, क्योंकि 2 बॉल बाकी है। तो केएल राहुल एक ऐसा टॉपिक है ना जहाँ पे यू विल नॉट एंड एंड द ओपिनियंस विल कीप फ्लोइंग फ्रॉम बोथ एंड्स, क्योंकि माय ओनली बिट ऑन हिम इज हूएवर जिसका भी वो बात सुनता है, दैट पर्सन जस्ट नीड्स टू टेल हिम के डोंट वरी, don't worry about anything, about your India spot, about being taking the responsibility कि भाई मैं नहीं करेगा ना तो कोई नहीं करेगा, भूल जाओ. Just be honest and true to yourself and your skills, and I hope that will break open KL Rahul, because I feel he's far too good to keep missing out and playing the knocks like that he does. And it's not that he doesn't have the skill, it's just the case of deciding very early कि ऐसे ही खेलूंगा. वो मेरे हिसाब से नहीं होना चाहिए. If you are gifted, you are talented, you have to make use of it. So whoever you want to get him to talk to for that, whether it is Gambhir or Sanjay Bangar or Kumble or Dhoni or जो भी, whoever is there on earth who can go and tell to him के just play freely, don't worry, because हमने IPL में ही देख लिया उसको. It's not that we haven't seen of this version, and we see this version of him even when he's accelerating in towards the end in a T20 or an ODI. तो ऐसा नहीं कि skills नहीं है, skills are always there. It's just about when can he trust himself to be able to batting that way all the time. So hopefully that is the case. And देखो इतने बाजू से भी स्टंप मिस कर दिया, just sums up India's bowling effort के ठीक है, 208 is still 20 less than what they could have gone for. So well done.
100% that. And
Overall,
go
overall,
ahead.
very good spell by Mukesh. Matlab,
Yeah.
probably the only one
Yeah.
who you felt like was bowling to a plan. But I would still like him to sometimes use the bouncer in the death or something, because at this point of time he's far too reliant on the Yorker. The day though that Yorker works, you get good bowling performances, but then Yorker is such a confidence oriented delivery that you start missing one, then you keep on missing all those Yorkers. So just hope he develops in time to have some other weapons as well.
100%. To be honest, with Mukesh Kumar, the one thing that I really liked of him is his ability to those. I mean, what is? अरे भाई साहब, विकास भाई ऐसे अचानक से प्रकट हुए, हम थोड़ा हैरान हो गए. Is his ability to bowl those Yorkers consistently? One over that comes to my mind is the one that he bowled to Andy Russell. He went for three sixes,
Yeah.
but he was able to nail those Yorkers three balls in an over, and that's no mean feat.
Yeah.
We've seen way too often that how bowlers sort of get it wrong horribly, and yeah, Mukesh Kumar definitely has a good Yorker, but I do agree with Gurkirat packaging that over. That's also equally important. You can't be a one-trick pony and just have that Yorker and keep backing on it time and again. You need to be able to understand what the conditions demand and sort of adapt to it as and when. But before I forget, once again, the innings is done, of course. But we've, of course, also got a note for you. More than a dozen watch-alongs coming up in the next couple of weeks. India is playing Australia, then India go to South Africa to play South Africa. Of course, why else would they go to South Africa? The England women's team is, of course, touring India. They'll be playing three T20Is. There's also the WPL auction that we're planning a watch-along for. Then there's the IPL auction that we're planning a watch-along for. So a lot of live content coming your way, a lot of watch-along content coming your way. So please make sure you've hit the subscribe button. Make sure you've also liked the stream if you haven't already. On an average, we've had 50 viewers watching at any point in time, which is great to watch. So make sure you also get that 50 up to 100. And the only way that's possible is if we get more likes. So please do make sure you're doing that. Now coming back to this bowling performance, India bowled just five bowlers, 4 overs each. Pretty much all of them, went for runs, barring Mukesh and Akshar, of course. How would you rate this bowling performance? First game after the World Cup, but hardly any of them were a part of the World Cup. So how much of it can I mean, how big an excuse can that be? Gurkirat, let's start with you there.
No, the only excuse can be probably that they are rusty, but that is something that maybe you can say for Prasid, but not others, because they were playing Saeed Mushtaq Ali. And this bowling performance looked less a case of bowlers being rusty, but them being predictable and being out of plans, to be very honest. So yeah, not much home to write about. uh, we said that Bishnoi was predictable, Arshdeep in the last 2 overs was predictable. Akshar, you felt that whenever he bowled slower, got some purchase, but in between there was just some randomness of him trying to cram the batters for room, or providing that extra pace. Could have avoided that, should have got Smith out. But should have got Smith out is probably something you can say for all the five bowlers in the lineup today. But that's about it. And yeah, you'd be disappointed with Prasid's control. And Mukesh so far is the silver lining, but I've already said, what I had to say about him. So yeah, let's just see how India bat from here.
Fair enough. Nikhil bhai, India's bowling performance, Australia's batting as well. What do you make of the first innings so far?
Smith tried to help India not feel rusty, but and credit to him, he did his fair part. क्योंकि at this point of time it feels कि अगर और कोई आता तो शायद पता नहीं ज़्यादा मार लेता, but because he was there at the other end, English was able to keep playing shots, and again, you didn't feel like English had to take any risk, and that is something that I hope the management will look at. के how many times did English had to take a risk to score the big shot? So that is something that I hope they look at. क्योंकि that Prasidh Krishna over, everything is wide. Bishno is bowling one shot and very flat down the leg side. So when you know that these things are coming and they're happening, you know you don't have to take too much risk. And uske baad bhi he was still very happy to give himself room and hit over a cover. Now that to him is not a risk. जिन जिन लोगों ने इंग्लिश को बैटिंग करते देखा है, we all know that he loves to go over extra cover. So that is an area of strength for him. So I think that he was able to pick Bishnoi is something that he'll take confidence from, and Bishnoi will probably look to note कि भाई एक और दिन जहाँ पे मैं फुल डाला तो आई वाज हिट. Very keen to see if Australia are using match shot to bowl a lot of spin from around the wicket to the Indian batters, क्योंकि जैसा स्कोर है ना, शॉट कुड इजीली एंड अप विद अ 3-4 और 4-4, क्योंकि बाकी सबको आप निकाल के खेलने के जाओगे और शॉट आएगा, आपको लगेगा रन मारना है, बट अगर पहले इनिंग जैसा होल्ड कर रहा है सरफेस में, तो it might get tricky. And again, the scoreboard pressure does different things. So there is the first challenge, any which ways, of Jason Behrendorff to the two batters. But from the bowling front, I'll just see how the second innings goes to pass a comment, but not inspiring is what I'll say. In terms of जैसे मुकेश का, you can still feel कि अगर उसको रन पड़ी तो ठीक है, उसने ट्राई करा, he executed what he knows best, and he tried a few things as well. ऐसा यॉर्कर भी शुरू में ही ट्राई कर लिया, to English also, to Smith also, but for the others not so much. So let's see how this pans out.
I mean, both of you had predicted what Australia to sort of get in the 180s, early 180s, hopefully for it to be a competitive match. They've, done a good job of getting an above par total of 208, so it won't be easy.
Yeah.
But like Harun Iqbal, who said, he's looking forward to watching Rutraj Gaikwad, a lot of us are. This is a fairly second string 11 not by skill or potential, but by just the fact that we have first 11 options over them. Or else Rutraj Gaikwad would make most first 11s across countries, if not, all. Gurkirat, looking forward to Gurkirat and Ruturaj.
मैं जा रहा हूँ. I'm just going to leave and put my pads on.
Exactly. यहीं से निकल के क्या दिल्ली से विशाखापट्टनम तो बगल में ही है, बस कर लेंगे. But yeah, are you looking forward to Ruturaj and Yashasvi? That's another opening combination that what they've only played the three the three T20s in Ireland, or were they together even in the West Indies series?
I think they were together in Asia Cup.
Asia Cup? Acha, Asian Games.
Asian Games, yeah.
Yeah,
West Indies, I don't think Ruturaj was opening with. It was
Yeah,
Shubman Gill.
that's what. So Ireland and
Asian Games.
Asian Games. So those are the 7-8 games that they've played together.
एक तो what I don't make sense of or like when people talk about Gaikwad is not done much in internationals. भाई 10 तो इंटरनेशनल मैच नहीं खेले, उसमें क्या, और वो भी कब आए हैं मैचेस. लाइक he's had like he's played 3 ODIs and not 3 of them have been back to back. They've been in 3 different series. So it doesn't make sense that whole debate about him not doing well. And then there was criticism of his innings. I think it was 23 ball 24 versus Nepal, I think, in the Asian Games. So I did not watch that game because of the timings, so I don't know. But I just think, I feel he's too good a batter to not eventually succeed at the international level, and not being good enough in internationals. I don't buy that criticism just now. Career hi kitna hua hai? I don't think he's played 10 games also. So let's just wait and see how it goes.
Interesting. And what do you think, like Nikhil bhai, what according to you is the best order today? Because we've got a lot of options. We're not really sure who's going to play where. Tilak Verma ideally should bat at number 3, Sky at number 4, but Ishan at number 5. You agree with that? Then they've of course got Dubey, Rinku Singh playing as well. So how do you see this sort of batting lineup pan out? दुबे नहीं है. अच्छा, मुझे लगा आज लेफ्ट हैंडर से भर दिया तो दुबे भी है. Akshar is the left hander. Sorry. I stand. Akshar is the left hander. I had to mention. So there's also Akshar as well. What do you think is going to be the top 7, top 8 today?
Yeah, I think the top 3, I feel, should be Jaiswal, Gaikwad and Sky. I don't see a reason to push Kishan to either top or at 3. तो जो भी रूम आपको जो भी कुछ करना है 4-5 पे ही करना है. 4-5 में भी मेरे हिसाब से विकल्प होना नहीं चाहिए था, बट ठीक है, देयर इज नो हार्दिक, तो इट मींस इट ओपन्स अप अ स्पॉट फॉर यू टू ट्राई. और अगर वहां पे श्रेयस भी आगे आने वाला है, तो आई एम वेरी कीन टू सी हाउ दे फिक्स अप द पॉइंट, क्योंकि आई डोंट वांट टू have the team management then look completely stupid by saying okay, we have 2 bowling options in Tilak Verma and Jaiswal, and then eventually you will not play one of them and then not try them till you won the series. So again, the point about me wanting those players in is, I feel India at times are way too scared to experiment when things are on the line. But the point is, if you don't do it when things are on the line, you are not actually testing the batters or the batters who are going to be the part-time options for you. Because they know the series is done. So जो pressure है वो it's off the team. So you have to be that brave, which is something that you saw when certain coach now was the captain then, being able to push people out of their comfort zone. And again, I agree to the point के it doesn't have to be random कि भाई एक दिन एक नंबर 3 पे आया, कि लखनऊ में जैसा होता था फर्स्ट सीजन में कि भाई एक दिन दीपक हुड्डा आ रहा है, एक दिन आयुष बदोनी आ रहा है. Sorry.
Second was also the same. They had some five or
हाँ.
six batters bat
Yeah,
at number three.
Batting. So
they did.
that again, मतलब इतना रैंडम भी नहीं चाहिए, बट यू हैव टू ट्राई थिंग्स आउट एंड लर्न फ्रॉम देम. तो इसके लिए गायकवाड़, ईशान, स्काई, ईशान बोल रहा, सॉरी, गायकवाड़, जायसवाल, स्काई. उसके बाद आपको तिलक भेजना है तो आप तिलक भेजो, किशन भेजना है तो किशन भेजो. द ओनली प्रॉब्लम देन व्हाट आई हैव, व्हिच इज व्हाई आई सेड द पॉइंट अबाउट शॉट, इज यू हैव अ प्लेथोरा ऑफ लेफ्टीज, कम से कम 3. So there is no way to break them at all. Break them also.
Such an un-India like problem, right? Like I don't think we've ever faced this problem. Ki we have too
I
many lefties.
I just feel eventually Sky will take up the number 4 spot, because say even if Shreyas comes in, you'd rather have Shreyas bat at 3 and Sky at 4 rather than Sky at 3 and Shreyas at 4, because you feel that Sky is probably more skilled to bat different situations at number 4. My reading is that maybe Kishan could now come at number 3 today, because what is also there to be considered is that when Gill comes back, do they ignore him completely from the T20 setup? I'm not sure, because he was really the first preference ahead of Ruturaj. So if you also want Ruturaj, you also want Gill, then one
नहीं
of
तो
your openers.
it won't be Ruturaj and Gill both. It will be one of Ruturaj and Gill.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, if it is that, then probably I see at least one opener batting at 3. And if the choice is, between, I personally wouldn't have had Kishan in the 11. But if he's there, I feel, okay, you try him and see how it goes. So there's that. There's actually no absolutely correct way to go about this right now, given you've rested a few
Short,
players, you're not short.
short.
Okay, I'll just
First
take
ball
a
boundary
break
for
and I'll
Jaiswal.
come back.
Yeah, no worries. Nikhil bhai, again, before we get into the first innings, and clearly Ruturaj Gaikwad played a fantastic cover drive flick.
Yeah,
क्या था वो?
cover drive. Cover
Cover
thumb.
drive.
If that's something that you can say, but yeah, ठीक है, drive बोल सकते हैं.
तो मतलब सीधा कवर ड्राइव ऐसे ही तुक्का लगा, बताओ. ओ इट्स जायसवाल. मैं तो बैट्समैन गलत बोला, शॉट करेक्ट बोला. Nicely done. But there was this question by Ankur Biswas. He said, where are players like Nitish Rana, Abhishek Sharma, also no Dubey in the 11? वो खेल रहे हैं भाई विजय हजारे ट्रॉफी. Like I don't think what more did he want? But do you think someone like Nitish Rana, Abhishek Sharma, like do you think these names should have been a part of the conversation at least, if not the 11 itself?
देखो T20 में ना इंडिया विल हैव ऑलवेज हैव अ लॉट ऑफ ऑप्शंस. माय ओनली, जैसे मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले भी बोला, आई एम वेरी जस्ट कीन टू सी कि क्या रोल दे गिव देम, बिकॉज at this point of time, do you need Kishan to be a backup opener? I don't know, because you have done lots of experiment where it's एक second भाई जायसवाल ने पहला ही बॉल पुल करा है, second ball and that's a 6, good shot, shabash.
Oh,
That's the kind of
nice.
intent we need. So 10 of 3, which is good. So coming back to that point, I think it's about time they really take it very, 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 very seriously in terms of not trying to mix formats. के 2 फॉर्मेट है ना, 3 फॉर्मेट आपके पास, 2 वाइट बॉल वाले, प्लीज कीप प्लेयर्स सेपरेट. जस्ट बी वेरी वेरी श्योर कि ये अगर मेरा बैकअप ओपनर है फॉर दिस फॉर्मेट, वो यहाँ पे रहेगा, ये मेरा बैकअप ओपनर है, एंड देयर इज नो नीड टू मिक्स देम इनटू से कि यहाँ पे चल रहा है तो यहाँ पे भी चले. और अगर वो कॉल लेना है तो अभी ले लो, कि अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि केएल राहुल आपके लिए वनडे में नंबर 5 पे बहुत बढ़िया खेल रहा है, तो यहाँ पे यू डोंट माइंड हिम देयर, so then take a call on Shreyas as soon as you can with Ishan Kishan also, क्योंकि then where is the spot there? क्योंकि जैसा हम देखा कि या तो आप ऐसा बोलो कि चलो ईशान किशन ना मेरा जायसवाल का बैकअप है, तो अब आप एक स्क्वाड में तो 15 रख पाओगे. So that is also something that you have to take care of, कि you can't potentially, yes, you can have replacement for every player, but you just have to be very sure and not change the rules too often, because then my only now worry is maybe I'm playing too much to the conditions in Caribbean, but I don't see them being very good to hit through the line and all of that. तो आपको पावर गेम भी लगेगा और आपको अच्छे स्किल्स भी लगेगी. तो मेरे हिसाब से तो you have to stick with 2 people and give them a long rope and only change if it's necessary.
100%, and that's pretty much been the hallmark of good sides, good teams, good think tanks, giving a long rope, understand what the player needs, giving them that role clarity. So let's hope that is the case with these players as well, because for me personally, Yashasvi Jaiswal sort of seems like the next all format player that's going to come from the next generation, along with Shubman Gill, of course. But Jaiswal, again, there's something about left-handers, man. Like you always root for them, and also as someone who supports Team India and the IPL team that I do support, not a lot of left-handers in both of them. So it's always good to see left-handers up and coming. Yeah, Nikhil has already given his thumbs up. यहाँ पे तो बॉल भी नहीं हुआ है, so I'm just going to assume कि हाँ ठीक है.
नहीं, the thumbs up was Jaiswal waited for a short ball and still was able to place it well behind square. तो अच्छा खेला.
That's nice. That's good. But yeah, speaking of the game itself and what it sort of holds, in terms of the players, what is at stake for them. There is an IPL auction that's happening in less than a month from now. Josh Inglis.
1 second.
Okay. Oh my God, that's a wicket. That is a wicket.
अरे भाई साहब.
Ruturaj Gaikwad has gone without facing a ball. Sorry, Haroon. Sorry, Nikhil. Sorry, Gurkiraj. Unfortunately for Ruturaj, that is a massive opportunity squandered. That is a horrible run out, Akhil. And yeah, Greg, we do agree with you there as well. This is just brain dead running. Just what just happened there? Like, oh my goodness. That's absolute haraki there in the middle, and Ruturaj Gaikwad, unfortunately, the person to miss out on right now. Stoin is having a hell of a laugh there. Oh my goodness, he's just laughing his heart out. It's almost like he's laughing in Jaiswal's face. And they've sent in Ishan Kishan at number 3. Nikhil bhai, do you think this was more a tactical move because there was an early wicket falling, or do you think this is what they thought of? Like this was a part of their game plan? Like, how do you sort of look at this? And before you answer, Vasant, Gurkiraj is just gone off for a loo break. He'll be back in a couple of minutes. Don't worry.
See, he knew कि run out होने वाला है, इसके लिए वो पहले ही चला गया. So
exactly.
Very smart of Paji, but
yeah, Ishan Kishan coming in. Do you think it was more a situational call that they've taken because it was an early wicket falling to power play here? It'll be more suited to his role and his skills.
Fair, but I'm going to look at his strike rate. मेरे को power play है, but strike rate अगर 120 130 है तो फिर this is not going to make any difference if he keeps going at that rate. But
strike rate that I feel even more interesting would be his non-boundary strike rate, because that's another big issue with him.
मतलब
rotate strike. मतलब हो भी सकता है कि 4-5 बाउंड्री मार दे, फिर 10-15 डॉट खेल लेगा, 140 के साथ आगे बढ़ जाएंगे. That's something I really hope he improves on, because that's been a huge concern with him. Something that he's also been working on, but let's hope that actually happens to be the case in terms of improvements. But yeah, coming back to the question that I wanted to ask before that absolute standpipe offer run out, Josh Inglis, the auction's coming up, 10 से 15 crore guaranteed. Century मार दिया भाई साहब ने against India. In India.
नहीं यार, I'm still not over that मेरे पास वो शब्द है हिंदी में जो वॉचलॉन्ग पे मैं नहीं बोल सकता. It is beyond my understanding in terms of, it just sums up India so far. Let's put it that way, कि it's a innocuous ball, innocuous event. सिंगल ले लिया है दोनों अपने एंड में. किधर, why can there just not be very clear communication? Maybe they are just reflecting off the board, but still, no worst place to do that.
Yeah, and also has to do with the fact that both of them, I would imagine, haven't batted enough together, so it'll take some time. So yeah, but yeah, that was absolutely horrific, so to say.
Yeah. And English वाला ये है, मतलब देखो, जैसे मैंने पहले बोला, शॉपिंग करने एक ही टीम आती है आईपीएल में, तो वो टीम वापस शॉपिंग करेगी, दोनों को सही से यूज नहीं करेगी, छोड़ देगी, फिर मुंबई पकड़ लेगा, अच्छे से यूज करेगा और फिर वापस मार्केट में 4 साल के बाद डाल देगा.
बट एक और चीज है चुचांद भाई, जस्ट टू बी क्लियर, आरसीबी के पास सिर्फ 2 करोड़ है और 5 करोड़ और मिलने वाला है, सिर्फ 7 ही करोड़ है. तो एक्सपेक्ट आरसीबी टू बी लाइक लास्ट ईयर. इफ यू रिमेंबर लास्ट ईयर्स ऑक्शन, आरसीबी वाज बिडिंग फॉर एवरी प्लेयर. सैम करन से लेके बेन स्टोक्स तक सबके लिए 7 करोड़ तक बिड किया, देन रेस्पेक्टफुली बोर्ड आउट. It was so funny to see. I was like, wait, why are they bidding for Sam Curran? Then I'm like, of course they know he's going to.
जब तक कोई, till the time you're not stuck with somebody, it's fine.
when
But
you speak, I mean, when you
yaar, we are just showing the run out again, and it feels
and with each viewing, it just sort of looks even more stupid, even more silly. Yeah, but one of those days is one of those days. Let's hope
yeah.
you know.
I just hope Jaiswal is able to score a ton just to have the last laugh. But let's wait on that.
Always, fingers crossed. I mean, I genuinely hope they at least score 200, man. I really want. I hope this isn't a one-sided affair. That'll be the last thing I want. 200 playing 100 is just no. Even if it isn't in my favor, I hope it goes down to the wire. Oh, look at Stoinis, man.
तभी तो
Jeez,
मैं बोला तभी तो मैं बोला
demerit
कि
point मिल रहा है?
क्या नहीं व्हाट इज
नहीं
हिज फॉल्ट देयर
हंस रहा है। भाई मुंह पे हंस रहा है। It's almost
हाँ
like
बट हंस ही रहा है ना इट्स नॉट आई मीन यू कांट अभी रबड़ा होता तो डेफिनेटली 2 मिनट 3 मिनट पॉइंट देते थे बोलते थे कि तू इंडिया वाला सीरीज मत खेल रबड़ा तो अलग ही खुन्ना इफ यू वांट टू यूज दैट वर्ड वो है उनके साथ
no, I genuinely feel this could probably. I mean, if not a demerit point, he would probably given a warning at least because this seemed
नहीं यार
एकदम मतलब
ठीक
मुंह
है
पे
मतलब
हाँ देखते हैं
पीपल हैव सोन एंड गॉटन अवे ये तो खाली हंस रहा है यार मतलब एंड
वो
अगेन
है।
ऐसे टाइम पे तो कोई भी हंसता ओ
अभी
मर
आप
गया
आर्गुमेंट में ऐसा गाली घुसेड़ोगे तो हम क्या बोले मतलब
लॉजिक लॉजिक आर्गुमेंट में लॉजिक घुसड़ेगा तो हाँ गाली नहीं
fair. That's also a good point. Rudraj Gaikwad clearly having a cup of coffee that won't sound any, I mean not sound that won't taste
I
any
don't
more.
know. Maybe I'm too early there, but in a short span, I felt, पता नहीं, it could be completely off the mark. मेरे को लगता है he's gotten around very often for someone
Oh,
like
just
him. But ठीक है, देखते हैं. Oh no, भाई वापस गया. Almost played out the entire over, showing why
like
he's
Shan Kishan and
tricky to
that
play
lack
up
of
top. But ठीक है.
movement. Matlab Nikhil bhai, like I know we've already spoken about this. You must have spoken about this way too many times. Just feeling for it. मतलब कुछ नहीं. Just हाथ ऐसा सहलाते हुए. मतलब what's he trying to do? What is he trying to play there? And I haven't even gotten to the next ball that you reacted to. Let me react. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Again. पैर बॉल के पास तो बिल्कुल नहीं जा रहा कहीं और ही जा रहा है बैट कहीं और जा रहा है हाथ कहीं और
It's
जा रहा है
just looking to play with the hands. तो ठीक है, maybe he'll get a few एक दो अच्छा कवर ड्राइव या पंच लग जाएगा तो शायद सिंक में रहेंगे सब बाकी क्या
when
बोलूं
it comes off, it looks really good. Similar to Rishabh Pant.
हाँ
जब वो
and
connect होता है तो लगता है भाई
as I said it is short early on to two lefties भाई बस
yeah,
कोई ड्रैग ऑन मत करो जगह से जोर से मारने मत जाओ वो डालेगा वाइड उसको मारना बस दैट्स ऑल दैट आई वांट टू से कुछ
100%.
नहीं तो
And
क्लिप बन जाएगा और कुछ नहीं
of course. Let's see what shot has to offer right now. Meanwhile, Vasant had asked us, about Pant's injury and any
फर्स्ट बॉल
update on
4
that.
सॉरी no
कुछ
I think he was going to play but I'm not sure of the exact status के कब खेलेगा क्या है क्या नहीं
the last I heard was he was a part of Delhi's trials and all of that
हाँ
they were
yeah
conducting.
yeah yeah
So they are
yeah
realistically looking at him playing for them in the 2024 season, which is just great news. Let's hope he really comes back. Gurkirat of all people would be short, short, just one short alert.
हाँ सेकंड बॉल टॉप एज 6 तो तो जो ये जो रिएक्शन है वो पहले वाले शॉट के लिए फॉर पीपल अभी वो टॉप एज देखेगा फिर वो ओ करेगा ठीक है
अच्छा हाँ मैं शॉर्ट alert के टॉप 6 के लिए तो नहीं भूलूंगा भाई मतलब माना कि हूँ गधा इतना बड़ा भी नहीं हूँ. Variant of is playing for retention says Akhil Naya. Interesting. अरे कनेक्ट नहीं हुआ ठीक है छक्का गया ये. Jeez, what are these modern bats made of? How did that end up in a six? क्या बोले भाई? But Berendorf being retained by Mumbai, do you think that's happening?
लो भाई गया आउट जगह से मारने का ट्राई करा जायसवाल आउट
आप
टू
ऐसा
नेट शॉट
स्पॉइलर देता आपके साथ कभी मूवी देखने तो नहीं जा रहा इतना तो समझ आ रहा है अपने को निखिल भाई.
मूवी नहीं है यार दिस इज जस्ट समथिंग दैट आई कॉल्ड ऑलमोस्ट 20 मिनट पहले 5 मिनट पहले के
या विकास क्लिप बना ले YouTube शॉर्ट्स में जाएगा इंस्टा रील्स पे नहीं YouTube शॉर्ट में जाएगा. ओह शिट दैट्स क्या यार क्लियर तो कर देता भाई. गंदा 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 गंदा. Vasant
see
says
that
by
is
hindsight.
see that is what I feel very weirdly about the side is the entire setup is very predictable.
True.
You can call that this is what they will rely on. This is what they'll go after. This is the shot they'll go after. वो unpredictability आ ही नहीं रही है. And it's not about unpredictability in terms of what will you attempt, but the things are such के execution, choice of shot, ये सब फिर गेम में आ जाता है. पर ठीक है, इसमें तो I wouldn't blame him for going for that shot, but वही है यार, when it doesn't come off, it does look, I mean, I don't know, whichever word we want to add there.
100%. I mean, kya kare abhi? Like Chachan said, I do agree. India just for some reason part timers love Indian batters. बार wicket लेते रहते हैं हम लोग. We like, you know, making Moeen look like Murli, making, I don't know, the most random bizarre bowlers look like Murli. But Vasan Naren, like, what did you make of that? I know it's hindsight thinking, but Jaiswal and Rohit, even then, like, I feel Gill deserved a World Cup spot ahead of Jaiswal, right? Even in ODIs.
अभी टाइम है यार, लेट्स वेट. मतलब पहले प्लान तो पता चले बाकी दो फॉर्मेट का क्या है, एंड देन जैसे सी आई एम वेरी कीन ऑन सेपरेट स्क्वाड्स. आई नो अ कपल ऑफ पीपल विल बी ओवरलैपिंग, बट नहीं इतना. यू नीड फ्रेश पीपल, फ्रेश माइंडसेट एंड फ्रेश आइडियाज टू बी वेरी वेरी प्रिसाइज. फ्रेश आइडियाज इन टर्म्स ऑफ ये हमको सी, जैसे वी सॉ दैट in the New Zealand game where India tried to go around the wicket. That was the first instance of India trying something new. और कब आया वो? मतलब नहीं उतना वेट कर सकते यार आप. मतलब you just can't keep going back to the same thing again and again. But ठीक है. Yeah, Uncle Biswas का comment is very good. Somesh will agree there.
Of course. And India promoted Jadeja up the order in the finals, was it? Or was it the semi-finals?
No, final, which is still fair again because...
Fair call, correct call.
हाँ, वो unpredictability नहीं है. It's about playing to the best matchup possible for both guys.
100%.
अब तुम्हारा नसीब इतना गंदा है कि जिसको तुमने भेजा उसके सामने रिवर्स स्विंग आ गया, तो you really can't do much there.
Yeah, because I'm guessing the idea was to delay Sky's entry point because that's what he prefers. If anything, they got that bang on. They got Sky's entry point also bang on. But yeah, that's always been the thing with Jadeja's, you know, batting abilities, especially in the white ball format. I know the conditions weren't in favor of batting, but still, Jadeja as a number 7 just वो white ball, I mean sorry, red ball format में उसको देके थोड़ा उस पे lower effect.
This is the time to get Avnish, but ठीक है.
मैं अभी I was going to bring Avnish's name up, but Avnish की माने तो भाई Jadeja is अपना Ben Stokes. He's better than Ben Stokes. He's better than every all-rounder out there. He's probably the best all-rounder in international cricket. क्या करे अभी वो तो जैसी जिसकी सोच, जैसे बड़े बागा कहते थे. Anyway, Gurkirat seems to be ready. I'll just add him. Okay, no, he says no. Cricket.com meanwhile says BBL देख लो VVS सर जी, उधर शॉर्ट बॉल नहीं, उधर शॉर्ट भाई ने पावर प्ले में बहुत विकेट्स लिए हैं ऑन फ्लैट विकेट्स. आई डू एग्री. मैथ्यू शॉर्ट इन टर्म्स ऑफ हिज bowling abilities, he is a lot like Glenn Maxwell. He is very street smart. He knows, you know, how he's not your average part timer. He's a lot more than that. He has those cricketing smarts, and so again, we shouldn't take him lightly. But Behrendorff के बारे में, you know, who was it? If I'm not wrong, it was Vasant. Yeah, Vasant. Oh no, it was Akhil Nair. Sorry, he asked us if Behrendorff is playing for retention, and if he's definitely gotten off to a great start. And he's continued his great start. I'm assuming based on that reaction.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nikhil bhai, Jason Behrendorff being retained. Do you think that's happening for Mumbai?
पता नहीं यार, it's way too early. क्योंकि अगर स्पेंसर जॉनसन को लेना है तो फिर जेसन बेरेंडॉर्फ को छोड़ना पड़े.
वाह, मतलब वाह. पूछा ये था कि छोड़ेंगे. Oh, ball!
Exactly what I said, right? I almost got it.
Of course, but bhai gazab.
Hoik, that is gone to the field. Okay, ठीक है. मतलब along the ground. But
हाँ, वैसे भी बोल दो भाई, ऐसा मतलब ओके बोल
तो
के.
अगर वो ऊपर रहता तो ज्यादा रिएक्ट करता ना, खाली ऐसा ठंडा रिएक्ट थोड़ी करता मैं.
पॉइंट. गरम करके ठंडा नहीं छोड़ता.
अरे ये प्लीज, मेरे पास सैंडविच आया खाने को, तो प्लीज लेट्स नॉट टॉक अबाउट एनीथिंग एल्स.
Okay, fair enough. But you think Spencer Johnson's going to Mumbai? Do you think Mumbai will place a bid for him?
Why not? So
Jofra's out.
They could release Yuan Johnson, na?
They're releasing Wayne Jansen. They're releasing Jordan. Or Jordan, they're releasing both. But wait, Jordan came in as Jofra's replacement, so I don't
हाँ,
think
but
Jordan was
एक
considered.
स्पॉट तो खुल ही जाएगा ना फिर भी, एक स्पॉट तो फिर भी खुल ही जाएगा आपके लिए,
So
तो
you're saying they
जगह
can
तो है।
hold on to both Behrendorff and Spencer?
No, they can release Behrendorff to get Spencer Johnson,
Hmm.
or they could go for Johnson.
Oh!
यार वानखेड़े पे है तो भाई सूट तो करेगा ही उसको वेन्यू यार,
Oh,
बाउंस भी मिलेगा
definitely,
उसको
man.
और ये भी रहेगा।
Umrah, Spencer, and क्या अपना Jofra. Never going to
अब
happen.
सब फिट एक साथ होने चाहिए, वो अलग क्राइटेरिया है, तो
There's
स्टार वहां
this,
पे डालना पड़ेगा।
there's this legendary tweet by my
हाँ,
former boss. By
आई नो,
matlab, I
आई
keep
नो।
going back to that tweet time and again. Matlab, like I've spoken to him on this personally during last IPL, and he was so confident कि नहीं होगा, ये नहीं चलने वाला. I like यार ऐसे तो मतलब see, I understand you're confident, but you never know. But so far he's sort of been proven right, and there's no reason why he won't
So
continue to
we
be right.
have finally have the Sky special in terms of lifting a back off length over fine leg.
आप
So
वी
well
हैव
done.
बोल के ये मत करो ना, वी हैव बोल के ये करो।
तो वी
ऐसे
हैव बोल के
कैसे?
विकेट में मैं क्यों बोलूंगा वी हैव अ विकेट और खुश रहेगा, थोड़ा तो यार मतलब
आप खुश भी नहीं हो रहे थे, आप बस वी हैव बोल के ऐसे थे,
तो
मेरे को लगा वी हैव
पूरा
अनदर
तो
विकेट।
बोलने दो। नो ट्रस्ट
ओके,
में अक्षय नहीं हूँ, देयर आर नॉट टू अक्षय टॉकिंग हियर।
ओ शॉट, ये तो छक्का है भाई, ये तो मतलब शॉट
तो
खत्म भी
मैं वी
नहीं।
हैव अ स्काई स्पेशल बोल रहा था, तो ठीक है अगली बार
करेक्ट,
से स्काई स्पेशल से शुरू करूंगा मैं।
हाँ एग्जैक्टली, स्टार्ट वैसे करो, एग्जैक्टली
ठीक है।
एग्जैक्टली। But yeah, Ankar Biswas, meanwhile, it says India not learning anything if they want to play the same way as earlier. 5 bowlers, pathetic feeling, no batting depth. बाप रे, कुछ ज्यादा ही harsh words. भाई मतलब 4 ही दिन हुआ है वर्ल्ड कप खत्म हुए, थोड़ा और टाइम दे दो. They also need to understand their options. VVS Lakshman again, he's also like this is new for him as well. It's not like he knows all these players and everything that's going on completely.
He
So give it
should
some time.
he should he's been there
Asian
with
Games,
the guys at NCA, and Ishan Kishan
Asian
has
Games में भी.
flicked it in the air, but no man's land. But yeah.
Oh, okay. But he was also with them for the Asian Games, so that's also there. True. Fair
Also the
enough.
Ireland tour, right? Most of them were there.
Island Tour also true. Island Tour also
Yeah.
it was him and Rishikesh Kanatkar, if I'm not wrong. A lot of those names. Spencer is more like a PBKS or an SI. Oh, shot, yeah, shabash. Flicked with disdain. But yeah, unfortunately doesn't go to the boundary. Yeah, more like a Punjab or SRH वाला. भाई SRH के पास दुनिया भर के नहीं, इंडिया भर के फास्ट बॉलर्स है.
Connects one तो 6 मिला, तो प्लीज रिएक्ट बाद में करना। चीयर्स।
ये है 6 का, ये है
अरे भाई
ये
इधर ये है तो मैं ऐसा कैसे करूं?
दोनों दिखा सकते हो, आराम से खा सकते हो, चिल स्ट्रीम है अपने लोगों को। गाइस डू लेट अस नो इन द कमेंट्स यू आर फाइन विद अस चिलिंग ईटिंग, राइट? बिकॉज़ वी आर आल्सो ह्यूमंस एट द एंड ऑफ द डे, हम सबको खाना है। आई कैन ऑलरेडी सी आवर प्रोड्यूसर साहब आल्सो नाइसली, आई एम नॉट श्योर व्हाट इज इट दैट ही इज ईटिंग, इफ ही कुड आल्सो लेट अस नो एंड शेयर सम ऑफ इट। खाली डब्बा दिखा रहे हैं, बताओ भाई, से हमें समझ आ जाएगा, काले डब्बे से हमें समझ आ रहा है कि क्या खाना है। सो या डू लेट अस नो इन द कमेंट्स यू आर फाइन राइट विद अस ईटिंग एंड चिलिंग आउट, बिकॉज़ I feel that's how it would be more comfortable for us and for you guys as well, without us having to go out and all of that. आराम से चिल करके बात करते हुए, it'll be a conversation with you guys. Make sure you're also voting in the poll. We just want to know, we want to get better idea in terms of what you guys like, and accordingly sort of do whatever is best possible by us to ensure that you have the best experience possible. And yeah, that's another hoik swivel pull, जो भी बोलना बोल सकते हो. But coming back to that IPL chat that we were having, SRH, कार्तिक त्यागी, उमरान मलिक, नटराजन, भुवी, माको यानसन, और कितने पेसेस, फजलक फारूकी, और कितने पेसेस चाहिए भाई? Why are they going for Spencer Johnson?
नहीं जाएंगे भाई, मतलब again if they put somebody out then maybe yes, but otherwise and again their usage is something that's critical, so how they use them is
True.
far more important.
Yeah, they might not put someone out, but we'll definitely put someone back in right now. Gurkirat seems to have had a nice solid dinner. क्या खाया भाई Gurkirat? आराम से, you seem like your tummy is full, all set now to talk further.
No, I didn't. अभी तो haven't had dinner. I was going to have my chicken soup, but ज़्यादा मिल नहीं पाया because some of it fell while heating it up. I've not had the best of throats, and yeah, there's also some cold, so was just trying to have that. अभी dinner करना है.
Okay. I am not sure if that sore throat is Delhi ki sardiya, Delhi ki pollution. Let's just sort of leave it open-ended at that. But coming back to that Sari chat, they have a lot of spaces. Do you see any of them being released? Because oh, short, bhai, Sky, matlab, शाबाश यार एकदम धागा खोल रहे हैं भाई साहब. Let's hope he does go well. But yeah, apparently there are rumors going around that they might be releasing some of their pacers, or they're even exploring the trade route. Abhas also mentions that they are supposedly looking to release Umran. There were talks of them trying to trade Karthik Tyagi to Mumbai. अगर वो हुआ तो भाई मतलब क्या बोलूं मैं, मेरे को समझ नहीं आता. But yeah, what do you think, Gurkirat? Do you see
Sorry,
any of the papers release?
before
हाँ हाँ.
Paji goes on, I'll go on a mute for 15-20 minutes, no problem. If Karthik Tyagi goes to Mumbai, there should be 2 tires in IPL, and SRS should be permanently placed in the second tier. Thanks.
I thought you were going to say there should be 2 tires in IPL and SRH should not be placed in either of them. ठीक है यार, Gurkirat, you can go forward.
Not being either of them should belong to Delhi Capitals. Actually, that's a statement that suits them far more. But yeah, good start for India after the early hiccup. You'd want both these guys to continue. And yeah, if Karthik Tyagi really makes it to Mumbai Indians, then yeah, you also have to see or question that what are the other franchises also doing? Why are they not trying to get him? So there is that.
Oh, short यार. 4 गया क्या? अरे लब
Yeah,
भाई
it's
साहब.
four.
Nice. But that's the thing. Apparently, even with the particular trade that LSG have done, lot of us, rightfully, including Gurkirat, me, all of us, we did feel that Padikal at the Ekana might not be the greatest of choices. But apparently, they're doing this to sort of trade him once again, similar to what happened with Mayank Markande. So that's another chat going around. So if that happens, that would be one of the. मतलब अगर ये सब ऐसा प्लान करके किया तो भाई गजब ही हो जाएगा, एकदम गजब. If they do that, if they're able to pull something off like that, it'll be crazy.
Yeah, but if that's really happening, then I'm not sure why someone like a Particle would agree. Matlab, you'd rather ask the franchise that you're already in with that you are released into the auction rather than being double traded, because that way I feel even your reputation starts taking a hit. That you are already being released by one franchisee, and the other franchisee also is not interested to keep you. So might as well get released into the auction then.
But I mean, okay, let me put it this way. LAC, for instance, they want a middle order batter. They've sort of zeroed in on this middle order batter that they want. They've requested for a trade with that team. Let's assume that middle order batter, who's a decent middle order batter going around. Let's say they want to trade Shivam Dubey, for example. Just I say hypothetically, Chennai is like अपने को Padikkal चाहिए. अभी तुम Padikkal कैसे भी करके लाओ. RR does not want to trade Padikkal to CSK because they have no player in return to offer for them. So don't you think then LSG trying to do something like this? I don't think it's harming Padikkal's reputation. If Padikkal is also being kept in the loop, being informed,
Yeah.
ki boss, this is the plan, then I don't think it's if anything, this is very smart.
Yeah,
Actually,
if
it could work even better if Padikkal was the one who was more than happy to make that jump, because then it would ensure that he's to a place where he's valued, and it could also give him a lot of security going forward. के यहाँ पे मेरी जरूरत actually में है. I'm not a surplus as I was in RR, as I was in LSG. But again, all of this is assuming that happens. So
Exactly.
yeah.
That I'm hoping that happens a lot more often. With Mayank Markande, I don't think it was all completely thought out. It was just, like happened. Matlab, just happened as a matter of fact. I don't think RR had thought of it beforehand. Ki, let's trade him in and then trade him to Delhi to help us. Sorry, Delhi didn't think it through. I'm guessing Delhi was the one who traded him in and then sent him out. Gurkirat's reaction is pretty much explaining. Oh, that's another 4, and yeah, that's hilarious. To be honest, I would love for people to be able to see behind the camera. No, yeah, unfortunately not possible. But yeah, Sky's really taking on the Australian bowlers right now. What do you think? You think India is still in with a chance?
yeah, if Sky is able to bat through for sure, but at some point of time you need Kishan to change gears and get going at a decent rate, because else it will put a lot of pressure on Sky. So let's see. But yeah, Ellis, the way he bowled in the IPL, he was very good. You could say without a doubt that he was Punjab's best bowler in terms of changing his pace, changing his lengths. So let's see how he goes today. He's not started off well, but there's enough time for him to come back and correct whatever mistakes he's made so far.
100%. I mean, he was recently made Hobart Hurricanes captain, so definitely a lot of things going in his favor. So let's hope he gets back. His lines really like what I saw of him even in the last IPL. But Nikhil bhai, yeah, like, do you think if that's another fantastic shot? Is that a four? Yep, it is. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Yeah, do you think India's still in with the shot?
हाँ 100%. मतलब भाई इतना लंबा बैटिंग लेके कहाँ जाना है, तो you are definitely into the shot. But as Padi said, वो जो 14 of 16 it has 1/6 from Ishan. So that is something that all of us will keep a keen eye on, where that we discuss कि जो non boundary strike rate है वो कितना ऊपर जाता है. And something that, just to close that loop on DDP, I felt कि there has to be something else also to the LSG angle, whether it is double trade or somebody else is being traded from their
That's another conversation. Supposedly, De Kock is
roster.
also being
Yeah. So अगर वो हो रहा है तो then there is a spot opening up right up top. तो फिर
True.
DDP straight away slots in there, which is why I felt that the trade was fair for both if there is one condition fulfilled for LSG. क्योंकि for RR, I feel it solves a bigger problem. उनका third pacer has always been the issue. The third Indian pacer.
So this is the part where I sort of disagree with you, Nikhil. I know you mentioned
Okay.
that Avesh Khan coming in would sort of help them solve that third pacer's issue, but I feel the bigger issue for RR was their lack of batting depth. They already have 4 number 11s, and now Avesh Khan is again no sort of he's no better with the bat. I know there's the
हाँ, but then
impact
you
player.
all, अभी impact player है तो you'll not, भाई वो लोग तो impact player होने के बाद bowling first करने के batting first करने के टाइम पे भी ज्यादा bowler से खेल रहे थे, तो that is
हाँ,
least of
but
their concern. तो
but that
मतलब
backfired.
logically what I feel is getting an Indian regular who is supposedly going to do the job that you have been struggling to do in terms of bowling in the last 10 and the middle over enforcer, who, see, Avesh Khan may not be as good but he could still hit spin. उसने पेस को तो नहीं मारा बट स्पिन को तो फिर भी दो. अगर नहीं, ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि भाई he can go out and score a 40 for you, but he could play a very crucial hand. So if you look at the batting order,
Haris Rauf at best वैसा.
हाँ ठीक है ना, बट अगर आपको मेरे को उस टाइम पे जैसे एक बॉल में 4 रन चाहिए और तभी अगर आवेश खान स्ट्राइक पे है, तो बॉलर में अगर मुझे कोई सिलेक्ट करना है तो मैं आवेश खान को भेज दूंगा. So maybe that is the kind of way that I'll also look at it, but from a larger point of view, it gives them enough by that single. I mean, of course,
knows how to push my buttons. So yeah, sure. याद रखेंगे आभास भाई, याद रखेंगे ये सब.
So just to close that loop, के प्रसिद्ध है, बोल्ट है, it allows them to use प्रसिद्ध and better. अगर आपके पास आवेश और चहल है, क्योंकि आप चहल को भी फिर एंड में डाल सकते हो, आपको बोल्ट के 2 बचाने की जरूरत नहीं है, बोल्ट सिर्फ 1 डाल के भी काम चला सकता है आपका. They still need an all-rounder. I completely agree to that point. So whether they release Jason Holder and get somebody else and play him, or they play Hetmeyer, Butler for sure, and then you have Bolt. So am I missing somebody else?
No, Hetmeyer, Butler, Bolt and Holder were the 4 players that they were going.
तो जो चौथा होल्डर के बदले you can get a better all-rounder if you want
but
to get.
But this is where again, so 10 crores for Avish, I feel a bit too expensive.
हाँ, but then अगर देखो वो स्किल वैसे भी ऑक्शन में अवेलेबल नहीं है. You don't have enough people who will bowl at the end. So maybe 1 or 2 crores up on the higher end, but maybe it's worth a long-term investment is how I look at it.
And probably
just short of Ishan Tanvi Sangha, Ishan Kishan nearly found a deep square leg of Sangha. यहाँ पाजी आप बोल रहे थे कुछ.
I was saying probably
there's one more thing.
किसी का नेट ठीक नहीं है. I am not sure if it's mine or if it's someone else.
नहीं आपका होगा, हमारा बरोबर है.
No, so I was saying probably they wouldn't have really gotten the deal would have been from LSG's end कि you will have to take Avesh only, then we will take DDP. So they probably had no other option, even if it's on the higher side.
And also, to be honest, I don't think the death overs problem is still being solved. Like I don't think Avesh, Trent, and Prasid amongst them, anyone is a good enough or a reliable enough death bowler. In fact, the best
नहीं तो
option is still Sandeep.
तो मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, I'll not use Prasid at the end. That's what I'm saying. You can use Prasid especially for the middle overs period. You can combine Chahal, Bolt, and Avesh Khan for the end, and then see how it goes. Because if you take a very good all-rounder in place of Jason Holder, or अगर from Kudrat ka Nizam somehow he happens to have a decent option to bowl at the end, so he could still bowl you the 16th over. So that
But don't
gives
you
you a
think that's
very,
a bit too risky?
but ठीक है ना यार, इतना अगर आपके पास now here you are trying to solve your sixth bowler problem, तो इतना तो रिस्क आपको लेना पड़ेगा कि अगर आपके पास 4 इंडियन रेगुलर्स हैं पोटेंशियली, तो मतलब मतलब देयर आर मेनी टीम्स who don't even have 2 or prime regular starters at times, so it's a fair risk to take, I feel.
Yeah, and there are no perfect teams in the IPL. So there is that too. तो कहीं ना कहीं तो आपको you'll have to work around one limitation or the other. You can't have perfect teams anyway. And those teams who are perfect at the auctions, they just find a way to then be imperfect eventually.
Yeah, we
So
have such examples, but the reason why I like this trade in particular seems very bizarre to me is I feel RR has sort of become has sort of been how do I put this? It is a lose situation for them. It's a win-lose situation, win in favor of LSG, slightly win. I'm not saying it's a win-win, it's a huge plus for LSG, but I feel RR don't benefit one bit. If anything, they've just gotten poorer by 10 crores. Along with that, another spot gone because they have Kuldeep Singh as well. I agree with who was it, the sports fan who mentioned he did decently well. He in fact won them a game against LSG itself. It was because Marcus Stoinis wasn't able to hit him.
But the problem with that is, again, this is something that they may have taken a call of. कि I feel their usage. आपने कई बार देखा है, Obed Moka bowled 1 over in that one game. कुलदीप सेन at times has bowled just couple of overs. तो ये जब आप इतना जय मातादी कर रहे हो, तो वहां पे तो आई विल 100% टेक एन आवेश खान के भाई एटलीस्ट मुझे यहाँ से 3-4 ओवर तो मिलने ही चाहिए. So that is why I feel it wasn't a bad call, क्योंकि again maybe I'm trusting Avesh far too much, but I am also trusting Shane Bond as the right guy to mentor him. कि भाई
Sorry, who?
Shane Bond, right?
RR के साथ ना
हाँ, तो मलिंगा गया ना वहां से, तो शेन बॉन्ड गया ना वहां पे.
मेरे को शेन वॉन सुनाई दिया तो मैं
नहीं
इसीलिए
नहीं नहीं
चौंक
भाई, बट डरा मत मेरे को, मैं शेन बॉन्ड ही बोल रहा था.
नहीं
सो
नहीं
मतलब
correct, correct.
पेसर, मतलब अगेन ऐसा जरूरी नहीं कि वन ही बॉलर कैन मेंटर कैन बेटर यू, बट आई थिंक इट्स अ गुड हैंड टू हैव के इट विल बी एबल टू ग्रो बेटर एज अ बॉलर मे बी.
Definitely. Let's see. I mean, we still don't know how they're going to play the auction game out. We don't know what the retentions are going to be like. Speaking of which, neural hacks with Vasant asks us, will the retention be live? I mean, thankfully the timing couldn't have been better. Retentions happen on Sunday and Monday Night Live. Apna to hai. So Monday Night Live will be on retentions. Will be all things IPL. I'd be happy. Avnish will be happy. Nikhil bhai to hamesha happy hai cricket ko sun ke. To we'll be having a proper conversation on all the teams and why hopefully Andy Flower has done a fantastic job with whatever it is that he's supposed to do. I don't know like how much better can he do with it. Avhas makes an interesting sort of point. I don't know if you can call it a point, but that's an interesting suggestion. SRH trading Janssen to RR.
दैट्स अ टॉप एज एंड स्काई फॉल शॉट, बट बढ़ गया, बच गए,
Thank God.
ऑल
Thank
इज
God.
वेल.
Chalo, yeah, all is well. All is well. But this is actually an interesting shout, huh? Janssen would really help RR fulfill a lot of problems. If anything, Janssen could also replace Bolt with in terms of new ball value. He's not as good, I agree, but ठीक है, मतलब decent enough replacement. Not entirely
see,
like for like. Huh.
there is no other franchisee which you would expect this to happen, but you can expect it from SRH given they did not retain Warner and Rashid. But at this point of time, there is no merit in any franchisee letting go of Janssen, especially after how well he's improved with the bat. His control with the ball can definitely go up, but see, he's young. He's still a work in progress. And if you get a player like that, who, despite being a work in progress, can offer you left arm swing in the power play, take wickets, and then provide you with those long levers to hit pace, you will take it. And he's becoming better versus spin. So there is no reason for any franchise or any team that has Jansen to release him. But yes, SRH can do it given they released Rashid. So that's about it.
Fair enough, but I'm just trying to think if SRH want to release Janssen, what would get them to release? Like, who would they want in return? Like, what do they need? They need a spinner.
Josh Butler.
Butler to nahi aa raha hai. Zampa could be an option because Zampa would definitely be an upgrade over Rashid. Mayank Markande ko utna chances mila bhi nahi, and apparently he is going to be let go of. So Zampa would be a decent enough spin option to have in their ranks, amidst their ranks.
Unmute by all I'm saying is if Markram is getting released, the best place to come is Chennai. Thank you.
Interesting. But do they have a spot?
क्या
Stokes
मोइन अली को
नहीं
जाने दो. स्टोक्स
अरे
नहीं है,
नहीं
मोइन
नहीं
अली को भी जाने दो.
मोइन तो
अरे
नहीं
नहीं
जा
यूज कर रहे मोइन अली को यार. बैटिंग भी
इतनी
इतना
जल्दी तो
रिलायबल
नहीं
नहीं
जा
है.
रहा है अगले साल जेएसके के लिए भी खेल रहा है SA20 में. They already are sort of.
And Kishan has gone over deep
I
spell
was
like
just going to
6.
bring
Well
up the
done.
Christian conversation as well. We will bring IPL up a bit sometime later. But Christian, 19 of 21, 23 of 22, of course. Now thanks to that 4, and now 6. अच्छा अब गॉन बोल के छक्का बोलता क्या निकल भाई.
अरे गॉन फॉर 6 पूरा बात तो सुन. हाँ मैं रहा हूँ, ध्यान तेरा नहीं है.
मैं टू कोट द ग्रेट जयकांत छिकरे, चीटिंग करता है तू, चीटिंग करता है तू, बस यही
भाई वो
बोलेगा.
4 ठीक है छोड़ो.
ठीक है.
Akshit has a great comment. Please take it. Akshit has a great comment. Please take it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I will. You're talking about this, right? I'm guessing this one. Thank you so much.
नहीं ये तो हाँ ये तो fair ही है जगमीत किसे. मैं बोल रहा हूँ Akshit
Thank you
is
so
made
much,
a very
Jagmeet
good
ji.
comment.
Yeah, we'll definitely take that up as well. Thank you so much, Jagmeet ji. I know you guys are very chill about it, but ठीक है, मतलब बच्ची है तो आदत हो जाएगी तो फिर बाद में अपने कोई दिक्कत होगा. Oh, he's hoiked that for the 6, of course. So thank you so much. But you're referring to this one by any chance? Of course. निखिल भाई and उमर जाए कितना ही दूर रख सकते हैं बताओ, कितना दूर रख सकते हैं. But that's another interesting shout. But
fair,
that
no?
means so
New
how
ball
are you
value
going to Umar and Bolt with the new ball? Prasid in the middle overs, Prasid and Avesh in the middle overs, Chahal at the death.
Yeah. It's not bad. और बैटिंग में भी विकल्प बेटर है. His Omer Zai is better in terms of combating spin and hitting pace also. तो
True.
ऐसा नहीं
Batting value 100%, not denying that. I would play Umar Zai instead of Bolt, not with Bolt.
पता नहीं. I think Bolt is
Umar
probably
Zai
too big a name अभी के लिए to maybe not play what I.
He's not done anything.
So, I mean, if you have Butler, if you have Hetmeyer, if you have Bolt and Umar Zai, so your 4 overseas are okay, na? Do you have a better 4th overseas player option?
I mean, I'm saying they don't need that many bowling options now because Indian bowlers mein Prasid, Avesh and Chahal are going to play. Ashwin is going to play. So you already have 4. Then there's Umar Zai, then there's Parag. So I don't think you need Bolt. Having someone like a Ferreira, for example,
Umar Zai is not your 4 over bowling option.
भाई पावर प्ले में 3 ओवर भी डाल दे फिर भी खत्म ना. 1 ओवर पराग डाल देगा मिडिल ओवर्स में, खत्म. Like I feel Bolt hasn't done anything much of note.
Abhi in the World Cup, yes, but in the IPL he was fine. He was still picking wickets in the power play.
In the first over, he was like Shaheen Afridi. पहले ओवर में ले रहा था, उसके बाद खत्म. पहले ओवर में, पहले 2 ओवर में, sorry. That was it. That was pretty much it. Pehle over maybe, if I'm not wrong, it was something like first 3 balls. In his first 3 balls, that was the numbers that was going around from what I remember. So I just don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah, coming back to the game, of course, a lot has happened. India 79 for 2 at the end of the 8th over. And now it's
79 for 2 nahi bhai, 98 for 2.
रुको. अरे
he said at the end of 8th over.
अरे मैं पूरा कंटिन्यू भी कर रहा था निखिल भाई. अभी कौन है जयकांत?
अभी मेरा मिस्टेक.
गलती से मिस्टेक हो गया. No worries. But yeah, 97 for 2, just 1 ball remaining in the 9th over. Ishan Kishan, something we'd spoken about when Gurkirat wasn't here, was his non-boundary strike rate, how he struggles to rotate strike, how he plays so many dot balls, but scores those boundaries and then makes up for it. He's done the same thing again today. 19 of 21, now suddenly he scored 3 boundaries in the last 5 balls, and now he's 36 of 26. Like, are you fine with this, with this style of play, Nikhil bhai?
Again, see, the thing is, it's about where you are taking it. जैसे we spoke the same way for KL and for Virat and for every guy who's playing to a particular style. जब तक that style is you are able to maintain that balance के the acceleration is always coming, तो it's fine. But the moment as you said कि भाई वो 19 of जो भी है, if the ball starts to increase and you get out, then it will never look nice. So I think the area of improvement there is that you can keep going, stay at least run a ball. Again, it might depend from venue to venue, from opposition to opposition, but I think the least that you can do is to stay at a strike rate of say around 100. अगर पार स्कोर उस दिन पे 180 170 का है तो यू आर नॉट आउट ऑफ इट कंप्लीटली. उससे ज्यादा होगा तो नथिंग लाइक इट, बट इट शुड बी टू फार बिहाइंड सो दैट आप नेक्स्ट वाले के लिए बहुत डिफिकल्ट बना रहे हो. इज व्हाट आई फील. एंड अगेन इट्स अ वेरी ट्रिकी कॉल. आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी गेम्स किशन विल फर्स्ट बैट एट 3. तो लेट्स सी हाउ दे आर लुकिंग एट इट.
Interesting. Gurkirat, I know you've also spoken time and again about Kishan kya hai? Ishan hai? Ishan Kishan hai? And his problems with, rotating strike and how he sort of is predominantly a boundary hitter and then more of a person who tends to dot up. Like how do you solve for this? Because it affects the other person as well, right? The person on the other end. If you're not able to rotate strike consistently, then there's no strike rotation happening, then the other person doesn't get to bat enough. All of those issues then sort of pile on.
See, firstly, you'd have to at some point of time have a conversation with him and ask him that, we expect you to work on your non-boundary strike rate, right? You just cannot be batting in two gears. No format is as simple as that for any batter to just bat in two gears. That is one. The other is, like Nikhil said, we don't know how many matches is he going to bat at number three. And I think even if you're looking at, if you're just looking at the top three, for West Indies, I'm not even sure that he could be someone who's who should be amongst your top four options because others have done better. That the strike rotation problem isn't with Gill or with Gaikwad or with Jaiswal, and even if you want to go back to Kohli or Rohit or KL, they don't have similar problems because Kishan is simply someone with a high ceiling, but he also has a very low floor in the sense that the day he's bad he's also very bad, and his days of high ceiling aren't also very consistent. It's not like that he'll win you 1 in 5 games. It's not something like that either. So I don't know, if Kishan doesn't do well in these 2-3 games, I don't see him retaining his spot, and that should be fair because he cannot complain about lack of chances. And yeah, while the umpire has given the second one as wide as well, I don't think it should have been a wide.
Interesting. Okay. But with Kishan, that has been a concern. And again, to be honest, I don't even know how long will he able to hold on to a spot. Like I wouldn't have had a problem if even someone like a Dubey probably was played over him today. I know they needed a keeper than someone like even Jitesh Sharma over him. But he himself hasn't been in the greatest of form. So yeah, maybe that's why Ishan Kishan has been uh, kept ahead of him in the pecking order. But one more name that we haven't spoken about yet is Sanju Samson, a name that is a crowd favorite, is a perennial crowd favorite. Didn't have the worst of IPLs, had a normal IPL by his standards. All of a sudden, he finds himself out of contention. What do you make of that? Agree with it? Disagree with it?
See, I don't think he had a great IPL because eventually he finished with less than 400 runs, I think, in
No,
this
I thought he had
IPL.
just about 400. Okay, okay.
Yeah, so that is something that you expect from a batter who's batting in the top three. Some of the times his dismissals were really avoidable. Having said that, you have to say that the team management's not been fair on him, especially in the ODI scheme of things. In T20s, doesn't have a great record, but you could have given him a go at least for this series because in the larger scheme of things, you see him fitting better into the setup than what Kishan would at this point of time. And I also think that he did not do enough favors to himself by continuing to bat at oh oh just drop shot. So I don't think he did himself enough favors by batting in that top three. Had he batted at 5, and finished a few games for RR, he would have really helped his case a lot more. And this
Yeah.
is something which we have discussed, that whosoever is batting at 5 or 6 for India is not really,
Oh,
batting at 5 or 6 for his franchise. You don't see that with Hardik. You don't see that with Samson.
that's there. In fact, that was one of sort of our go-to conversations, go-to talking points during the IPL, where we all felt in unison that that's something Sanju Samson should do, especially because he's the skipper, so he has that control. It's not even like he isn't probably one of their most senior most players. So he did have control. He did have a say over decision. I mean, over things like squad construction, team building, and all of that. So maybe yeah, that could have really helped him. But I saw his numbers this season. He had an average in excess of 30, a strike rate in excess of 150. So I still feel those aren't the worst numbers. By no means are those numbers good enough for anyone to justify him not holding on to his spot. And Nikhil bhai, since you're also here, let's ask you as well. Before that, I just wanted to take this comment. Someone mentioned that Nitish Rana had a better season than him. But bro, Sanju Samson's a keeper, and that's what we're looking for. Like Ishan Kishan ke balle, that was the chat we were trying to have. So that, I just wanted to make that. But yeah, Nikhil bhai, so what do you think? Like Sanju Samson, should he have, held on to his spot, or do you agree with the selectors?
No, I don't agree with them because I think they took a risk with Sky mixing formats there. तो अगर आप स्काई को मौका देना चाहते हो ओडीआई में जहाँ पे यू हैवंट सीन इनफ सक्सेस और प्रोसेस वेयर यू फील कि इट कैन कम ऑफ. So I think with Sanjay, you can be a bit more open about feedback and what you're looking at from the player. Because see, if you don't play a player in a particular format and you don't pick them, I'm fine with it. I'm never giving them any false hope or telling anybody else that okay, is not part of the plan. But you are giving him game time, and then you're giving him sometimes game time at 4, sometimes at 5, sometimes at 6. It is not going to help. Yes, he did not help his case with an IPL, but I feel is if the communication is very clear, okay, Sanju, this is the role that we're looking at. Even if it's a floater, I'm fine. The 4 and 5 is not a problem. The problem is what is my role? Is my role of somebody being someone who can hit spin, take his time, and then hit pace? Be very clear with my role. That is what I'll try and fulfill. And then if you don't pick me, then you can really question the selectors. At this point of time, something is not happening from Sanju's end, something is not happening from the selectors end as well. So I wouldn't say that it's just a one-way traffic. I think both parties need to just have a word. And again, the owners first has to come from the management because management has to be very clear with Sanju. Sanju तो जाके पूछेगा पर उसको जवाब नहीं मिलेगा तो क्या होएगा? So I hope that communication is done क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं कि रूम नहीं है. Room hai. You just have to. If you can take Sky to the World Cup, you have set a precedent that you can make arrangements for any such player, and it is fine also. I don't think it's a problem कि नहीं लेके जाना चाहिए, but you understood why they took Sky. तो अगर आप संजू के साथ रूल क्लियर करोगे, and if he doesn't execute, then you are leaving him with no option but to accept कि I did not stand up to that role and I couldn't do justice. Fair, you give a good closure. So that's how I hope they look at it and just close a very good loop.
Interesting. Before we sort of take this conversation further, Adyan Singhal, he's also one of our regular viewers. I know I haven't taken your comment. You don't need to spam Adyan. Don't worry. We're here. We've seen your comment. We'll definitely take it up whenever we can. But yeah, since he's been asking about this, he says, hi guys, nice to see you all. Nice to see you as well, Adyan, and make sure you've hit the like button. Guys, goes on. I mean, this is for all of you as well. Over 40 of you watching this, 35 likes. Please, please, please make sure that we hit the 50 like mark by the end of the stream. That's how the YouTube algorithm works. So we have to sort of keep bringing it up. Sorry for sounding like a broken record. He also says, we talk about batting the whole time, but bowling has also underperformed massively in big games. Bumrah's record in ICC knockouts don't do justice to the bowler that he is. Gurkiran, let's start with you. Do you agree with this thought? अरे शाबाश शाबाश काफी टाइम हो गया था.
Let's just first talk about the number of knockouts that Bumrah has played. So there's the 2016 semi, there's the 2017 final, there's the 2019 semi-final, there's the 2021 WTC
21 में
final,
तो कुछ नहीं है. 20 क्या 21 में क्या?
World Test Championship.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And then there's the 2023 final and
Yeah.
the semi. Right. Firstly, I think it's completely unfair to sort of even judge Bumrah on that 2016 game because it was his first year. For you to have expectations from someone in their first knockout game means that he has done something for you to have those expectations. 2017 final, yes, you can say he had a poor outing. That can happen. But you look at the 2019 semi-final, there is no way you can say that he bowled poorly. He got you that early wicket of Guptill. He was continuously testing the batters, and after that point of time, he did not get wickets. And if you look at his record across the two World Cups, 2019 and 2023, I think he would be averaging below 20 or even 20, right, with a strike rate of around strike rate below 30. So that's good enough. That basically means that he's giving you two wickets every game and not giving more than 40 runs. So there
Short,
is that.
yeah, shabash.
So so there is that. And then you look at how he bowled in the final. He was bowling very well with the new ball. You probably felt that maybe he could have been brought in a little early, but that is on the captain. In the semi as well, there was a catch dropped off his bowling, right? So there was that. Then the 2021 World Test Championship. If you saw how he bowled that 7 to 8 over spell on the day fifth morning, which was the day before the final day because that game went into sixth day. Had it not been for Williamson playing his spell, he would have probably gotten a three for. Williamson played four or five maidens of his spell, right? So yes, you could say that he did not get wickets, but you have to really watch the game to say that did he bowl poorly? I don't think so. And to ask these questions when the same guy has had an average of below 25 across conditions. You look at his performances in Australia, you look at his performances in South Africa, in West Indies, in England. Out he's the Regardless of which captain he's playing under, every captain knows that you have to go to Bumrah when things are not going your way, or whenever you have to look at a wicket or a breakthrough. So yeah, I mean, okay, you could say that he's not had a 4 for or a 5 for, but that is something not always entirely in the bowler's control because sometimes you're just unlucky. So watch the games closely before you say that okay, he's not had a good record. I think the only question mark that you can ask him off is that in the 2017 final game where he did not bowl well, where I don't think outside of uh, where I don't think outside of Bhuvi anyone bowled well, and that can happen. It was his second year in international cricket, still a developing bowler. So
Fair enough.
I
I don't
genuinely
think.
don't understand what the fuss is about. If you think there's anyone better than Bumrah who can do the job for you, please try and find him and play him.
True that, and have to plug in shamelessly plug in. Ki, I've itself written a piece just a few days ago about Bumrah and how good he has been for India, even during the World Cup, despite Shami being the highest wicket taker. In terms of India's go-to bowler across phases, it was Jasprit Bumrah through. Sorry, Jasprit Bumrah through. Arey Brum kya hai bhai? Bumrah through and through. Because across phases, again, in the power play, he was the most economical bowler in the World Cup. At the death, he was the most economical bowler in the World Cup. In the middle overs, he was the third most economical bowler in the World Cup. This goes on to show how dependable he is, be it wicket taking, be it defensive bowling, be it understanding what lengths to bowl. He was always on the go, very quick to understand what needs to be done, what works here. Great to see a very thinking bowler. So yeah, 100% agree with Gurkirat there. I don't think what the fuss is all about. So yeah, I hope your question is answered, Adhayan. Craig meanwhile says Akshay seems to be watching the match on 2G while the rest is on 5G. भाई जो भी हो सारा 2G 5G किसके पास है जियो के पास हम देख रहे हैं जियो पे आप भी हाँ वैसे तो स्पोर्ट्स 18 भी उन्हीं का तो I don't know yeah in hindsight that point makes little to no sense but going back to the IPL chat we were having. Another interesting question. Neural Hacks with Vasant went on to ask, guys, who are the associate and domestic players to look out for in this auction? Umar Zai ke alawa. I mean, I know Afghanistan isn't associate, but I'm assuming he would also club countries where we don't see a lot of players come into the IPL from. So I would club Afghanistan and Bangladesh as well if you want to, and Ireland, Netherlands, Scotland, and the works. Nikhil Bhai, let's start with you. Players that you're looking out for and you think could actually realistically get a chance in this IPL.
In terms of foreign aspects, I'm really not sure. I really don't think we have come to a stage where IPL teams are very open about trying people outside the people that they have worked with or they have seen from very close quarters. So And again, in most of the times, you can make it out from the auction list in itself. When we have a final auction list, that's in itself will tell you how many people are firstly shortlisted for that auction. So there could be a lot of people who I'd like to see, but I'll hold on to that bit about who goes, which foreign player comes on and goes where. In terms of domestic, there are a lot of players who are actually just been doing well. I'm actually more looking forward to how they do perform in the next season. Like you have Suresh Sharma, जो बढ़िया कर रहा है. So now how does he back up? Because to me, for domestic players, it's very important to have a good second season. Because we have seen a lot of
Rajat
first
Patidar.
season. Rajat Patidar, a very good name, going to play a very crucial role. So how does he go about that? Now there are other players as well. Sheikh Rashid scored a ton. Hunger Kicker has done well. So how are these guys going to come good? Arshad Khan, I think, did well. You have Ashwin Kulkarni, who's someone that I'm very keen to see कि कहाँ पे जा रहा है, if somebody is taking him.
He did well in the
So
MPL, na? Maharashtra Premier League, all-rounder.
exactly. So there are names, but the Samir Rizvi तो एक नाम है जो I just hope we'll keep hearing so much of in the future. But again, we don't know whether these teams will go for them or they not. तो अभी तो my first point is to see how Venkatesh Iyer, Suresh Sharma, and all of them go so that we are able to make a call ki okay, yes, this is how they'll go. Karthik Tyagi is also a very important name क्योंकि
Very,
उसको
very.
बहुत कम गेम्स मिले and you have to start looking at the second batch of people, right? You can't always bring back Shami after 2 years के भाई ये हमारा वर्ल्ड कप बॉलर है, but you'll have to develop more option. And yeah, I agree completely there with that comment also.
100%. I just add a few more names, and before that, Suyash and Rajat, even more to look forward to because they've had a very good smat. और
Yeah.
रजत तो भाई स्मार्ट रणजी विजय हजारे हर चीज में अच्छा खेल रहा है. Even today he scored a 50 in the Vijay Hazare Trophy.
That's a six.
And
Sorry. Yeah, six. Good
no
shot.
worries, of course. So Ishan Kishan, of course, from what I remember in his first 30 balls, he played 11 dot balls. Let us see, मतलब कितना होता अभी और कितना dot balls खेलेंगे भाई साहब. But yeah, just to close that discussion. So Suyash also had a fantastic smack. He took a couple of fifers, if I'm not wrong. One to yaad hai, if I'm not wrong, he had two, and then he had plenty of fours and threefers. Rajat, though, he's really been in good form. Even last time he was in good form. Unfortunately, got injured at the worst possible time. A few more domestic names. TNPL say there's Subramaniam, Jataved Subramaniam, the leg spinner. I mentioned that name. Guruswamy Ajatesh Ji. Ajatesh is one more that I'm looking forward to. I feel he is like RCB जिस role को fulfill करना चाहता है DK's replacement. He's a perfect fit for that. Now I don't know if he can make that jump from domestic cricket to IPL, but if he does, he's the perfect replacement. Another name to look out for. And from the Karnataka Maharaja T20 Trophy, there's Manwant Kumar. I really loved him, genuinely loved him. Good all-rounder. In the Ben Stokes mold, left-hand batter, right-arm bowler, and he's equally competent at both of them. So that's very heartening to see. And Chetan Allar and Rohan Patel openers, so last time भी अच्छा खेले थे. So I don't know if they. Is that a 50?
2 रन नहीं मुझे लगा 4 गया पर सिंगल ही है.
Oh, okay. So yeah, a lot of names to look forward to. Vasant, of course. I mean, there's no single answer to it. Just too many names. Gurkirat, any names that you have that we haven't mentioned already that you're looking forward to come the IPL auction?
शाबाश पाजी, आवाज तो आनी चाहिए.
आज ज़्यादा हो गया. I mean, this mute, because I think because of the net also I have muted myself a couple of times. So not really. To be also honest with all of you, have not been able to follow the domestic season as much. But the one player who I'd really like to see get a contract this time and then get game time is Ishan Porel. I think he's been more than decent in red ball in list in first class to get a contract, because last time he did not even get a contract, and before that when he got those contracts didn't really get a game. Shams Mulani is another case, was with Mumbai but did not get a game. So want to see a few of these guys who've been in and around the sides get a few games and see how they go. I have a feeling that Delhi will probably release Vicky Oswal. So if
sorry to
Delhi
cut पाजी, 50 for Kishan.
50 for Kishan.
Just at the right time, 37 balls. तो again,
So,
no doubt there acceleration आता है तब तो आता है.
Yeah. India's still in the hunt right now. 81 of 47. Definitely India's game, to be honest, right now. Great to watch. But yeah, Gurkirat, sorry to cut you there. Sorry.
Yeah. So Vicky Oswal's another one who I think will, be back in the auction pool. So there are players who can be looked at.
Definitely. Vasant asked us an update on Patidar भाई वो तो fit है आज ही 50 मारा है विजय हजारे में जैसा कहा. Abhas meanwhile says why is it that every
Six,
time a player
six from
Ishan
Kishan. Yep.
चलो बढ़िया. I hope he shuts my mouth. But yeah, Abha says, why is it that every time a player does well, RCB fans bring him in the squad? Rachin, Head, Kurtzi, Inglis. Today, your 4 overseas are confirmed. Faf, Maxi, Hasranga, Hazelwood, and at the end, you play Rawat. एक तो है इन चारों में से मैंने सिर्फ इंग्लिश का नाम पहले से ले रखा है. ऊपर से see, this is what happens when you don't have a trophy. You just have to clutch on to whatever's available. You just want to believe कि जो next आएगा वो खेलेगा. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. To be honest, I feel every fan does it. Everyone wants to imagine the best player in their team. Maybe RCB fans do it a lot more. They tend to be a lot more everywhere. Like Gandhinagar mein, we saw RCB jerseys. कुछ नहीं दिखा. MI Chennai कुछ नहीं दिखा. RCB jerseys plural, not singular. And I was like, क्या चल रहा है? Everywhere. चेन्नई में CSK से ज्यादा RCB jerseys. वानखेड़े के सामने MI से ज्यादा RCB jerseys. Is it fan following और वो जर्सी देखने में अच्छा लगता है तो लोग पहन लेते हैं? पता नहीं. जो भी हो, it's just great to watch, and I am a fan at the end of the day. As much as I try to be neutral, and boss, I really do. Oh man. Oh, Nishan.
Yeah.
When looked to go after Tanvir Sangha. Just found, but field was set for it. So ठीक है, मतलब थोड़ा आगे पीछे.
Tanvir Sangha was in fact another name that I was looking forward to watching. काफी late गया उसको bowling. मतलब I don't know that why did they hold back with him? Because I felt he could have been given an over or two earlier. Oh, that's actually well played, yeah. Straight, absolutely straight.
Got a good connection.
True.
But,
Definitely
recovered well.
Yeah.
Recovered well. Though probably still below the rate that he would have liked given what India are chasing. But ठीक है, not as bad.
Will be net positive here, his innings. Like impact wise for net positive here uska. I don't think he's sort of impacted the chase negative. Yeah. Negative. And now Rinku Singh ke liye bhi acha hai. He has just that right entry point where he can play a
Tilak
couple of balls.
Tilak has come in.
Interesting.
There's Tilak.
Okay. Because don't you think Rinku Singh is also another batter who takes a bit of time? He wants to play around 8-10 deliveries before he tees off.
Yeah, but then if you don't send Tilak in now, then it also becomes too late for him. So this is something that you could face where at maybe a couple of batters are batting out of position, so can't do much.
Fair. And we'll take a few more comments, guys. Of course, please make sure you're liking the stream if you haven't already, and also do subscribe to us. We'll also put out one more poll whenever our producer is able to listen to this, of course. So, like we mentioned, England will be touring Australia. India. England will be touring India next month. After that, it's the Australian team touring India. A lot of you might be confused. It is the women's side, of course. So, a lot of T20 is there as well. We are planning Watchalong. We are planning a lot of video content towards that as well. So we would like to hear from you guys as well. Would you be interested in watch-alongs for women's T20Is? Would you be interested in it just as much? So that's something we wanted to put out to understand, because for us, India comes first at the end of the day. मेरे मुंह से वो शब्द निकलते ही थोड़ा लगता है थोड़ा India women's come first बोलने में कुछ नहीं होता भाई. I don't know. Maybe I'm reverse sexist, if that makes any sense. So either ways, poll laga lete hain. Just want to understand from you guys. What do you guys think about it? We're planning watch-alongs for women's T20Is because England ka series hai starting the 6th of December and Australia ka series hai starting from the 5th of Jan. So women's watch-alongs, women's T20Is watch-alongs, yes or no? Producer sahab, bas ek laga do, dekh hi lete hain kya hota hai. Yeah, let's take a few more comments. Neural Hacks with Vasant comes back. He asks us, can a rule like one... Oh, is that a wicket? No, of course, no man's land. नहीं समझ 2 सेकंड बाद रियलाइज हुआ हाँ मैं तो लेट ही देख रहा हूँ आप दोनों तो रिएक्ट कर ही देते तब तक बट या interesting rule, something the ICC themselves prescribed, but I don't think the IPL will be following it because clearly BCCI is above the ICC. Can a rule like one non-test playing nation player in the squad be a must, if not in the 11s? ICC definitely recommended it amongst the various changes that they asked all these leagues and league commissioners to make. One was, of course, to restrict the number of foreign players to just 4 per 11, and the other was this, where at least one from associate nation should be a part of your squad. Nikhil bhai, of course, the right move. I know both of you agree with it. I don't need to ask your comments on that. But do you see IPL realistically implementing it ever?
Maybe once we have more teams, they will do it. And मतलब just looking at a very practical lens of it, कि अगर कभी ऐसा टाइम आ गया जब आपके पास 12-14 टीम्स है, you have enough people. ऐसा नहीं कि लोग अभी भी हैं. Maybe right now too many people want too many similar set of people, but once the league grows, you will need a larger pool. So a larger pool में they will eventually have to try out people who have they seen more. So hopefully that's where they'll get to a stage के भाई they'll start trusting people outside of the people that they have not seen or worked with personally. So hopefully that is something that is done in the near future for sure.
Interesting. And genuinely, like, I don't think there could be a better move for IPL. And yeah, by the raise of those arms, yeah, clearly there's a 6 by Sky. Zoom want to see what happened there.
He's reached just 50 in 29 balls, so going very well and at par with the rate.
I mean,
And
67
it's
of
been
40.
50. Yeah, India needs 67 of 40. He's 54 of 29, so going at a very good rate.
Exactly.
And yeah,
Oh, short, yeah, short, bhai, short.
I
67
wasn't
of 40.
sure of the field. I wasn't sure of the field. That is why I was just waiting for ball to cross the boundary
हाँ
line.
नहीं
But
नहीं
yeah,
विशाखापट्टनम का सर्विस इतना तो बड़ा नहीं है भाई जहां तक पता है बट अगेन in terms of the required run rate 67 or 40 this is India's game to lose right from here Nikhil bhai what do you think
yeah. Easily.
Exactly. I genuinely hope that happens to be the case. Mahika Gaur to RCB आने वाली है भाई आपके मुंह में घी शक्कर. Would love to see her. I just want her to be a part of the WPL first. RCB next. Would really want to see her. Genuinely liked her and थोड़ा soft corner दिया because she was playing for UAE. Unfortunately, the operative word being there is was and not is. So she's already made her debut for England now. Leaning edge, but yeah, does not reach cover. Greg says hopefully we get promotion relegation in IPL once they expand to 20 teams. भाई 20 टीम में तो बहुत टाइम है because 2028 में they're going to expand to 12. मतलब 20 तो आप सोच लो 2040 में होगा. ठीक है अपने बच्चों के लिए it will be a lot more entertaining I guess. बस मेरी भांजी देखेगी अच्छे से तब और कुछ नहीं तो we'll be doing watch-alongs and she might be watching it from hopefully another screen instead of the same screen. Let's hope that happens. Definitely. And yeah, wish we got this guy to finish in finals, man. It still hurts.
It's not the same pitch, yaar. It's not the same pitch. It's not the same conditions. Maybe if Sky was batting in the evening, he could have done this.
Exactly. I mean, I do agree that there's only so much we can sort of.
You're on mute.
शाबाश मैं अच्छे 10 सेकंड से बोल रहा हूँ अभी पता लगा कि म्यूट में हूँ वाह सही है
नहीं पहले स्टार्टिंग में सुना था but then while you were speaking you went on mute. I don't know how.
Oh, just about Wade's diving hands. But yeah, I was just saying yeah, there's only so much we can talk about it because it's not like it's not like he could have done anything much about it. So yeah, let's hope that things turn better for him going forward. And just a second, I'm not sure if my mic is connected properly. Audio तो ठीक से आ रहा है ना?
अब ठीक है. It's fine.
अभी ठीक है.
Oh.
Okay. Chances 40 में भी इस साल कप नंबर होगा.
Of course.
और IPL देखोगे क्यों? बताओ. Because तुम ही बताओ. हमारे वॉचअलोंग आरसीबी गेम्स में सबसे ज्यादा मतलब दिखते हैं बोलने आया था ठीक है जो भी है सबसे ज्यादा लोग आरसीबी के वॉचअलोंग देखते हैं क्यों देखते हो बताओ तुम ये सब बोलते हो ना तुम लोग आरसीबी मैचेस नहीं रहेगा तो आधा क्या पूरा आईपीएल में जो एंटरटेनमेंट है हट जाएगा तो रिमेंबर व्हाट यू बी मिसिंग आउट ऑन एंड डोंट टेक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड ठीक है समझ गए ना अभी एक क्लिप निकालो और डाल दो बस खत्म अभी इससे ज्यादा नहीं बोलेगा अपन आरसीबी पे और सुनेगा भी नहीं आरसीबी पे कमिंग बैक टू द गेम
कुछ बोलता है 10 सेकंड 20 सेकंड नहीं लगेगा वापस आरसीबी बोलने को ठीक है छोड़ो बोलो आगे
क्या करे पुरानी आदत
करेक्ट
सेकंड टी20 बाय द वे कहां पे आ रहा है कहां पे हो रहा है आ रहा है क्या
आएगा उसी चैनल पे
तिरुवनंतपुरम
Oh,
तिरुवनंतपुरम
Okay, and I know fourth is happening in Raipur, fifth is happening in Bangalore. So
Guwahati. Third is
interesting.
Guwahati.
Oh, third is Guwahati. Guwahati भी बैटिंग फ्रेंडली, बैंगलोर भी बैटिंग फ्रेंडली, और एलएलसी देखें, एलएलसी में जो चला है उसके हिसाब से तो रायपुर भी मतलब क्या है, मजे में लूट रहे हैं वहां पे रन्स. It's going to be very interesting if you know we're going to see. Do you think we can see 200 plus first inning scores in all of the five in each of the five T20s?
Possibly. Possibly.
ऐसा एकदम एकदम possible बोल के एकदम. Gurkirat expecting more from you right now.
Possible hai, but you would have to say that both the sides would have probably
Short,
bowled
yeah,
very
short,
poorly.
short, short. Yeah, sorry.
Both the sides would have bowled very poorly for that to happen.
Yeah, I don't mind that to be honest. थोड़ा और runs देख ही लेते. क्या ही करे. मतलब low scoring thriller
Fair.
अभी IPL के time पे हो तो अच्छा रहेगा. Nachiket meanwhile asks us, do you think
Short.
KKR will be stabilized by the arrival
Oh,
of Iyer or destabilized? Interesting. क्योंकि
uh,
कौन खेला था उनकी middle order में last time? Venkatesh Iyer, Nitish Rana, Rinku Singh. Shreyas Iyer would definitely add value. I'm guessing he'd be in place of, like, Andy Russell won't be there. Number 3 Rana, number 4 Iyer, number 5 Iyer, number 6 Rinku Singh. That's a very good top 6, man. Nikhil bhai, let's start with you because Rana, Iyer, Rinku, 4 solid middle order domestic batting options. Really frees up a lot of space for them in terms of how to use their overseas options. What do you like? Do you agree with that?
yeah, but I don't think their issue changes. The issue of facing hard lens
Bounce.
and bounce will remain for all four of them. They can all play spin very well. Rinku's had trouble starting versus spin at times, but again, you trust him to find a way. But I think the key for KKR is the top order. Who do they partner Venki with, or do they go for something like a Quinton if at all they look for that option?
वेंकी तो अभी मिडिल में ही पूरा हो गया ना.
See,
हाँ मतलब
they
वही that's a call you have to take.
they have Gurbaz anyway. What they need is that they'll probably need a good Indian keeper because they've not had that for 2-3 seasons now. You need to have one good Indian keeping option because you cannot just play you cannot rely so much on an overseas player because if you're looking at an overseas player to do both and that player loses form, then it becomes difficult. Like what happened with Delhi was that
I was
in
about
their
to mention who but a
in their
decent fan to bring it up.
in their no, it was even visible before because in the 2020
Alex,
IPL
क्या हुआ?
gone taken
कौन
Tilak
Just
Singh.
look at the catch. Just look at the catch, and
It's a very good
in,
catch.
India would take 3-4 fielders to catch it today. But ठीक है, मतलब.
The sight of India, 3-4 fielders just coming. अरे. Interesting. अब तक तो Sky दिखा रहे montage. Okay. अरे
It's
यार
a
top पे.
very good catch.
Yeah, but it
So
is a very good
Oh,
catch actually.
lovely catch. यार, who's that? Match shot.
Stoinis,
Stoinis, I
Stoinis.
think.
Stoinis,
Stoinis, I
very
think.
good catch. Very good catch. Very well taken.
Yeah.
3-4 फील्डर होते तब भी नहीं लेते भाई. नहीं ये तो नहीं ले रहे थे.
So, as I was saying, in the 2020 IPL, Delhi did not have a backup wicketkeeper for Pant. So, they had to drop Hetmeyer as well because they had to play carry for wicket keeping. So, it's very important that you have at least one Indian keeping option who's not just a keeper but can also bat decently. So, I think they'll need to find that option.
But to be honest, I mean, Gurbaz can play 14 games. I feel I don't like. I know that there'll always be that concern with your overseas players suddenly having a loss of form. But Indian keeping options में है ही कौन?
But
Like who can?
what happens when Gurbaz is injured? Who do you have then? You still need an Indian keeping option.
But who like? That's why my question, like domestic keepers में कौन है? जी अजितेश है, but I don't think अजितेश ऐसा सीधा तुम first 11 में लेके जाने लायक तो I don't think he's that ready. So उसके अलावा then what other options you have in terms of?
Kerala's Mohammad Azharuddin. There is that
अगर
option.
आरसीबी में अगर
But
उसको चांस नहीं मिला तो it's a bit of a stretch. Someone like an Abhishek Purell, to be honest, isn't the worst. Like अगर दिल्ली वाले छोड़ रहे not the worst, थोड़ा
Too raw.
then तो I don't think there's anyone. Sheldon Jackson ही है, वापस उसी के पास जाना पड़ेगा. I'm trying to
तो
think.
होगा।
विष्णु विनोद भी तो मुंबई के पास है। गधे मतलब विष्णु विनोद को तो ले लेता है, 20 लाख में लिया है मुंबई वालों ने, बेस प्राइस
Wait,
पिक।
Delhi had Vishnu Vinod but never used him.
Yeah, so did SRH. Made his debut
So
for RCB, then played for Delhi, then played for Mumbai SRH, then played for MI. क्या बोले ऐसा, समझ नहीं आता कि क्या होगा, but yeah,
I'm
coming
not sure, but Vadkar has had a very good first class record. I'm not sure how good
अक्षय
he is
वाडकर
in, yeah, I'm not sure how good he is in T20s, but if he has some talent, maybe some team can
has
look at
always
him.
been like he is predominantly a red ball player in that sense. उतना विदर्भा के लिए तो स्मार्ट में because जितेश भी है वहां पे, तो I don't think, but yeah, you never know. I just hope KKR are able to find, नहीं तो they'll have to go back to the same Aparijit in
They had
not
Jagdishan also.
That is
Jagadishan
still a
also.
better option. I think Aparajit बोल रहा हूँ, Baba Aparajit is still a better option if you want to go down the Azruddin या some of those routes, क्योंकि you can still float him around somewhere, but interesting to see अगर कोई और if somebody else is giving up a keeper, so you might want to
May
still take it ऐसा।
RCB probably might let go of Anuj Rawat.
जो बंदा इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर में आया उसको कैसे जाने देगा कोई,
and
come on
ऊपर
यार।
से क्या the problem KKR want to solve for is someone who can play bounce hard lens. Anuj Rawat himself can't do that. कहाँ वो क्या वो he just add on to the problems. KS Bharat is another interesting name. They could probably look at KS Bharat. गुजरात में तो उसको चांस नहीं मिल रहा था साहा की वजह से. If Gujarat are going to start with Bharat, then they can look for Saha as well. पता है उम्र हो गई but power play में रोल कर देता, काम कर देता जितना. So Saha could be another, like Saha और भरत, one of those two. Last time भी गुजरात से ही उठाया था दोनों, मतलब एकदम ऐसा लॉकी फर्गसन और गुरबाज. इस बार भी थोड़ा और ऐसा मांगेंगे तो यार it won't be the worst. And again, they have Lockie Ferguson, 10 crore, Russell, 8 crore. Lot of big names, lot of money to be spent there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about all of this IPL time. मतलब 5 T20s हैं, काफी टाइम है, Monday Night Live भी आ रहा है, तो don't worry, we'll talk about a lot more of it. फिलहाल let's get back to the game. At least मेरे हिसाब से तो score 160 for 4 बता रहा है. I don't know उतने में बाउंड्री और मार दिया तो रिंकू ने. नहीं, that doesn't go past mid off. 48 of 28 is right now the equation. What do you think? Possible? For Australia, that is. India
Yeah,
के लिए
yeah,
है, इंडिया के लिए नहीं, इंडिया के for Australia, sorry, मैं थोड़ा लेट मेरे को स्ट्राइक हुआ गुरकीरत, yeah, but for Australia, what do you think?
Yeah, if Surya bats through, you don't see how Australia win. Even there's also Akshar to follow. Bishnoi can sort of bat, so you'll feel that India have this in this grasp.
Interesting. And Nikhil bhai, Sky's knock so far 56 of 32, and I'm guessing you're one ball ahead. तो ये ball में क्या? That's a 4, I'm guessing. Yep, 60 of 33. Fantastic shot once again. Typical Sky knock, right? Like कुछ भी नहीं, मतलब खेल रहा अपने मजे में, आराम से खेल रहा, पता भी नहीं चलता कहाँ पे उसने ऐसे almost 200 के strike rate पे मार भी दिया. Like
He's just
so
feeling at home. Just feeling at home. Right format.
That's true.
And that is how it should be. I just don't sometimes get the unnecessary zeal that और इसमें चल गया तो अरे पर नहीं है ना, मतलब चलना होता तो बहुत पहले चल जाता, बहुत दूसरों को भी सूझ जाता वो चीज. तो I think there are enough such examples. I won't rant on it. Hopefully, but he's limping. I hope he's fine. So hopefully fit रहे भाई.
हाँ क्या मेरे में तो मस्त भाग रहा है. ओह अच्छा नहीं, अभी but again,
Yeah.
4 overs to
Good
go.
test this for Rinku though. Good test for Rinku के just आया है and has to start getting going. और सिर्फ 43 26 ऐसा है ना, यहाँ पे दो तीन डॉट बॉल हो जाए, suddenly you feel the pressure कि भाई मेरे को एक बड़ा शॉट मारना है. तो let's see.
Fair, but who do Australia go to? Because they've got 1 over of Berendorf, 2 overs of Ellis. Do you think those three will? I mean, those 3 overs from there and 1 over from Stoinis.
हाँ मतलब क्योंकि it's not a bad ploy. I mean, यूज तो करना ही है उसको वैसे भी. And Berendorf has bowled at the edge, and Ellis won't be easy to hit if he hits his line.
Definitely.
There's
1
over of Abbott also left.
That's what. So Sean Abbott or Stoinis? Who would you look at? Who would?
I won't risk with Stoinis anymore now. I'd go with Ellis.
Yeah.
I'd go with Ellis. Then I'll see who's a better death bowler
Behrendorff.
among Behrendorff and Abbott. Then go for Ellis again, and then whosoever is remaining between
Injured.
Behrendorff and Abbott. But I won't risk with Stoinis anymore. I just want him to close out this over, and let's see how it goes from there.
And Array wide ho gaya. Isn't able to close out the over. But yeah, Aaron Hardy is another name that they sort of drafted in as David Warner's replacement. Do you see him getting a chance in this series and potentially a spot in any of the IPL squads later?
Still a good boundary to close out for
I-
India at least. So 38 from 24.
See, they played him
Enjoy.
today. They played him today, but he hasn't got a chance yet. So at some point of time, you think he'll get some game time or some opportunity to bat and bowl.
I
Whether
actually
he
didn't know
gets
he was
into-
playing today.
He's playing in the 11.
Oh wow.
So
Kuch
I'm
bhi
not
nahi
sure.
kiya.
आज
But अब catch भी नहीं आई उसके पास. So I'm not sure,
आज
but
तो
I'm
अक्षय अरे आज अक्षय ऐसा हो गया कि आज दिन उठा है लैपटॉप खुला है चलो वॉचअलोंग चलो लेट्स गो
नहीं, ये इंजीनियरिंग के वाइवा में आया है.
हाँ अरे भाई अपने
इंजीनियरिंग के वाइवा में आया है.
बिंदास आ जाने का कॉन्फिडेंट रहने का बस बाकी सब काम
हाँ.
ठीक है चलेगा.
प्रोफेसर्स
नहीं
आस्किंग रेजिस्टेंस किस चीज पे डिपेंड करता है, and he's saying volt and current, forgetting that resistance is a constant to bring in that equation.
इतना तुम किधर रात के 10:15 बजे रेजिस्टेंस भाई मेरे को पता होता तो भी मैं नहीं बोलता ये तो.
मैंने अपनी इंजीनियरिंग बहुत शिद्दत से करी थी, मैं बता रहा
हाँ
हूँ.
वो तो दिख रहा है मतलब क्लियरली व्हिच इज गुड.
No, good, definitely good. Would never say bad, but I was just saying, how is he taking this contradiction forward? पूरा science ही कर दिया. I thought कि कुछ आएगा resistance band या ऐसा कुछ.
नहीं तो the viewers should know that we are not one-dimensional people over here. 3D का ज़माना है, we are also.
ऐसे बोलने वाली बात है नहीं, but हाँ.
Everyone wants their batters to bowl a little, bowlers to bat a little. तो ठीक है. We can.
हमने भी थोड़ा ऐसे गलती से इंजीनियरिंग कर दिया, मतलब ऐसा क्रिकेट करते करते बीच में पहले ओह शॉट 4 है क्या? शाबाश. That's a 4 to begin with, and yeah, it is Nathan Ellis, like we discussed. Of course, makes sense. They would want to sort of front load and get their best overs, best bowling overs out in the beginning. So let us see what happens. I'm not sure what that reaction is supposed to mean, but I'm guessing it's not a wicket. Wide, अच्छा.
Slower ball down the leg side. So wide.
Yeah.
Jagmeet asked us a business related question. Let's just take it up before we sort of go forward. Is Reliance buying Hotstar a done deal? Hope they use Hotstar for sports because Jio Cinema is pathetic, to be honest. I agree with the latter part. Are ganda right? But yeah, I know that the deal is in the works. Any confirmation, Nikhil bhai? Nothing. Gurkirat, anything you've heard of?
अभी I'll drop in an email to Star or Mukesh bhai and ask.
अरे सीधा मुकेश भाई सुना.
अभी ये फिर के ले रहे कि नसीब ऐसा नहीं बोला स्पीड डायल पे ही है बस कॉल करके ऑटोमेटिक मेरे पता चल जाएगा.
We are not that influential to know about these things. So when it happens, it will happen. You don't know.
Fair. And you were talking about Nathan Ellis there and his bowling performance today.
Yeah, has lacked control. Probably,
another wide.
Not landing his slower ones right. So
true that, but you would still stick to him. You would still expect him to bowl.
Yeah.
100%.
So next over कौन? Behrendorff या Stoinis या Sean Abbott?
Behrendorff.
Stoinis I'm not going for. Behrendorff probably.
Interesting. Okay, prediction time. कब तक मैच खत्म हो रहा है? What ball will India chase this down in? Assuming India does chase it down, that's the assumption we're going ahead with. But yeah, I'll say 18.5. It's been lucky for India earlier, so let's. क्यों नहीं? And guys, you also let us know in the comment section, please. Do let us know.
Short.
तो 18.5 से पहले ही खत्म करके छोड़ेगा लगता है. But yeah, निखिल भाई कितना कब तक खत्म हो रहा है मैच?
चलो 18.5 बोला तूने, मैं 18.2 बोलता हूँ. चल
Arey, Abhas agrees with you.
Oh yeah, एकदम almost same time.
सही है, सही है.
I mean,
Gurkerat, what about?
literally same time.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, shot है लड़के, छक्का. शाबाश. Yeah, Gurkerat.
Yeah, probably. Just before the six, I was saying by India should win with an over to spare, but 26 runs needed could just happen in the next 2 overs. I mean, 18.3,
Oh shot.
probably even before
Four.
that shot.
I would have said by the end of this over also potentially, but nah, that's not realistically possible, unfortunately. Lot of 18s, may of course predictions happening, Jagmeet, Abhas, all of them. Do let us know more. Lot of T20Is coming up. Just the thought of it is, in some sense, exhausting but exciting at the same time. Exhausting because matches are exciting because watch-alongs bhi hai. Oh, shot, yaar, shot. So definitely looking forward to them, 100%. Second T20I, of course, happens on Sunday, and that'll be in our studio. So it'll be me, it'll be Somesh, it'll be Avnish. So that'll also be great fun. So make sure you do tune in. 7 o'clock, of course. So 6:55 sharp on Sunday evening, we will be there. And Max Mojo, meanwhile, asks us, are you surprised by the crowd turnout? उसमें वो मीम देखा था आज मैंने मिथुन चक्रवर्ती का किसी ने डाला था so he's basically being thrashed by a police officer and he keeps saying I love you that is basically the Indian fans of the Indian cricket team जितना चाहे मार खा लो फिर भी आ तो जाएंगे लोग
But I don't think the turnout in the stadium is a good way to measure that, because you have to think and realize that when was the last time Vizag got an India game? I think you'll
आज
probably have to go
इस साल में ही था ना इंडिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया का हुआ था ना
Starting
Cub
में.
स्टार्टिंग इंडिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया सीरीज वाइजैक में
ODIs.
चेन्नई हाँ हाँ ओडिया एक ओडिया था चेन्नई वाइजैक एंड आई एम फॉरगेटिंग द अदर वन
Chennai was the third ODI. Yeah, Vizag was okay. Vizag was the one where India got thrashed by 10 wickets.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know the
So
result, but I'll just say yeah.
yeah. It's the one where India got all out for around 110 or something, and then
वो
got
game तो
thrashed.
याद है वो game तो याद है, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, that game was right after our right after we came back from Hyderabad, if I'm not wrong. A day or two
Yeah,
after.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, yeah.
that was the day we came back. Yeah, I remember because while going back, me and my colleagues were like, हाँ क्या लगता है मैच स्कोर निकाल और 4 विकेट डाउन 5 विकेट डाउन yeah how can I forget that yeah true
Yeah.
So
but
yeah.
even then to be honest, even then like तुम एक साल में 5 मैच भी दे दो ना वेन्यू में वो the fifth match will also be just as filled मतलब I don't think
Because
India में yeah
there are enough people to watch the sport, and see, still, to a lot of people who like to watch cricket in India, getting to visit a stadium or watching a game in the stadium is still not as regular as an affair, because of the huge gap in demand and supply. So stadium numbers, I am not sure कि कितना है, and कितनी ही होगी capacity, 30,000, 35,000. I don't think it's more than that. So
yeah
it's the TV numbers, or the numbers of concurrent viewers on your streaming apps, that should be a good reflection ki how much people are watching that.
that's a fair point that definitely is a fair point but Nikhil bhai, again 20 of 18 they've gone to Berendorf if I'm not wrong because I see someone holding the ball in the left hand yeah of course it is Berendorf in terms of
I have a question.
hmm.
I have a question for both of you. Now, I don't think it's going to happen, but should India rest Surya Kumar Yadav when Shreyas is back? Probably to see how everyone else, because you know what you get from Surya, and I think if he's going to bat like this, you won't even get your other batters in the lineup get tested, and you want them to get tested at some point of time. So don't think before Shreyas comes he's going to get rested, but should India look at that just to see how कि बाकी सब कितने पानी में हैं?
Interesting example that
I just said no, and I'll stick to it because you're anyways not going to play a lot of
shot yeah
T20s.
4 yeah pass point wow that's a shot
Yeah. So, matlab, see, you're not going to play a lot of T20s leading up to that World Cup. So, you want the group to play together, and you also want to see how people are trying to get Surya out, so that Surya is also better prepared. If he is one of your best batters in this format, you want him to also have game time across different conditions. तो क्योंकि उसको रेस्ट करके ना सडनली आई फील के ऐसा नहीं है लाइक वन डे इज वेयर यू हैव रेडी रिप्लेसमेंट्स फॉर समबडी फॉर अ रोल दैट सूर्या डज. तो आई थिंक वो चीज चाहिए इन टर्म्स ऑफ दैट स्टेबिलिटी दैट सूर्या ब्रिंग्स, क्योंकि वी हैव डिस्कस्ड अबाउट किशन का इश्यूज. जायसवाल अभी अभी आया है मतलब फॉर्मेट में, गायकवाड आल्सो हैजंट प्लेड अ लॉट ऑफ गेम्स, तो it will be unnecessary risk. And again, that's
So Surya has
fire
tried one
and
good
it's
catch, good catch once
excellent
again,
catch, excellent catch.
running back.
Yeah.
I'm
And
just
वही
waiting.
मतलब see, it is too early to take a call for Surya. Too early मतलब आपके पास दूसरे विकल्प नहीं है ऐसे जो आपको वो स्टेबिलिटी दे. तो टेस्ट नहीं होगा, बट ठीक है. आई मीन आई एम मोर देन हैप्पी विद दैट. अगर 25-30 गेम होते गोइंग टुवर्ड्स दैट वर्ल्ड कप तो या, बट अदरवाइज नो.
Fantastic catch, by the way, and Aaron Hardy finally finds a way to get into the scorecards of today's game. नहीं तो बिना कुछ के ही चल जाता, but fantastic catch that. I mean, कहाँ मतलब क्या कुछ किया भी नहीं, अचानक से कहीं से आके ये भी he's also like 6'5" or something if I'm not wrong. मस्त catch
Well
पकड़
played.
लिया. But yeah, excellent catch that, and excellent innings from Surya, of course, 80 of 42. Akshar, of course, will come in next. And second T20I, do you see any changes, or do you expect the same 11 to get a consistent run at least in the series?
नहीं, आज तो खाली 5 ही बॉलर खेले, तो आई डोंट थिंक देयर इज अ नीड फॉर यू टू चेंज दैट. एंड देयर इज लॉट्स ऑफ रूम फॉर इम्प्रूवमेंट. तो प्लीज लेट्स कंटिन्यू. सीरीज डन होने के बाद तुमको अगर किसी को ट्राई करना करो, बट in the second third game also I'll want them to try Tilak, I'll want them to try Jaiswal if at all it is an option for them in the future. क्योंकि आप suddenly randomly उठ के करोगे तो नहीं चलेगा. You have to give them also enough bowling time to understand कि if at all I'm going to ever be used तो कैसे मेरे को करना है, what are my options and all of that.
Interesting. Gurkirat, what about you? Do you sort of foresee any changes happening, or do you expect them to stick to the same 11 for the next T20?
I think for the next T20 you should stick to the same 11 before you make any changes, because किसको ही अभी drop करोगे, right? So stick to the same 11 and then see what to be done.
Fair enough. And what about Australia, man? Because even for them, it's a second string 11. Was Maxwell also playing today? Like, the reason I ask is I don't think I saw
He's
anything
in the
today.
squad. He's in the
Ah,
squad.
was-
He's not in the 11. Zampa's in the squad. Head is in the squad, but they're
Oh,
not.
so basically, all those who played the World Cup final are in this and in the squad. They've not been played today, just given some
No,
rest.
but
So
English played the final.
true. That also is a good point. But do you expect
So did
changes?
Smith, but yeah, ठीक है.
No, but do you expect changes? Maxwell, Zampa, Head, any of them or all of them coming in for the second T20, or they're just going to be rested throughout?
Again, depends on what Australia are looking at. If they want to give Smith one last chance in the format, if they want to see what shot offers, then probably they will stick to the same 11. And at some point of time they'd want to give some batting to Aaron Hardy as well. So
Yeah, that was going to be my next
and
question
again,
because
you know what to get from Zampa. So there is no harm in giving Tanveer Sangha another game.
interesting. And because all of these are going to be in relatively batter friendly surfaces, so that also sort of makes it even more difficult for them to, not have at least decent enough batting depth, if not very good batting depth. And Aaron Hardy ne zyada kuch kiya nahi hai, so there's absolutely no reason why you would want to rest someone like him. But if someone like Maxwell is match ready and wants to play, then I would imagine Aaron Hardy would be the first one to face the axe.
See, again, I don't think it is as obvious because you'll have to see at what do you gain out of it. You gain a lot more by playing a lot more of Aaron Hardy as opposed to playing a lot more of somebody else in that position. So that is something that they'll look at. Or Smith, I feel they'll give him all 5 games because, as Paddy said, this is possibly that last shot from Smith in terms of can he crack that opening spot? Go ahead, to aa jayega. So that is something that they'll want to just finalize. For once and for all, let's just decide that. Because short also has had a run, but he's been very inconsistent. So yeah,
Tomorrow is too late. आज आ जाएगी, अभी आ रही
it's
होंगी.
already done.
भाई,
अभी आ रही
हाँ,
होगी मतलब
I was going to say what
छपरा
निखिल
होगा
भाई
गरम
said.
गरम।
Already आ चुके हैं भाई, तुम लोग बहुत स्लो चल रहे हो। मुझसे भी ज्यादा स्लो कैसे चल सकते हो? मैं खुद 2G पे बैठा हूँ, बताओ, ये सही है।
हाँ,
And there was one more question here from Agrim Jain. He went on to ask your pacers for the T20 World Cup besides Bumrah, obviously. ऐसे obviously बोल दिया है, मतलब admire the confidence but not sure if I agree with the confidence. Nikhil bhai, let's start with you. Assuming Bumrah is fit and he will play the World Cup, उसके अलावा who else?
I think Hardik is a part there. Apart from that, I'm very keen to see how Arshdeep goes as your potential option. क्योंकि I could be wrong, but I foresee eventually अगर 2 ही पेसर खिलाने हैं और 3 स्पिनर खिलाने हैं आपको, तो it could potentially come down between Arshdeep and Mukesh. So that is something that I'm looking at for now. You could play both of them and play a spinner less also, क्योंकि हार्दिक तो है आपके पास, तो so बुमराह, अर्शदीप एंड मुकेश विथ कुलदीप योर फोर्थ ऑप्शन। एक और ऑप्शन होगा आपका whichever it fits. I'd love for it to be Sai Kishore, but I don't know in which year will he get his chances.
PC bouncer. Akshar Patel or Jadeja?
At this point of time, I'll keep Akshar because you need batting versus spin, and again, it's not even a debate there. So let's see.
I hope Avnish is listening to this. But Gurkirat, yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you now fit in Jadeja, given you've played Akshar Patel for so long, and he's definitely the better batter amongst the two. And yeah, I pretty much feel the same that if it's West Indies and if you're looking at slow tracks, then you'd want three spinners, with one of them being Akshar, the other being maybe Sundar, because you also want batting depth, and then the wrist spinner could be Bishnoi or Kuldeep, because Kuldeep has now worked on his defensive bowling also. So you'll have to see how it goes, and what is the eventual. So because this series is very important for Bishnoi, because this is the first time after the last World T20 that India have finally dropped Yuzvendra Chahal from the T20 setup, and rightly so. I felt that they took too long to do that. But if Bishnoi doesn't have a good series now, then I won't be surprised if India go back to Kuldeep eventually.
I think Kuldeep will eventually play any which ways. I think even if Bishnoi plays, however he does, मतलब Kuldeep तो definitely plays is what I feel.
That'll be very interesting because once again they might sort of suffer from that problem of batting depth if they go for these bowling options, because barring Akshar, none of the other bowling options offer a lot of batting value. So very interesting to see what they do, and IPL form will also play a big role in how who gets in and who doesn't, because it's happening right after the IPL. So expect some of that bias to come in. So let's wait. There are no sort of concrete options or shot. Yeah, shot.
Yeah.
Definitely very good shot. So yeah, let's wait. Max Mojo asks, really no Bumrah? Obviously, bhai, matlab not based on potential or skill, it's based on fitness. Of course, अगर fit है तो भाई 100% खेलेगा ना, क्यों नहीं खेलेगा? But we'll have to see, wait, and also have to see if he's playing the entire IPL. Then I don't see how he can play 3 months continuously back to back without any break. It'll be very difficult. And yeah, so once again, it'll be one of those conversations where Mumbai will be asked probably by the BCCI कि भाई थोड़ा rest हो और ये सब. तो देखते हैं कौन कहाँ पे क्या wait करता है. And Max Mojo asks us, why did Akshar change his name from, I mean the spelling from AKSHAR to AXAR? भाई उसने नहीं किया था, वो उसने बोला था कहीं पे तो कि वो पासपोर्ट बनवाने जब गया था. हाँ, ब्रेकफास्ट विद चैंपियंस. या अंडर 19 वर्ल्ड कप के लिए जब पासपोर्ट बनवाने गया था तो वहां पे किसी ने गलती से मिस्टेक कर लिया और ही लाइक द मिस्टेक, सो ही स्टक टू इट. स्पीकिंग ऑफ स्टक, आई डोंट नो इफ आई एम स्टक और इफ इट्स द टू ऑफ यू.
Just a moment. Hello.
हाँ, नहीं भाई हम हैं, नहीं है निखिल भाई, आप हो?
है हम हैं,
सब है चलो.
बिल्कुल.
बट यार
I was I was just about to say कि under 19 World Cup passport में mistake and everything. It's good that the mistake has only happened with the name and not anything or anything else.
देखो और घंटी भी बज गई.
Yeah.
Perfect.
चलो, we should play.
तभी call था.
हाँ. The
Nice.
settings are perfect.
Exactly, सब कुछ है. अगर अपने को बेस्ट ऑफ बनाना है सारे इसी वॉच लॉन्ग से मिल जाएंगे. टेंशन की बात नहीं. वेट नहीं करना अपने
Yeah.
को.
But yeah, चलो 7 from 6.
Yeah. जल्दी
2 balls
जल्दी
finish
छक्का
हो
मारो भाई. छक्का छक्का.
Ninku should finish it in 2 or 3 balls now.
वन
Hopefully.
वन वाइड कहीं से आ जाए तो अच्छा रहेगा. बट 19 from 18 से 7 from 6 I feel like
Oh, just past boundary बच गए. चलो.
वो बाउंड्री अच्छा. विकेट
But it
जाता
was a
तो
catch.
very interesting, right? Because Indians also play with 4 tailenders.
ये अभी उठा ना तू. This been the story of the day any which way. ठीक.
No, but I was just bringing it up now. It's something to
I
No,
think,
but
right? Like,
Bishnoi is not your proper number 11. Bishnoi can swing his bat.
अर्शदीप में भी मतलब दोनों ने छक्का तो मारा है वेस्ट इंडीज में तो यार. ओह अरे अरे पास द फ्लाइंग पॉइंट देयर. दोनों ने बिश्नोई और अर्शदीप ने कैरिबियन में छक्का तो मारा था. इतना तो उनको क्रेडिट तो मिलना चाहिए. Not as bad as I don't know शमी जिसको लगता है वो है ही सिर्फ बल्ला उठाने के लिए बल्ला घुमाने के लिए. But yeah, अभी क्या लगता है this ball is the game being done and dusted in this ball?
Let's hope.
No, it's
And
by
guys, before that, we're right now at 43 likes. Please, let's hit the 50 like mark before the stream ends. Please make sure we do that because it'll mean us a great deal. अगर वो होता है तो please अगर किसी ने भी नहीं किया तो do that. We'll take the last few comments before we sort of wrap the stream up. Not a lot in terms of game time. Oh okay guys. Yeah, 2 of 4 now. Akshat Dadit says, do you think Yashasvi lacks game awareness while batting? I've seen him doing these type of runouts 2 or 3 times now. Even when he hit that fastest half century, he got Butler. Yeah, that was against Mumbai and Wankhede. Nikhil bhai, agree with him? Do you think that's something to be worried about or something for him to improve on?
No, I think it is something that he'll be wary of, but I wouldn't be
Okay.
saying he lacks. Oh, he
Hello,
said
gone.
out away.
Out.
Very good catch from Shauna, but actually.
अरे भाई अभी आ रहे हैं रवि बिश्नोई साहब. But yeah, sorry Nikhil bhai, you were saying.
नहीं हो गया अभी 4 टेलेंडर वाला तुमको विकेट चाहिए था ना तो if you have that 2 from 3 but yeah I think it is something that I'm sure he and the management will also be very wary of because run out is the last thing that you want. So I'm not even going to go to Paji to explain more, but I'll just hope that the management take care of it.
100% and Akshar Patel skies one. पता नहीं what was he even attempting there? Slog, half pull, कुछ तो कहीं बीच में अटका and just stop it.
I just want to say one thing that even though India are on the brink of victory, you've still seen a lot more slower balls attempted by the Australian pacers than what India did.
And fantastic fielding, by the way. Like all 3 catches won't like fair to say India would have probably dropped 2 of them if not all 3.
No, India wouldn't have gotten to them. So I'll not say them will be dropped.
Modern problems require modern solutions. वहां तक पहुंचे नहीं तो ड्रॉप कैसा? नहीं ना, कैच नहीं है. ये मेरे साथ हुआ था पता है. स्कूल टूर्नामेंट some 12-13 years ago. सीधा कैच आ रहा है अपने एक बंदे को. He's gone 3 steps back and taken it on one bounce and thrown it back. He lost it. He just completely lost it. I'll never forget that and I'll never forget this example as well. क्या करे? Correct. Fielders के पास दिमाग तो है इतना. वो तो है.
Yeah, but 2 from 3 about to bowl. Yorker
Who's scoring the winning runs? Ravi Bishnoi or Rinku Singh? और अर्शदीप सिंह?
नहीं अर्शदीप तो गया तो फिर लफड़ा हो जाएगा. That's a dot ball. It's a bye.
ओ बाई लिया. चलो
बाई ले लिया.
बाई लेने के चक्कर में अगर इनको रन आउट होता तो फिर
पर हो गया रन आउट. बढ़िया.
कौन
अलग खेल रहे लोग. क्या कर रहे हैं भाई?
रिंकूज रन. अरे अभी क्या चल रहा है?
रिंकू नहीं भाई, तू जियो पे देखी मत क्योंकि पॉइंट ही नहीं है.
आप
2-3 पीछे क्योंकि जैसा हमको दिखेगा वैसा बोलेंगे ना. They took a bye but the camera angle is such and the क्योंकि अपन mute पे, you can't even hear. So
Oh,
he's got a
okay,
direct hit from the bowler.
Okay, got it,
Yeah.
got it, got it. Vishnu is run out. So they've still not gotten a run, so it's 2 of 2. अगर रिंको यहाँ पे out होके Australia wins this by 1 run. Hilarious, hilarious.
So
scenes.
it will just tell us that we should be very wary of whatever you say. So I'll be
Clearly,
careful. बाकी मैं
I'm the one at fault. Clearly, very clearly, एकदम clearly. और क्या चाहिए?
clearly नहीं स्किल तुमको क्लोज गेम चाहिए था ना, हो गया ना 2 पे 2 और क्या
हाँ,
चाहिए?
वो I agree. I'm happy. Close तो गया कम से कम. I still
Because
watch.
see, the last time this happened was the Commonwealth Games वाला game, जहाँ पे Akshay was like, let's just have something, some fun with some wickets, and then you saw Jimmy get out like that. So
I remember.
you
I
don't,
remember.
yeah. So you don't forget such moments.
Yeah, that was a fantastic watch along. Let's
Yeah.
hope. Yeah, England, India, T20 has also give us a lot more such fantastic watch alongs. This may be thriller bana diya, says sports fan. Yeah, India really know. India have mastered the art of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. So let's hope
Yeah.
that's not going to be the case.
Chuchand finally has seen the light of the day. Please take that last comment.
Okay, अभी चमका. उस दिन pitch और condition से नहीं हारे थे. Australia was just 100x better in planning and execution than India. चलो मिंटॉस की बत्ती तो जली. चलो कोई नहीं. मिंटॉस खाया क्या आपने सुशांत भाई? बता देना वो भी comments में. Mad respect for taking it to the last ball under you. 100%. Yeah. Like this is a phenomenal effort from the Aussie bowlers now. Despite them
Yeah,
being thrashed for runs, for them to
I
be
said it before only कि even in whatever game it was gone, जब तक Kishan did not get those hits, Surya again, as Pali said, was the only guy who was in there, and Rinku has hit the gap. I hope so. दो ले रहे रन आउट हो जाएगा.
हो गया
रन आउट हो जाएगा.
हो गया
एंड भाई रन आउट वहां पे हो गया होगा, बट यहाँ पे हम लोग 47 लाइक्स पे हैं. प्लीज
तीन
मेक
और
श्योर
like
गाइस
ले लो.
जस्ट 3
दो
मोर
मत
लाइक्स.
देना, दो मत देना, तीन देना.
दो नहीं 3 चाहिए, और 3 ही चाहिए. ठीक है, चलो आई नो यू गाइस कैन डू इट, कम ऑन. एंड यहाँ पे रन आउट हो गया, तो वी आर गोइंग राइट डाउन टू द लास्ट बॉल. That's a fantastic throw from, I'm guessing that was Hardy. Arre, that's a run out. You think they should have probably looked to run Rinku out, or this was fine?
नहीं ठीक है, मतलब you knew which the danger and मतलब easier end to get the ball quicker was the non-striker.
Fair. Sushant also gets back. He says, "अरे भाई मैं यही बोल रहा था काफी टाइम से. I never blame that loss on pitch or conditions, as Indian media says."
अरे छोड़ दे, हो गया ना, हमने दे दिया, लाइट ऑफ द डे बोल दिया, हो गया, चलो आगे बढ़ते.
Okay, Ankar Viswas says super over.
I don't mind, क्योंकि और क्या काम है अभी.
वो भी बात तो सही है. अगर मैं स्टूडियो में होता तो फिर भी सोचता यार मेट्रो मिस हो जाएगा, क्या करें. अभी हम घर पे बैठे तो चलो करो सुपर ओवर, 2 सुपर ओवर खेलो, तब तक खेलो, सुबह तक खेलो, फर्क नहीं पड़ता. तो टेंशन नहीं है. Let us see though. I'm interested to see. I don't think the Indian team has ever played a super over, right?
नहीं they have. न्यूजीलैंड में खेले तो थे.
न्यूजीलैंड में खेले रोहित शर्मा वाला भाई.
Back to back.
The only super over, right? Okay. Rinku on a roll, says Max Mojo. Greggy says bilateral kings boss. And
हमारे बॉस का भी कुछ मैसेज आ रहा है about Indian bowlers ग्रुप पे. I can sense the frustration from those messages, and he's correct.
Yeah,
and he's right.
ये सब screenshots लेंगे और second T20I में डालेंगे. And Somesh will then be asked. फिर उसको क्लिप करके हम सोशल मीडिया में डाल देंगे, तो टेंशन नहीं है. वायरल भी चले जाएंगे, सोमेश भाई भी थोड़ा और फेमस हो जाएंगे, तो अच्छा रहेगा सबके लिए. इट्स अ विन विन सिचुएशन. सब प्लान रेडी है. बट अगेन
I would hate for a super over right now. मेरे को डिनर करना है यार.
अरे करो भाई, यहीं पे कर सकते हो, टेंशन की बात नहीं. बोल रखा है हमने, अपने ऑडियंस ने भी अपने को भी बोल रखा है कि करना है करो बिंदास. मैं इसीलिए मस्त पपाया खाया. बसीम भाई काफी सही टाइम पे आए हो. हेलो, लाइक कर दो. 49 पे है हम लोग अभी. जस्ट वन मोर लाइक प्लीज गाइस, प्लीज मेक श्योर you hit the like if you haven't already.
49 is a good number.
Exactly.
It's a good number.
अरे of course. चांद के साथ लग जाओ अभी लाइन पे, बाद में मिलते हैं अलग से.
I am not as relentless.
You are, if it is about an out.
It's a 50 for us. Congratulations. Thank you so much whoever hit the 50th like button.
चलो last ball.
चलो
एक में एक
Chalo,
And it
short.
hit a 6. I think so.
What was the
I have.
fuss?
Yes. Well done.
पाजी
Shabash.
मस्त खाना खाओ क्या लोड है says अक्षय दीप एग्जैक्टली पाजी क्या टेंशन ले रहे हो
वही exactly. Just
Chalo.
chill. Rinku Singh
हाँ
for the win. But
या
yeah,
वसीम
good
भाई
knock.
हमने बोला
28
ही
from
नहीं कि आप
14.
इंडिया से नहीं हो बाय द वे आप बोल क्यों रहे
I
हो
think he's
पता है आप
asking someone else.
सॉरी
I think he might be asking someone else.
ओ ब्रो इंडिया से हो पूछ रहे हैं हाँ हाँ मतलब हम तीनों तो इंडिया से हैं बाकी ऑडियंस में भी जितना देखा है हो सकते हैं इंडिया से ही होंगे प्रिडोमिनेटली बट वसीम भाई आप भी लाइक कर दो 50 को 60 कर दो 60 को 100 कर दो ऑलरेडी रीच 51 एज वेल थैंक यू सो मच गाइस ग्रेट 50 भी हिट हो गया वहां पे views be thank you so much once again all of you I know it's only 4 days after the World Cup we all were wondering yaar fatigue hoga ye hoga but it's great to see all of you tuning in for the game I know all of you wouldn't have wanted to watch the game itself so thank you so much for tuning into the stream clearly that's a lot more fun than the game and luckily it also went down to the wire 40 overs of game maza aa gaya Nikhil bhai let's start with you man of the match who's yours today
I would actually still give it to Josh English. I think he did play very very well. Again, you definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't mind if it's given to Sky, but I think English was very very good, especially while batting first. So I'll give it to English, but I think India will be happy with Sky. But there are a lot of things for India to take care of. Be with the ball, with the bat, their fields, and also some of the running that we saw in the end. मतलब अगर आपको पता है 2 भागना है और फिर भी नहीं भाग पा रहे हो तो कुछ तो वहां पे देखना पड़ेगा अगेन मे बी नीट पिकिंग बट द bowling and the tactics do need a look just bit more freshening up and maybe they'll try more options who knows let's see
interesting Gurkirat who's your man of the match then
Josh Inglis, I think that what we need to normalize is to give player of the match performances to the players from the losing side because it's an award for individual performance. It shouldn't really be dictated by the result as much.
oh it was a no
Was
ball
also
so it was a no
that
ball
is why
so
I was like कि score क्यों 209 से आगे नहीं बढ़ा?
oh
So much drama only for
interesting
Abbott to bowl a no baller.
इंटरेस्टिंग एंड मोहम्मद बसीम मीनवाइल मैच खत्म होने के बाद आ रहे मैं पाकिस्तान से हूँ लाइव मैच है क्या भाई लाइव मैच तो है हम तो लाइव मैच नहीं दिखा रहे भाई हम लोग वॉच अलोंग कर रहे हैं हम लोग मैच के बारे में बात करते हैं और मैच के अलावा काफी दूसरी चीजों के बारे में भी बात करते हैं और अगर आपने सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया प्लीज डू मेक श्योर आप सब्सक्राइब भी कर लो काफी अच्छा कंटेंट बनाते हैं हम लोग क्रिकेट के अराउंड पाकिस्तान के बारे में भी हमने हाल ही में मंडे नाइट लाइव में डिस्कस भी किया था कि क्या क्या चल रहा है so do check that out as well and do subscribe to us ये watch alongs करते रहेंगे तो अगर आपको ये matches follow करने you can follow this on YouTube and you can get to know about the game about what's happening lot more than that beg your pardon there but yeah do you guys man of the match देखना समझी कौन कर रहा है कौन आ रहा है कौन किसको मिलने वाला है
नहीं
तो वहीं
देखना नहीं
नहीं
देखना
खाना दो मेरे खाना दो
नहीं
मेरे ठीक है no worries so yeah it is time for us to wrap up the stream it's been fantastic bringing the stream to you guys 4 घंटे हम सबको लगा था कि क्या हम लोग 4 घंटे एक ही टाइम पे कर पाएंगे बिता पाएंगे was great fun laga nahi was a fairly smooth ride barring those internet hiccups and thank you so much for all of you tuning in regularly chatting around thank you for being so chatty thank you for interacting with us engaging with us थोड़े यहाँ पे 1-2 comments miss हो गए होंगे so apologies for that don't worry next T20 में फिर से आओ we'll definitely take them we'll answer them to the best of our abilities lot of fun lot of banter Avnish will be back he'll be talking about how he spent his weekend which will definitely be a very interesting conversation to talk about to be honest more interesting than the game I feel but yeah that's it from all of us thank you so much have a great night have a great weekend see you guys Sunday 6:55 p.m. sharp until then it's a goodbye from all of us and let me just find the end screen before I say goodbye once again